Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well and welcome to the late night tournament. Hopefully you enjoyed that jump scare. Yes, fashionably late indeed. I was trying to help some stragglers get in the tournament, so bear with me. But yeah, we're going to be getting started in just a second. First match we're going to be casting is one of Hitman Hippo's games, so that's always going to be quite a bit of fun. And that is going to be the Tale of the Tape. How's life treating you guys? Hope you've all been doing well. We arrive, yes, it does indeed begin. The good times shall commence. And we shall get rolling, 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 in the words of the great prophet Fred Durst. All right, scared the hell out of me. I know it happens every time. It's just like, I need to get some like music or something for the intro. I mean, there's plenty of, music from Total War Warhammer we could obviously use, but I think the jump scare is kind of a signature here on the channel at this point. All right, guys, so let's get into this lobby. Let's see what's cracking. Let's see what the first matchup is. We took the gloves off a little bit tonight. So normally we ban top 3 factions. The only faction that's banned tonight is Kislev, just because they're very unfun to play against, in my opinion, in domination mode. I know it's a little bit different in conquest, land battle, all that good stuff. But yeah, so pretty limited restrictions. Wood Elves are on the table, Beastmen are on the table. So you guys are going to be seeing all that goodness, which is going to be fun. When's the next Total War game? I don't know. You tell me, man. I hope it's soon. It's been a long time. Yeah, what was the last major title they did? I guess Hyenas doesn't count. It's not Total War, it's Heresy is what it is. All right, so let me switch over here, see if that's looking like it's going to work. Get the lobby code from the hippopotamus. I'm not being pinged by the players, which is already a great way to start off the tournament. All right, so multiplayer battles, join with code. So yeah, tonight we're going to be casting, which is going to be fun. Remember to boo Pwn for enjoying the Rings of Power. Oh, man, yeah. So we got Vampire Coast versus Khorne here in our first game. I would say, I don't know how good Fabrosi is, but this is not the easiest matchup for Vampire Coast. Certainly not unwinnable by any stretch of the imagination, but, Karanak can be very scary here, especially if you bring a foot-based caster lord. If you decide to go with, like, Mount Noctilus on foot or just, like, a Vampire Fleet Captain, you're going to have a really bad time because he's just going to sit next to you and you won't be able to cast spells very easily. I think that, I don't know, what is the best option? You know what I've seen be strangely meta in this matchup is actually Aranessa with her like net and with the anti-large on her crab to fight Karanak. Very interesting. Man, so we got some people coming in hard in the beginning. Bryce, thank you for becoming a channel member. Greatly appreciate you. And we got T-Rex push-ups going hard in the paint with the fat 100. Dude, thank you, man. Jesus, that is super generous. Well, we'll make the good times roll for you here. I can assure you. I just want a new Total War game with good multiplayer. That would be super fun. I'd love to go all in on a new Total War game that has solid multiplayer. We would update Total Tavern to accommodate for it. Have guides and really, really go hard in the paint for something new. That would be very, very fun. I'd be very excited. Yeah, Kislev is cool. Maybe I'll unban them next time. I don't know. They just are it feels bad to play against them, in my experience. So we got pretty good signups tonight. It is double elimination, so we are going to have a winner's bracket and a loser's bracket. We'll call it the consolation bracket. Yeah, it's got to be there. But should be fun. So Hippo is ready with Khorne, and Fabrosi is still scheming. Yeah, I don't know how I would approach this against Hitman Hippo. He's a really good player. He's definitely top 16 in the world consistently. He has won a major event. So there's only, a handful of players, if you go to the Total War Hall of Fame, that have won major events. Hitman Hippo won the 4th official Creative Assembly tournament major for Total War Warhammer 3. It was in the order of the CA official events. We have Houseplant, Tim the Wilder, Hitman Hippo, and Lord Chickenfeed won the most recent one. As far as season finals goes, those are, on the same category of competitiveness, I would say, relatively speaking. They both have, both merit-based. We don't really do invitationals anymore, except for, like, Faction Wars, which are a very casual format. Oh, okay, so going very wide. So he's going to be going wide gun line here, which is interesting. And he does have Count Noctilus. Yeah, so you guys are talking about Rings of Power. So Season 2 was better than Season 1. Overall, I felt like I was being perpetually blue-balled by the show. It's like every time there's about to be a cool moment, it just kind of diffuses it, and you're just like, ugh, like, I do think it's better than Season 2. There were a couple of moments that I thought were fun. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but overall, I still think the show kind of sucks, and it's a disappointment. But Yeah, it was better than Season 1. Definitely better than Season 1. I wish decision makers loved Tolkien like literally tears to my eyes. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody in case folks do actually want to watch it. But it's wide gun line. Yeah. It's what's Frost's stuff typing periods, yeah. Yeah, no, I haven't gone that I'm not that far gone. Come on. Come on, you guys. Behold upon the truth. Yeah. Yeah, but you know, I'm not one of those people who's gonna blindly hate something because a mob hates it, you know, like I tried to give it a fair shake and go into season 2 with a fresh lens. Like, okay, maybe they took feedback from season 1 and made some positive changes. But overall, yeah, there were some like cool improvements, but I can't really talk about them without giving spoilers. I would say there's a handful of characters I actually do like in it, but there's a lot of really like heavy mangling of Tolkien, and yeah, which is fine. It's kind of like its own show in a way, and you know, if people enjoy it, you know, kudos to them. It's just different than, you know, what perhaps I wanted. Yeah. The Silmarillion is not, it's like reading the Bible. Yeah, the Silmarillion is definitely some pain. But, you know, if you're a real Tolkien fanatic, I think it's worth reading, but just to kind of know the background of everything that you're seeing and reading what's good. Hey, everything's good. Yeah, life's solid. Found your channel during Dune Spice Wars videos and streams. I listened to them during work. Right on. Yeah, Dune Spice Wars is great. I'll get back to that when they have an update. Right now, I'm really on Total War, and obviously Age of Mythology is sweet. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we are taking a look at the build here of Fabrosi. He's going to be rocking a coast gun line using very narrow formations. Oh, look at this. So basically, he's having like tight box formations, which allow his guns to shoot through the openings here. Really, really cool to kind of see these tactics being employed here. But handgun mobs can pound Khorne for sure if they're able to shoot unimpeded. It requires a ton of micro, really good positioning, and yeah, it's not an easy play style to play, but we will see. We do have Count Noctilus. Noctilus is going to be here rocking the Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma, Invocation, and yeah, I mean, he is historically pretty good against Khorne, especially if they don't bring Karanak. Although he can beat Karanak, it does shut down his magic, which is tough. Looking at Hitman Hippo, he does have Marauder Horsemen of Khorne, and they're super good here. Throwing axes are great against crabs and Prometheans, and on top of that, they're strong enough to dive into guns and actually kill them. We have a couple of standard Marauders of Khorne. And wow, one of the weaker units in the game, but against Coast, it's actually good because Coast, not good, but playable. Because Coast has some of the worst, absolute worst melee attack in the game on their troops. So the Forsaken of Khorne having 15 melee defense isn't the worst thing. And these things will lawnmower through pretty much any zombies. I really, really like this play. So basically what he's going to be doing, he's going to be creeping into the trees. Okay, it's been a while, but I think you guys deserve it. So he's going to go up here like this. So there you go. All right. So he's going to go right into the tree line. See, YouTube isn't going to crush my monetization now because of the trees hid the hid the end of the phallus there. But even still, Forsaken back pushing the objective with their super high movement speed. I think that's a pretty sweet play as well. All right. So the battle is soon to be on. Let me make sure the players aren't waiting for me or something. I don't think they are. Okay. I think we're all good. And yeah, it is go time. Powder is ready to go here for the Vampire Coast, and they're going to be waddling up. We do see Count Noctilus with his big pimp cane. Oh, dude, look at him. He's just like, yes. I love it. Yeah, the animations in this game are pretty great. But, yep, they're waddling up, and they're just going to need to park up on Objective 2 while, you know, on the back objective, probably, I mean, does he see this back pressure? That's the question. You know, probably what you do with that is you call in Morngulls or animated Hulks. A Morngull would counter, like, most of this army. Like, although the Forsaken do fire damage, which is relevant against some of the healing of Vampire Coast. So there's a little bit of that. Shooting going down on the Marauder Horseman, and we do see Valky the Bloody being the Lord choice. She's not going to be, I mean, she'll be okay here. She's a decent disruption tool, but she's not really effective in combat against anything on this Vampire Coast army. This is just like a full haggard, shambling Legion, which I love. I like Gunline Coast. It's always been my favorite way to play them. Monster Mash Coast, I don't know. Maybe I'm too much of an idiot to play that way, or it's just not my strong suit, but overall, I really like Gunline Coast. But it's really, really hard to pull off. In Domination mode, it's worse also, probably compared to Land Battle. Because in Land Battle, you know, this Coast player, he just sets up in the corner and, you know, has one cannon here, you know, obeying the attacking rule, and then just sits there and his opponent has to, you know, come to him, right? But in this mode, you have to move up for the objectives. It's more similar to, like, Total War Warhammer, interestingly enough, is more similar to 40k in terms of Domination mode. It's like playing a 40k game, right? Whereas, I would say Land Battle is a little bit more similar to what you experience in Warhammer the Old World, Warhammer Fantasy Battles, those type of things to an extent. Granted, in Warhammer Fantasy Battles, it's really hard to run and like, kite people around the board, for sure. But if an Empire player in tabletop wants to sit there with like 2 cannons, you're going to have to move in on them eventually, or else you're going to take some big casualties and lose the game. So, yeah, some similarities there. A little bit of an interesting rant. But yeah, the back pressure will be coming soon, and Vampire Coast does get its clutches on objective Dose, and the back objective here is going to be taken by Khorne. But now the Marauders, they're going to be going for the big circuitous flank here. So the Marauders of Chaos are moving on up through the trees. And this is going to be a big push. Hitman Hippo is certainly a patient player. I mean, he knows... Oh, okay, is he trying to waste ammo right here? Oh, look at that. He used Demon Shield. That's kind of a cheeky play. So he uses the invulnerability ability on Valkia, and he flies in and just absorbs all of these zombie pirate gunnery mob shots, which is really funny. I mean, it's one way to waste ammunition, right? But I don't think that Vampire Coast is going to be like, oh no, I'm out of ammo. I don't think it's going to be coming down to that. So yeah, Khorne is going to need to push soon-ish. I mean, they have time, and I think just getting a full surround is definitely the strong play here. So what Khorne's going to do is amass its legions of hell in the bushes and then pop out and flank here. They're going to wait for the 3 Marauders to flank through this tree line, and then they're probably going to amass some units to push the front as well. And it is going to be standard Chaos Warriors of Khorne. So these guys are, after a couple buffs and cost reductions, they're not bad. They do have really good killing power. They have silver shields, definitely stalwart. Chaos Warriors, I wish the Chaos Warriors in tabletop were tankier. It's like, I don't know, like you have these Chaos Warriors in tabletop and they only have heavy armor. They don't have full plate, even though they're fully, obviously modeled in like full plate. It's like the weirdest thing, and they're just so squishy. Like Chosen are relatively tanky because they have a built-in ward save and they can bring full plate, but like baseline Chaos Warriors in tabletop are like, I don't know, they just seem to fold up like paper, man, which is such a disappointment, but hopefully they get a little bit of milk someday. Infantry in general in tabletop needs a lot of love. It's been one of the reasons why I haven't really launched super hard into the tabletop channel, is because I want the game to be a little bit more... I wanted to get one major bouncing pass before I jump into the tabletop channel, because right now it's Monster Mash. Total War, or old Warhammer, I mean, it's fun and all, and I have a great time with it. I play Empire, which is one of the few factions that doesn't have to play Monster Mash, but generally the meta is just like, oh, look, a big dragon, or like, this or that, or not necessarily a dragon, but a character mounted on a dragon, where the items of the character augment the power of the dragon. So, yeah, it's not my favorite. Yeah, I want infantry to be a little bit stronger before I really get into it. So we do see a Carronade being called out by Vampire Coast, and look at this, we got this sneaky inflatable arm, boys. It is going to be the Morngulls. And I think Valkia sees them. You can see up in the sky the Valkyrie of Khorne. She sits watching atop a throne of metaphorical skulls. And is she going to dive in? I don't think so. Looks like the Horsemen of Khorne are going to be engaging them. And Vampire Coast, yeah, I mean, they are they still up in points? No, it looks like, so we got Khorne. Yeah, Khorne has surpassed them on points by stealing this back objective. And then Hitman Hippo, just like a bandit in the night, is going to be running back into the trees here. So he does retreat into the tree line and is going to be cackling and just challenging his opponent to come at him. So Vampire Coast does have the Morngulls here. Morngulls are getting nailed with throwing axes. And Coast is going to need to start shifting some of its power over, like bringing, some of the, not everything. This is a mistake. Like, and this is something that maybe someone who isn't as experienced as Hitman Hippo might struggle with. With Dwarves, anytime you're playing gunline, like a defensive gunline on domination mode, it really, like, you have to very accurately split your forces, like, to exactly how much you need. And now it looks like there's going to be a bit of an alpha strike coming, and if the Vampire Coast player doesn't get his guns together, Hitman Hippo is going to just absolutely dissect him here. So some of the guns are now shooting. We do see Marauders taking a little bit of firepower. But on the backside, we do see the Legions of Hell advancing in. So it's basically Warhammer Hell, right? But yeah, the Khorne Warriors, we got Cultists moving out as well. And they're going to be slamming into the back of this Coast army. And we're going to have to see how well the guns do. But he is maintaining his composure here. And now there's going to be a little bit of gunfire. But we definitely need some stopping power here for Vampire Coast. Like some Morngulls and some animated Hulks. Ooh, that's a good Sleipnir right there. That's a juicy one. Nice Sleipnir there by Hitman Hippo. That was a beauty going right down the old pipe there. As the Morngulls do circle in, and they are going to be clobbering through these Marauders. We do see a terror route going down on those bad boys. Morngulls, of course, able to pack quite a punch and scare them off. Valky the Bloody going to be using her shield here, so she does pop the shield. I might need to restart my game after this. Seems like it's being a little bit laggy for some reason. So very, very strange stuff, although it could be the players as well. Oh, look at this. We got Chaos Chariots, and the big Alpha Strike is underway. On the other side, we're going to be seeing a Wraithstorm going down. Wraithstorm going to be tickling the pickle of these Marauders and doing a little bit of damage. Not bad at all. Certainly a good target. But overall, Khorne, if Khorne is keeping the value with you and they're not taking a big punch on the approach, that's not good. Marauders have gotten into the zombies. We do also see the Chariots penetrating into the secondary line. Furies have descended. And there is going to be a Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma being popped on those bad boys as well, which is a pretty good countermeasure. It will do some respectable damage. But overall, it seems like Hitman Hippo has fully encircled his gunline army. He baited his opponent into like a really awkward position. Like these trees are so bad for the gun line. Like this tree patch, this one right here. There's a lot of things here that are just very, very precarious and aren't going to be working in the favor of ye old Vampire Coast. So looking very, very tough here. We do see objective number 1 owned by the Vampire Coast, but for how much longer? As Khorne pulls ahead by about 900 value right here. In the backfield, we do see the call-in of the Night Terrors. An excellent choice in this matchup, as are animated Hulks. But yeah, this is a painful one, as I think Hitman Hippo, you're going to see a lot of crumbling here. The Forsaken are in their natural habitat. They are just going to be ripping these guys to shreds. As we do zoom in, we see the Forsaken melee contact, and a lot of the Zombos are just going to be getting cleaved just under. I love seeing Forsaken work. They're such a freaking cool unit. And actually, as far as like tabletop infantry goes, I know we were talking about how terrible infantry are in the old world in general, but Forsaken are actually pretty good. They can do some work. As like a cheap, small number of units, they can punch above their pay grade. So right here we do see, oh god, a big Sword of Khorne's going to be coming out, and boom, the sword is dropped. 2 of the coast units getting eviscerated. Vampire Coast falling behind in value even more, kind of stabilizing here. Remember, they do have some healing, but so much of their army is guns, and the guns are just kind of shooting. I mean, there's a couple of them desperately trying to hold on. That Sword of Khorne just straight up KO'd that gunnery mob, just like knocked them off into the abyss here, as we do see some Khorne dogs coming out. So the Fleshhounds of Khorne going to be enveloping these zombies right here, as on the backside, Minotaurs of Khorne have pressed onto objective number 1. And cannons have trained on them. That is a good play here by Fabrosi. And Fabrosi, you know, is putting up a great fight. I mean, Hitman Hippo is definitely one of the stronger players in our community. So putting up a fight against him is certainly very, very impressive. Probably against, I love the gun lines, but I'm telling you, it's so hard to pull off against like good aggressive Chaos players in general. I think you probably need to go like melee-centric coast and then maybe call in guns in the secondary once the battle is stabilized a little bit. I'm not sure. I'd be very curious. This map does have a fair amount of foliage and trees and line of sight blocking, but it also has a big open field kind of not chamber, but like line of sight here where you can shoot. But the problem is, yeah, the tree lines kind of make it hard to cover both objectives. But Khorne is ripping and tearing. The Khorne Doom soundtrack is playing as the zombies are ripped apart. Valkyrie the Bloody taking apart these zombies as we make our way to the center of the battlefield. We see the forces of Khorne, Minotaurs, and Forsaken ripping up the haggard, low-quality infantry of the Vampire Coast, which is, you know, not what they want to be dealing with. If we were to look at the value of this game, we would probably see that none of the gun units probably got more than 400 or 500 value. That would be probably something I would expect here. So we do see Night Terrors as well as animated Hulks on their way in. And Noctilus, this is reminding me of like old school land battle when Count Noctilus would be the last man standing. He'd be playing some Godsmack. He stands alone, and yeah, he is going to be he's going to just be circle beaten and, you know, never die, but he will end up losing the game. So we do see the score very heavily in favor of Hitman Hippo. He's focusing more on value trading right now rather than just trying to, you know, get all 3 objectives, which I would imagine he'll get his clutches on this one. Pretty cool to see Chariots being played. Chariots in general are kind of weak, but against Coast, I mean, only 500 value on these things, despite having pretty ideal engagements, right? But yeah, Chariots I think need a bit of a look over. Although Chariots are a weird one. You don't want them to be too powerful. They would be really toxic if they were, so. And yeah, that's looking like it's going to be it. I mean, we have the Minotaurs of Khorne with Great Opens beating down Rotting Prometheans, which is just a god-tier engagement for them. Prometheans will fight back reasonably well. But yeah, they're fighting anti-large Minotaurs, although the shotgun blast is very, very cost-effective there. Oh my god, he drops another Sword of Khorne to the cannon! He's like, screw that cannon in particular. The god of, the blood god just, you know, hated that cannon quite a bit. It had been causing him a bit of havoc in this game, so he just drops the thunder on that bad boy. And yeah, this is looking good. And you know, in Khorne's defense, you know, these zombies do possess skulls, so it's not like they're fighting, you know, demons or creatures that, you know, don't perhaps have skulls. There is going to be a little bit of loot for them this day, as the Night Terrors and the Zombie Pirate Deckhand mobs do start to crumble down. Hitman Hippo showing why he is one of the strongest players in Total War Warhammer, but a very admirable performance by Fabrosi. I thought he played pretty well considering, you know, the build he had, which was probably a little bit tough. Against Khorne. Khorne's really hard to defend against. Their swarming is very good. Maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to think how he could have played it differently. Like, the guns maybe more spread out. That would probably be one of my few critiques, is that he was very tightly packed, which looks nice, but I think, like, he needs, like, this much separation between gun units. Like, so that they can, like, kind of, you know, cover each other a little bit more and have more space. Overall, it just was tough. You know, he needed more space between his weapons there. Valkyrie the Bloody tearing apart the Rotting Prometheans here on the other side. The Night Terrors are torn to shreds as the Marauder Horsemen of Khorne are going to be ripping into the animated Hulks here. A couple of these Haggard Marauders get the job done, and that is going to be it. GG, well played. Game 1 is done. Valkia has the shittiest trailer out of all the champions. Yeah, Valkia's isn't very good. Neither is Festus, to be honest. I think that Village has one of the coolest ones. Like, that ambush scene is super rad. And let's see, who else is there? I'm trying to remember. And Azazel's was probably the coolest. So it'd have to be Azazel, followed by Village, followed by... I don't know. I might even put Valkia's above. Because at least there's some cool fighting in that one. Festus might be the worst one. You know? Yeah. The Valkia's was better than Festus's, in my opinion. Yeah, cool attempt at a gunline build, but very tough to pull off against a player of Hitman Hippo's caliber. That is for sure. All right, so let me restart my game real quick. I don't know why it's like lagging, so we're gonna... Hopefully you guys didn't notice too much. Maybe it's just on my end. Do I have some like weird... Let me close this down. All right, and everything looks fine there. Let me close this down. All right, yep. Okay. Looking good to me. SFT, yeah, late night SFTs are always fun. Just firing it up with the crew and having a good old time on Saturday night. Azazel had his show stolen, though. To be completely fair, that Chaos Lord of Khorne stole all the thunder of that trailer. That guy should be a legendary lord. That was the coolest part of the trailer, hands down. The Khorne Lord, come on. He's like, oh, just roaring at him. You know who had a good trailer was Harold Hammerstorm's trailer, where he stares down Vlad and just like, you know, they're getting ready for their duel. Yeah, that was awesome. All right. So let me take a look here and see how we're looking on the old brackets, refresh that, and see if we have any tournament games ready to go. Is that fire off? There it is. Okay, I think we're back in the game. Hopefully it won't lag now. It wasn't too bad, though. All good. Why no early morning streams at 5 a.m.? We'll have some more earlier streams soon, for sure. It's usually just dictated by the weather here. And this is like the last week of summer here. Like, it's the last dying throes of a miserable hot summer. So we'll be back to earlier streams, but we'll still do some nighttime ones as well. We gotta, you know, take care of all the time zones here. So outer region versus scrambled egg. Ooh, let me see if they started. All right, so we're gonna check that out. Outer region, you two start. Okay. Checking these guys. If they did, we can just follow Hitman Hippo's journey and just blood for the blood god and all that. But I'm gonna check and see if these guys started real quick. Okay, perfect. And we are all good. Sazel gave us the perfect reaction meme. yeah, it was pretty good. All right, so let's see. Okay, sounds good. Lobby code. Yes. We got a heavyweight fight. This is going to be a lot of fun. So we got Scrambled Egg Special, one of our goats, facing off against Outer Region, another one of our top tier players, which is going to be super exciting. And we're in. Aces. Yeah, that's one thing that I kind of like about double elimination as well, is how rapid fire the games can be. Oh, guys, I forgot. I put map 2 as the Pit of the Ever Chosen. Oh, yeah. This is the way right here. Let's freaking go. This is going to be hyped. So if you guys don't remember this map, this is our new map, which is like the knockdown, drag out, super fast brawler map. You just get in there. You do glorious battle with your opponent. The Blood God smiles for sure. It's definitely his favorite map. And yeah, you do it. SFT stands for Single Faction Tournament. It means that instead of having a pick and ban process, which adds like 5 hours to the tournament, it's a little bit more casual in the sense that you just pick one faction you want to play and you play it all the way through. So, you know, not unlike what you would see in like StarCraft or other RTS games. Although in Age of Empires, there's usually a pretty robust pick and ban system. StarCraft, obviously, there's only 3 factions, so people usually just play one. But here, you just play one all the way through. It's very simplistic. It's very, very simplistic. But it looks like we have Tomb Kings versus Vampire Coast. I would say the strongest Vampire Coast player in our community is probably Scrambled Egg Special. He is a specialist. He plays them a lot. And yeah, not too many people do that. They're certainly not the most popular, but he you know, makes them look good for sure. Speaking of, let's look at Vampire Coast for this season and see how they're looking. So As soon as if we get a content update or like a big multiplayer balance patch, we will reset and have a new season. But for now, we are on quite an old season. It's been going for a long time. Looking here, we see Wood Elves #1, Kislev, and Beastmen. Vampire Coast sitting at a 53% win rate though, with a lot of games played. I mean, that is pretty damn good data for Total War standards. Yeah, Khorne is like the perfect 50%. But Vampire Coast, how do they usually do against Khorne? It looks like they lose against Khorne most of the time. As of this season, they're 8-16 against Khorne, which is pretty rough. But Vampire Coast versus Tomb Kings. Let's see how this matchup looks. This is what we're about to play. Pretty even. There's only been 11 games played, so not a lot of data on that. But, I mean, it looks like it's relatively even from that spread right there. All right. Effort. Yeah, no. Scrambled Egg has definitely taken over the mantle. Yeah, he has, of the Vampire Coast. He's the true Pirate Lord. Yeah, Age of Mythology is super fun. I'm definitely addicted to that game. It's great. The FFAs are just insanity in that, like with the god powers and just all the myth units. It's definitely makes for a good time. It's like yeah, Age of Mythology. Like I never played it, but the fact that it's old and just coming in and being such a fresh experience. How many of you guys, as you've gotten into your like 30s and early 40s, I'm just assuming you guys are around my age. Most folks here. Have found yourself like going back and watching movies that you watched maybe like 15 years ago or 10 years ago and like not exactly remembering everything, so it feels like a fresh watch, right? Like that just started happening to me in the last like 5 years. Like stuff I watched when I was like 15, 16, maybe like early 20s, mid 20s. Like you go back and you're like, it's fun. You're like, oh, I can watch all these movies again because I don't remember a lot of it, and maybe it's just the high school football concussion speaking, but it's fun. Yeah, Romy, I'm glad to hear it. What if a Warhammer had a 12-player multiplayer battles? Oh my god, that would just be a hellscape of lag and misery and suffering. What the hell is this? Weird. YouTube's streaming website just like kind of conked out there. That was very weird. Okay. That's called dementia. Yeah. I did that with Armageddon last month. Yeah, see what I'm talking about? You know, stuff you might have watched every 10 years because your experience and perspective has changed. You enjoy and hate them in new ways. Yeah. Like I just rewatched like a week or two ago the Clash of the Titans and Wrath of the Titans. It's that Sam Worthington movie, I think. I think he's the actor, and you have Liam Neeson play Zeus and Ralph. I forget his name. Oh, he's so good. He plays Hades, and then the first one is that doesn't have the Titans in it, but the second one has the Titans. The first one, Hades, is the villain with the Kraken, and the second one you have like Kronos and like all the Titans being unleashed. It's so fun. Yeah. Conan the Barbarian, I went through that exact same thing. I rewatched Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer and all those when they were on Netflix recently. It's super fun. All right, so I'm not the only one with a little bit of old man going down here. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Welcome to the pit of the ever-chosen. Oh, evil skulls. I love it. This is a map where the two players deploy face-to-face. It is really, really fun. And on the backside, we have the objectives. So you can see, you can deploy in the back line and pull back if you don't want to fight right away. But that is the you know, the coward play here. I hope they just get fisticuffs and fight that. We will have to see. And yeah, should be great. Looking at Outer Regions Army, he's going to be pretty melee focused. We have Setra the Imperishable. Does he rule or does he serve? Find out in today's episode. Necrotect on the Chariot here is going to be rocking Vambraces of the Sun to augment the damage output and lower the stats of enemy units. Whole battle line of Skeleton Warriors and Tomb Guard with 4 Skeleton Archers, which is really good. He's going to be able to bounce back, you know, grab the objective or harass his opponent's objective who has a much slower army. And now looking at Vampire Coast, ladies and gentlemen, we do have the forces of the coast. Bomber mobs, couple pistol mobs. We do have 2 giant pissed off crabs. It's going to be a pistol lord of vampires with, is that Winds of Death? Oh, that's such a good opportunity for Winds of Death as well as Invocation. And the Black Pariah Pit, which is really good. It gives you power recharge and Winds of Magic, so super good item. But if he's able to get a fat Winds of Death, Outer Region is a high micro player, so catching him with a Winds of Death like that is going to be very, very hard. Frost says, went back, dude, Anna and I, my wife, we love the Hugh Jackman Van Helsing movie. It's so good. It's just such a early 2000s like nostalgia piece. It's great. I mean, of course it has its corny moments, but it's freaking awesome. Yeah. This is going to be great, though. Yeah, this is a nice clash of Titans here. Now the two armies are going to be engaging, and we do see the Vampire Coast getting jumped initially. It looks like Outer Region a little bit quicker to get those charges off. But we're going to see if it matters here, as we do see Setcha the Imperishable penetrating into the secondary, going straight for the handgun mobs. He eats a lot of shots on the way in, but overall looks like the Battle Cat is going to be getting in, and oh yeah, just plowing through those zombies and getting some beautiful damage in, as he does use Nero's Incantation of Protection. Bomber mobs for the Vampire Coast, saturating in and melting one of the skeleton units pretty heavily. But the battle crabs are now going to be going after Setcha, and we do see the gun line here of Scrambled Egg Special getting some really, really good crossfire. Setcha the Imperishable under a little bit of firepower. Front line's a bit of an undead wash. Nobody's going to win super quickly. Of course, Tomb Guard will dominate their respective fights they're in, as we do see Setcha the Imperishable wheeling back around and getting ready to re-engage against the Krabos. But the Krabs have actually done some very good damage against him. You have to remember the Vampire Fleet Admiral does have an armor-piercing pistol to put good damage on Setcha, and Scrambled Egg Special has put his guns in guard mode and is ripping shots wherever he can. Now, big column of Fellbats. So all of these Skeleton Horseman Archers are being used to harass the army here of old Scrambled Egg Special, but the Fellbats are going to come in as a deterrent and try and chase those off. And we do also see a Chariot being called in by Outer Region. So on this map, you have like deployment points on all corners. So like it's just like a full-on brawl map, you know, no holds barred WWE. It's like Attitude Era WWE, which was just pure violence. But looking here in the middle, yeah, it is a more or less good fight for Scrambled Egg. He has gotten a lot of HP off Setcha, and he has lost his front line and a couple gun units. But if he can keep Setcha from being a big factor in this battle, that'd be pretty big. And the big Krabos chasing down Setcha, but Setcha is able to get away. Now let's take a big macro look at the battlefield. We do see objective number 2 is going to be going to the Tomb Kings. Objective 3 to the Tomb Kings as well. And this other objective might be taken by the Tomb Kings. The Vampire Coast may have committed a little bit too hard to the blob fight and isn't really playing the mobility game, trying to contest the battlefield. We'll have to see. The Crabs get in and absolutely bully that Necrotech. Big damage on that bad boy, as they bring him down to almost half health. And yeah, Scrambled Egg is value trading pretty well, but the Tomb King's front line will outgrind him. Typically, the Tomb Guard, as well as even the Skeleton Warriors, I find do pretty well against the deckhand mobs. Bomber's able to get in there and saturate into the Tomb Guard units, getting some respectable HP damage. Outer Region does call in the Skeleton Chariots into the back of Scrambled Egg's army. And Skeleton Chariots, in my opinion, are one of the only chariots in the game that are good. I think it's because they have a high model count compared to other chariots, so they're actually, like, the impact seems meaningful. But right now, Scrambled Egg is going to be triple capped here. We do see some zombies moving towards the objective, so now Scrambled Egg is going to start playing the points. That is, 1,200 points worth of capture weight coming down here, and these zombies will be able to put some pressure on that objective for sure. But is the mobility game going to be favoring the Tomb Kings? Vampire Coast is a much more static army, right? They're not going to be nearly as efficient at playing the mobile play as Tomb Kings. Tomb Kings have a lot of high-quality mobility and pretty respectable capture weight, too. Nehakara Warriors here are an excellent choice. This is a really good counterplay. The Nehakara Warriors are going to rip these guys to shreds. These zombie pirates are going to get torn up. Good melee attack in tandem with the bonus versus infantry against light armor. I mean, this is really, really good here. So looking in the middle, though, we do see Vampire Coast winning the value trading game. Setcha has been forced back into the Shadow Realm right here. I think for Vampire Coast, the big thing would be just consolidate and make sure you get one objective to stem the bleeding. And we do see that. Vampire Coast is, decent on the Vanguard game. The Morgul's here are a good counterplay. We do see Scrambled Egg Special pulling back. And then the wacky inflatable arm boy is going to be popping out of the trees, and they're going to be swarming on down and using their atomic pimp slaps here on the Nehakara Warriors, which will crumble them, reasonably quick, although Necrotech is on his way in, and it looks like there is going to be some witchcraft. Ooh, an arrow's going down. That's very, very nice. And Setcha's mobility able to really make a big difference here. Setcha is going to be on his way over. We do see the Morgul's retreating from Setcha, not wanting any of that smoke. On the other side, Fellbats continuing to chase down the Skeleton Horseman Archers, and if they can get them eventually, that's going to be pretty cost-effective. But looking at the points are rapidly going for the forces of the Tomb Kings. And, the Tomb King's monsters are quicker too, right? Like, Setcha is very fast. He's got speed. Well, right now, he's poisoned or frostbitten or something. Yeah, it looks like frostbite. So he's not going to be quite as swift, but generally, I think his speed is over 60, closer to 70, whereas these crabs are very, very ponderous. At 50 movement speed, there might be a situation where Vampire Coast needs to just sit one of their crabs down on each objective and just try and, anchor multiple points. Because chasing Setcha around the battlefield probably isn't going to be the most cost-effective. It's going to require Outer Region to make a blunder. Like, letting Setcha get caught by these giant crabs, there's no reason for that. Setcha is going to want to be in full retreat right now, but the crabs do actually get in. Do they make contact? They do knock down some of the horsemen here, and they are able to fend Setcha off. Looking on the other side, we see Outer Region with complete dominance all over the battlefield, actually. He's got all the points. Here we have Objective 1 is going to be going to the Tomb Kings. Objective 2 is going to go to the Tomb Kings as well. Not really seeing a lot of Scurvy Dogs in play, but that makes sense because Scurvy Dogs in general aren't super good against the forces of the Tomb Kings. Tomb Kings have so many answers for them between Light Skeleton Horsemen and Nehekara Horsemen. They're able to shut them down very effectively. Yeah, the double Leviathan is good, but they're just getting outmaneuvered. We do see a value lead for Scrambled Egg, but it's really not that significant anymore. With healing from both sides, like, it's probably just a razor close game. We haven't seen Winds of Death being used, but now Vampire Coast is going to be getting its clutches on this objective. So Outer Region just needs to play Whack-A-Mole. Not Outer Region, but excuse me, Scrambled Egg. He needs to play Whack-A-Mole. Basically what needs to happen is he needs to just heavily consolidate on this objective to the point where, you know, his opponent's not going to want to go for it anymore. And then his crabs need to march over to one of the other objectives and try and get that one once he methodically secures these. Definitely playing a dangerous game here. We do see some Nehekara Horsemen emerging from the trees. Looks like they're going to be ambushing these zombies that are moving out. Krabos are up on the point. Cetra and the Necrotect are nearby. Going to be charging into Halberds and the Necrotect. He's going to be trying to get away. He does get crabbed in the back. All right, so Mr. Krabs got in there. Laid quite a beat down on the Necrotect, who's gotten about 600 value so far, so pretty damn respectable. And on the objective, though, Tomb King still holding it. Nehekara Warriors are chilling out there. On the other side, Felbat's still hunting down these Horseman Archers. Looks like they might be able to get them in critical binding, so currently looking at the leadership of the Horsemen. Yep, they're going to be crumbling here in just a second. No pressure anywhere else, which is smart. I think, like, if you try and split push with the Vampire Coast with what you have, Tomb Kings are just going to pick you apart. So I think that consolidating and getting the kills on these points is going to be more important. And it looks like Outer Region knows he's down on value, so he's just using stalling tactics right now. It's kind of like in 40k, for example. If you're a Death Guard player, yeah, more of an 8th, 9th edition experience, but you know, you might be getting crushed by the Tau or, you know, shot off by an Imperial Guard army, but if your Terminators can set on an objective for like 3 turns, you're going to win the game, potentially, right? You're just going to win on points. And it looks like that's what Outer Region is trying to do right now as well. The Krabos are bashing, but we do see it flip to the Vampire Coast. Outer Region even parked all of the Skeleton Horsemen as well as the Horseman Archers on the objective to try and mitigate the capture weight, which is a really, really good veteran play, but yeah, I don't know. We just now see Scrambled Egg getting back on the board. He is down or up by about 1,200 value against Outer Region here. A lot of these Skeletors are crumbling, but man, oh man, the problem is for the Vampire Coast. As soon as they start to leave here, right? As soon as Scrambled Egg Special pulls off the objective, like, you're just going to see a legion of these, like, jackals coming on and these carrions swarming, metaphorical carrion, coming in and feasting on the objective, which is going to be very good. On the side, we see the Night Terrors, Invocation of Nehek going down, pretty strong ability. That is going to be hitting the Morngulls here as well. And the wacky inflatable arm guys doing pretty good holding their own here as the Crabs continue to bash whatever they can on the objective. Ushakti Summon will be gone in about 22 seconds, so that's going to be taking a lot of pressure off the Vampire Coast here, allowing their zombies to move up. Nehekara Warriors doing the work of the gods. You know, if I was a betting man in this game right now, I would definitely say that Tomb Kings are, you know, like, I would say 80-20 odds. Like, probably 80% victory chances for Outer Region. Unless he blunders or maybe Scrambled Egg Special catches him slipping up somewhere. Or, like, for example, if Outer Region doesn't notice this, and then this objective flips early. Maybe little things like that. But we're going to have to see. So looking at Outer Region's resources, he doesn't have a lot. So this objective might actually go to the Vampire Coast. As far as this one goes, certainly in the hands of the Coast, but it looks like the Tomb Kings are in the process of maybe flipping that one back. The Night Terrors doing the work of, I guess, of who would their god be? Manon? Or, yeah, who does the Vampire Coast? I guess Nagash, Manon, they're vampires and zombies still, right? So they're still undead vampires. So somewhere in there, they probably worship some sort of a sea god as well. I don't really know their lore, and I know their lore is very brief, but that could be the death knell here for Scrambled Egg Special. You can see here that the objective has been flipped back. The Tomb Kings just high quality capture weight, able to just outnumber these guys and really, really target them. Of course, the big monsters are doing pretty good. Rotting Leviathans are pretty giga chat here. 1,400 value on this one, and the other one is sitting at, is that the different one? I mean, they might both be at 1,400. But yeah, Scrambled Egg knows it's over and isn't going to be wasting anybody's time. GG, well played. Cool match. And, you know, that map is very different. The way you need to play on it is extremely different. I would say Tomb Kings are probably very favored against Vampire Coast on that map, simply because they have exponentially better mobility and skirmish. Although maybe, you know, Vampire Coast needs to mix in more scurvy dogs, deck droppers maybe. I'm not sure how you would approach that. Perhaps just faster play overall. Yeah, Luther Harkin maybe could get around and bully the objectives a little bit. Who knows? Stromfels, the god of pirates and sharks and drowning. Got it. That's what it was. Okay. So cool game. That was a fun one. I love that map. I think it really, really kind of spins the meta on its head, which I think is a good thing for the game. I think every now and then having a map that like changes play is very fun. So GG, well played. All right. So let's take a look at the tournament and see how we're looking. Okay. And what do we got? So Outer Region has won. A lot of games going right now. Outer Region's playing what? Tomb Kings? I love me some Tomb Kings games. Those are very, very fun. So Scrambled Egg has been relegated to the bottom bracket, but you know, if I had to guess, I would say that Scrambled Egg will probably find a way to make it to the grand final still. And I'll have another shot at his opponent here. Yeah, Cooper, it's been rough, dude. The weather's been really rough here in California. It's been freaking awful. The map is fun. No, I think the map's really good. I think it's solid. It's just very different. It's very different. I don't think, like, I think Gunline obviously isn't as effective on that map, but most Gunline factions can play a melee build. Like, Empire can use the land ship and, you know, more stalwart front line with, like, you know, Boris or, you know, Burning Head, whatever, right? So yeah, I love it. I think it's a great map. I think it's very fun. Okay, so now we need to see what's cracking here on the old tournament. We need to see what's going on here. With all the players even owning any faction which can seize early objectives can probably tarp it. Yeah, depends. Depends. You know, for Vampire Coast, for example, right? We saw him commit to the middle fight. But on that same coin, what if Vampire Coast just deploys on their back and pulls back, secures their objective, and then pushes back from there? Then they're not triple capped, and they're immediately getting points on the board, right? Like there's a lot to be explored. I think it's good, Harrison. Yeah, but well, time will tell. Definitely need to see more matchups on it and get more feedback. All right, I like mixing it up a little bit. You know, I think that's one of the strong points of Dom mode is that we can have like dynamic maps. All right. Oh wow, Hitman Hippo lost. Damn. All right, so he lost his game, and we just need to find a match to watch. So we're gonna find one here in a minute, and let's see how we're looking on the old brackets. Take a look. I think a couple of these games are going to be wrapping up right now, so let's refresh that. All right, so Hitman Hippo B6 are playing right now. We already casted one of his matches. Umais is playing. It looks like he won his first game. And who did that player? Apostate was able to defeat Hitman Hippo. What was he playing? So I'm just going to check the factions here. Oh, with Nurgle. Okay, yeah, that makes some sense. We have pretty good run of factions today as well. Definitely very diverse. Yeah. Shetland Apache playing Chaos Wars. Is he playing? I don't know if he is. We'll find out. Are you going to check out the Age of Wonders? Yeah, for sure. I'm going to reach out to the company and see if we can get it and show it. Wood Elves are just very strong. Their shooting got buffed pretty heavily. They have great Vanguard infantry. They just do a lot of things very well. Arrows of Khorne is insanely good. We'll see. I don't know who played them tonight. Kislev would be very brutal on this map. Yeah, they would. They would. Absolutely. Did CA agree to add those community maps? Yeah. So let me show you. If you go to the... We managed... That was a big milestone for multiplayer. I was very, very proud that we were able to get that done. But if you go look at the custom, you'll see when you go to the official creative assembly maps, we have Gates of Ekrend, Glade of the Everqueen, Road to Talpine, and then we have Celestial Lake and Borderlow Landing. So we have those maps are officially in the game. Although I don't know if they fixed Borderlow Landing yet. They implemented that one very strangely, but yeah. So the quick battle system is much better than it once was. It's much better. Yeah. So that was progress. Okay, let me see match. What do we have? I think most people are in a game right now, so we just need to wait a minute here, and then we should have one. Let's see here. Range. Oh, I mean, you can totally play ranged on that map too. Wood Elves would actually dominate on Pit of the Everchosen. Their Vanguard, they would just grab all the points and then pick you apart with mobility. That's kind of the thing about Pit of the Everchosen. Everybody thinks it's like an Unga Bunga map where you just get in and grind, but like kiting is very good on that map, and Vanguard is extremely important. And even just regular deployment, because you have regular deployment points behind your opponent as well. All right. So what do we got here? Let's see if there's any lobbies appearing. Yeah, this one, they just finished that. Hippo's in his match. We could just do a Hippo game just to pass the time. All right. Although, who's he playing? Let me see if it's going to be a close match. If it's just going to be potentially a one-sided duel of fates, then Okay, so he's down there. Could be a good one. Khorne. Do we want some blood for the blood god? Let's get in there. If he hasn't started yet. I think that'd be fun. Because I think he's on Pit of the Everchosen as well. Catching a live from Australia, right on. From the land down under, eh? That's awesome. Hell yeah. I still think you can, Harrison, for sure. Like, Wood Elves, I think, would be incredibly strong on that map. Like, incredibly strong. Like, you just literally saw the Tomb Kings kite the Vampire Coast into oblivion. Like, they were just, like, skeleton, horseman, archer, chariots, mobile monsters, just, like, brutality, right? Let's see here. So, you guys are second from the left. Sorry, the players have an admin question. So they would be on map number 2, which would be map number 2 is Pit of the Everchosen. Pit. You go from furthest left is map 1. Okay, cool. So we're on Pit of the Everchosen again. You guys are going to get to see another look at it. Skaven versus Khorne. Skaven can definitely monster mash if they need to. It's not the prettiest playstyle, but it can get the job done. But yeah, we will see. If Wood Elves... yeah, Wood Elves can definitely play the mobile game. But Wood Elves can also brute force you too nowadays. Like, War Dancer's getting buffs a while back. Dryads are really solid. Their dragon character has Helm of Discord, which is pretty good. And now they're on the Pit of the Everchosen. All right. Let's get this party started. We're going to get to test this map yet again. In the Rats versus Khorne. Yes. Okay. Did I answer his question? Looks like I did. Sweet. So we're all good. It is go time, baby. Hell yeah. Let's party. So Khorne versus Rats. I can't help but think Hippo is going to be able to envelop his little rat friend. As far as his matchup goes, how do Rats play it? Are we going to be seeing like Storm Vermin? Like Storm Vermin Halberds maybe mixed in there? I would probably bring the dreaded 13th spell. I think that would be pretty nice. I would maybe use like Gutter Runners. Gutter Runners could be quite nice here. Yeah. I don't know. I almost snuck the stream past you, huh? Yeah. Oh yeah, generic Wood Elf Lords are very good. Very, very good. If we're talking like generic Lords... some of the best in the game. Like the male Glade Lord for the Wood Elves has Helm of Discord, which is one of the best combat items ever. And then the female one has a snare, which is really good. It's like insane. Prey of Anathrema. So Bloodthirsters against the Rats? No, definitely not. Skaven are very good at that. You're probably just going to see a million Marauders. If I were Hitman Hippo, maybe something crazy. I don't know. But Falling Star is a very good player, so you got to be careful. You don't want to mess around too much. Oh, the Helm of Discord is only on the one version. The version with Helm of Discord doesn't have the snare. They don't get them both. Ostucci Castle is kind of like, yeah, it's ambiguously designed. I don't know if it's like Cathay or Nippon, but I suspect Nippon. Ostucci is like, yeah. And then it looks more like Shogun. I believe the map maker said Ostucci Castle was inspired by Shogun too. So yeah, I would assume it's more of a Nippon map. Scarbrand against Rats, maybe on this map if you want to get real crazy, but that's certainly risky. Rats are decent at killing big targets. They're definitely decent at it. Okay, so how are we looking down here? The Wild Gorby's Chariot, I don't know. We're going to have to see. It's Japanese architecture for sure, yeah. Well, let's see what's cracking. Let's see what these guys are up to here. Hitman Hippo gets to play on his own map. He created this beast, so he's going to be the enjoyer. Yeah, Globadiers would probably be really good here. I think so. Yeah, I think Deathwind Globes. Just get like maybe one of them. And you're definitely going to want to max out on Rat Ogres, probably 4 of them, like in your starting build. As far as the Lord choices go, I mean, we've seen Tretch Craventail making appearances, but probably a Grey Seer on the Screaming Bell would be nice. Or you could go the Mortis Engine, Plague Priest, but I don't know. I feel like Khorne is just going to take that thing apart with throwing axes. Yeah. Yeah, that would be my guess. So this is bottom side of the bracket. You can take a look and show you guys what that looks like right now. Okay, and let's go to this. And here we are. Let's refresh that. Yeah, cool. So Alexander and Outer Region are playing right now on the top side. Down here we have our bottom side game, so Hitman Hippo and B6, and yeah, a lot of players signed up. Pretty cool to see on such a short notice. I usually don't give a lot of notice for my events. I'm wild like that, but yeah, this is the bottom, and of course players will keep advancing until they get to the grand finals. Now, normally in double elimination, you do get 2 lives in the grand finals, but personally, in Total War, I like there just to be 1 game to decide it all. I think that's, you know, like having to play the same faction twice into the same person, and it just kind of becomes, yeah, I don't know. I think just having 1 game to rule them all is better. Deathmaster, yeah. I mean, he can definitely kill Valkia, but he's a little bit susceptible to being surrounded by like just marauders, right? Like that's what you got to watch out for. Yeah, and we don't have Thankful yet. Oh my god, it's Chad Craventail with no wizard? Wow. I guess, worried about Karanak. Okay. So this is awesome. This is yeah, and friggin' Flayers are super good right now too. Okay. So we got Skaven Slaves, Clan Rats, Storm Vermin, mixed with Night Runner Slings to kill Minotaurs, Triple Ogre, Doomflayer, and Chad Craventail. Hey, Darmaka! Can't believe I'm catching you live. Just want to say I love watching your Total War Warhammer content. It's been helpful getting through some stressful times. Hey, glad to hear it. We the good times will continue rolling. I know this game is old as hell now, but we're going to keep enjoying and having fun. Thank you so much for the support and the donation, man. And we are doing it. Had this on the background as I was painting a Rat Ogre. Nice. Yeah, your people are here. There are 3 Rat Ogres. So you have the new Rat Ogre from Sigmar. Those things are so nice. Oh, the Skaven like model update was so great. Yeah, Flayers are like, there's people who play Land Battle who've like, you know, argued that they're just super broken. I haven't seen that in Domination mode yet, but yeah, they're very, very good. Very, very good indeed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Pit of the Everchosen once again. This will be the last time you'll see it this tournament. It's because these guys are on round 2 on the loser side, and the maps are, you know, simultaneous basically, so. It is time. Let the Nurglings feast. Well, Tretch is good if you're worried about dying. Definitely, yeah. Don't meet Khorne head on. See, the Rat player has the right idea. The cowardly retreat is totally what you want to be doing. So go back, consolidate this objective, and then, you know, contest the other ones. And, you know, Skaven mobility is respectable. In terms of, like, deployment, you could just swarm it with Clan Rats. You could call in Guando Rats. You could do the Eshin Triads. You could do Death Runners. A couple of cool options in this matchup. So I feel like Khorne is going to be favored here just because Hitman Hippo is such a scary player. But we'll have to see. So we saw the Skaven army. It's basically, you know, you got the spears to deal with the mass, Night Runners to poke things, Ogres to kill infantry, and Tretch basically just not to die. And here for Hitman Hippo, he is going to be using, oh, is that a Herald of Khorne on the Juggernaut? Oh, dude, that's so cool. I love it. Yeah, I'm pretty good character killer. We'll see how he does. No Valkia here today, but it's going to be Minotaurs and Bloodletters. Bloodletters have become very prevalent in this matchup, which is hilarious, because of the buff that Storm Vermin got. So Storm Vermin got a pretty substantial buff. They're not like great, but they're like playable now. So now you'll see Khorne players bring Bloodletters to just chew through them, and it's pretty fun. The instant rat retreat, I don't know, it kind of doesn't look like he's actually rat retreating. It looks like he's going to be trying to meet Khorne in melee, which is a huge mistake. And again, I don't think people have really quite learned how to play this map properly yet, but they will in due time. This is what Khorne wants. Khorne wants to get in melee with you as fast as possible, start charging up their god power and feasting and all that good stuff. But yeah, this is not a good play by the Skaven. And if I had to guess, this isn't going to go well for them. I think pulling back to objective 1 and like trying to use your slingers to like harass Khorne, and you know, they have a lot of good targets like Minotaurs, Bloodletters, like that kind of thing, I think is what you want to be doing. But yeah, overall, it's going to be tough. So you can see the objectives here, 1, 2, and 3. And they, of course, each have you know, deployment all around the Pit of the Everchosen. So now the battle is going to be starting, and the Rats are going to be just meeting Khorne head on. These are certainly some brave Skaven. It looks like the Rat player has not quite reacted to the engagement yet across the board. You want to get these slingers on top of the Minotaurs, and of course make sure the Minotaurs don't penetrate too deeply into your lines. We see the first Clan Rat unit here getting massacred horribly. Definitely focus fire those Chaos Furies with all of your slingers if you can. And it looks like these Storm Vermin Halberds are going to be surging up to meet the Minotaurs, as some of the Furies do land on the secondary line. Value trading, obviously very even out of the gates, but the problem is going to be when the Skaven front line starts to fold, which is going to happen very fast. Skaven Slaves, mostly trash units. Storm Vermin moving up with Chad Craventail to go after the Minotaurs, and yeah, if they can get that fight, it's going to be good. Flayers are actually a really good counter against Chaos Furies. They have anti-infantry and do great work there, so they do chase those Furies down, doing really nice work. Night Runners are able to pull back, and at this point, they could start shooting into the Minotaurs here, or even into Bloodletters. They're both very, very viable targets. But one Fury unit does get taken to Pound Town, and Chad Craventail using standard die here. And this actually becomes a decent fight for Skaven. You know, the Khorne forces, including Minotaurs, have decided to engage on their halberd line with flayers supporting. Here we see a couple slingers pulling back, but this is actually, if played correctly, B6 should win this because Night Runners can actually defeat Chaos Warhounds in combat. So you just kite them back, or you could even engage them in melee and win that fight. But we'll see how good the micro is here. So Chad Cravensail getting quite a bit of damage in. We see Falling Star pulling up on value very, very heavily, actually. A lot of the Chaos Warhounds moving into the secondary. Nobody even playing the objectives at all, which is certainly making for quite a wild situation. But yeah, I'm surprised to see the Rats doing so well in the value trading. A lot of the Khorne forces in the front line, I guess, are getting taken to Pound Town a little bit by the Ogres. Storm Vermin fighting very effectively against the Minotaurs. I wish Halberds and Tabletop were actually good against monsters. That would be nice. And it looks like the Night Runner should have just countercharged the Chaos Warhounds. They would have actually won that fight, but they ended up running and letting the Hounds nibble them to pieces. So back objective, we do see some Skaven Slaves piling in on that one. And looking at the Rats, they are up in value by about 1,200. So Chad Craventail leading the charge. And him and his little Storm Vermin blob. Who would have thought? I mean, Khorne is probably super disappointed that they just didn't steamroll the Rats right now. He's like, did you seriously get pushed back by these tiny little rat people? And it looks like they did. And also we see the Juggernaut Lord fighting Trench. So Trench Craventail is in here. He's got his pointing stick. And he is getting some decent damage here on this Lord. But now we see a unit of Bloodletters coming in. Bloodletters will do very good at chewing through the Rat Infantry. And looking at the Skaven all across the battlefield, they do have one objective, I believe. Yeah, Khorne has one objective here. The Rats were able to get objective 1. And objective 3 is still in flux. But it looks like the Rats have come back with some skirmishers. And they didn't hear no bell whatsoever. Yeah, this is beyond the Thunderdome. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Trench is in his natural habitat here. Yeah, he's great. He's super hard to kill. And in a matchup where you don't want to get your Lord sniped like pretty heavily, I mean, Skaven really don't want to get their Lord sniped by Khorne. You know, having a little stinky rat doesn't seem terrible to me. So now we got to see who develops on the objectives. We do see Falling Stars up a little bit. There are going to be some Marauders heading in, which can contest the side point. In the meantime, a couple skirmishers are coming back in, and the Storm Vermin are holding, but their leadership is very low right now. Definitely need to finish off those Marauders before they move on to other prizes. And we do see a couple of the Rat Ogres getting some good damage here on the Herald of Khorne, but there are some Minotaurs there fighting him as well. But the Minotaurs are the anti-infantry variant, so they're not going to be super great at like killing Ogres. They'll still be effective enough, but it's not like, you know, a great open Ogre coming in and just, you know, doing a ton of damage. On this side, a bit of a blunder by Falling Star. We do see Falling Star sacrificing a Doomflayer for no reason into the Minotaurs with great weapons, mind you. So those like, I don't get this. That's like an 1,100 gold unit that could have been helping you win a number of fights on the battlefield. And honestly, against a player of Hitman Hippo's caliber, a little play like that can 100% cost you the game. So Trench Craventail here fighting tooth and nail, but I think the Rats are starting to lose grip of the game. A couple little micro mistakes here, you know, like letting your Night Runners die when they didn't need to. The Flayer giving up 1,100 value over there. Like, those two mistakes are the difference in value here. But now we see some magic coming in, and finally, that's going to be good. That does hit that Herald of Khorne. He's got crazy good spell resist. I think it's like 30-40% or something. So he's going to take that like an absolute champ. Let's go ahead and see what it is. Yeah, 35%. But yeah, that is one way the little stinky Rats can get back in the game here. Their Flayer being called out. An excellent hard counter against the Marauders of Khorne with dual weapons. Can run them over and kill them with good micro. And we do see the Herald of Khorne fleeing the scene. If the Rats can get a snipe on that Herald, that maybe would be one way that they could get back in the game here. We'll have to see. On the other side, Rats are going to be calling in Clan Rats, and a couple Slingers are going to be swarming towards Objective Trace. And Trench Craventail, he's still going in there with his poking his little pig sticker there, and he's doing a bit of work into the Minotaurs. Herald pulling back 670 HP. If he were to die, that would be a huge win for the Skaven. A colossal win. Because that would tank the leadership of the demons and the various hound units across the battlefield and be quite strong. Forsaken called in. Very, very good choice. Forsaken are going to massacre these rat infantry, but the Doomflayer pretty much counters them all. And here you see Night Runners defeating these Warhounds, and the same thing should happen here. I mean, you just charge them and you're going to win that fight. As far as the objectives go, we do see Khorne up 2 objectives right now. The value is close-ish. It's about 1,000 value in favor of Khorne, which is not good for the little stinky rat people. Minotaur's here trying to kill that Warlock Engineer, but Trench isn't going to let his homie go quietly into the good night. He's got his stick, and is he going to be able to take down some Minotaurs? Let's see. Oh, he just took that Minotaur down with his little poker there. Nice. But the Warlock Engineer can't afford to lose that bad boy. Definitely need magic to get back in this game, even though Khorne does have very good magic resist. Khorne is like probably one of the most balanced faction in the entire game, I would say. They're in a very, very good place. Solid 50% win rate, and, you know, hopefully the units they get like aren't OP in their coming update. I really, really hope, but we will find out. So Rats are kind of losing it now. Forsaken ripping up the Rats on this objective. The Herald, though, running for the hills. And Tretch and the Warlock Engineer, are they going to be able to stabilize? Yeah, you really can't afford to lose that Warlock Engineer. And it looks like it might get hunted down by the Hounds of Khorne. We got Bloodletters. We do also have Minotaurs here. Metaphorical, not the actual Hound units. Doomflayer back here sitting a little bit idle. Definitely need to get that thing engaged in the battle. Now a couple Wolf Rats. Oh, look at that. The Wolf Rats are hunting the Lord here. I love it. So the Wolf Rats, are they the armor-piercing magic variant? That's like a perfect counter against his Herald. If they would catch the Herald and don't rout, they could actually get a kill here. But the Khorne player calls out, oh yeah, dude. The Knights of the Apocalypse are here. Chaos Knights, 100% one of my favorite units in the game. And actually a very good unit in tabletop. Not Chaos Knights, but chosen Chaos Knights in tabletop are extremely good. So they're here. And yeah, they're going to be running down some units. But the Herald of Khorne, what an inglorious way to go. Oh, Relentless Rage. I love it. He keeps it alive. No, stay, keep fighting, baby. You got to get him a little bit lower. I think he's going to crumble. So Relentless Rage makes him immune to it, but I think he's going to start crumbling. Negative 26. Demonic Instability. Secret Agent Rats. Definitely a worthwhile play. So the Khorne Lord is actually dead now. He is gone. He is off the battlefield. And can the Skaven find their way back into this match? That is going to be leading to a lot of leadership issues. Oh man, it's such a bummer that this Warlock Engineer got karate chopped. For the Rats, that is. Definitely a big point to celebrate here for Hitman Hippo. But we do see the Warlock Engineer getting routed, 480 HP. He's going to be running. If that thing can stabilize and get a couple more spells off, that could be quite nice. And can the Skaven muster a comeback? We're going to find out here on today's episode. On the backside, Clan Rats certainly need to be rallied back onto the objective here. A couple of the points are pretty open. We see Khorne is defending their objective here, leaving a Marauder unit and a Bloodletter. I think for Skaven, you completely ignore this point, and you just focus on Objective 3 and defending Objective 1. And the Rats can respond pretty quickly. Flayer's getting in, doing good damage against the Forsaken, and Tretch Craventail able to win his fight here, so it looks like he did monster mash down those Minotaurs of Khorne. And more Flayers are coming. Are we seeing a little Rat comeback? I kind of feel like we might, like, yeah, I still think Khorne is favored here, but yeah, dude, the value difference is just so colossal. It's almost 2,000. But, you know, a good Cleansing Rune here from this little stinky rat could be all you need to maybe break position open. And it kind of looks like Khorne doesn't have a lot on the battlefield. Like, looking around, I guess they have some healthy Minotaur units, which are scary. And the Warlock Engineer, he's still here. He's got 8 leadership. He's hanging in there. Slingers are killing the Minotaurs as they do try and retreat. And this is, oh, man, Cleansing Rune here is going to be clutch. Let's see if B6 gets it off. That's going to be really big. Trench is heading over there. We do see Night Runners kiting the Bloodletters of Khorne right here. Come on. Cast Cleansing Rune. Come on, you need it. Cast it! Oh my god, he's not casting Cleansing Rune. What a blunder. You really, really need that here. He's moving it into combat, and it just breaks. Oh, that would have been so much damage. It is what it is. But Slinger's there, getting a little bit of damage. But now the Minotaurs with great weapons have piled in, and these Doomflayers, even though they're a very good unit, are going to get massacred, like straight up massacred. A couple Hounds being called in for Hitman Hippo, going to be chasing here. Rats maybe should have waited for their Clan Rats to arrive. You know, with the legions of Clan Rats, the Flayers and Trench maybe could have won this fight. But now they're going to be a little bit unsupported. Night Runners kiting back against the Chaos Warhounds again. Just charging them would be a pretty strong play. As far as the back objective goes, the Herald is back, but that's a big investment. You know, he's like, you know, oh, what, 1,500 gold? So he's not getting more, you know, swarming units on the battlefield, which is very important in domination mode. But the Khorne Lord has been resummoned from the warp. And the Rados, Wolf Rats, do get a decent little surround here and are providing some very cost-effective armor piercing. Now Trench is going to be getting some support from his Clan Rats. The most brave of Clan... What is Clan Rictus? Is that what it is? Yeah, I think it's Clan Rictus. The bravest Skaven in all the realms. But yeah, they pile in, and maybe the Rats will have an opportunity to get this objective back. Here on the other side, we see the Herald of Khorne thinking about grabbing objective number 1. Whereas the Rats might be able to actually bully Khorne off this point. But they're still in a position where they can win on 2 objectives. So if the Rats can magically get this objective and then just, you know, from there hold both of them for the rest of the game, you know, maybe they'll be all right. A couple Clan Rats going to be swarming towards Objective 1 to make sure that that Herald doesn't get too nasty over there on that point. And, yeah, Khorne's like, don't embarrass me again. Yeah, he definitely got embarrassed by Trench. That is 100% the case. So Rats hanging on to the point. Clan Rats are pretty good against most of these units, honestly. And that's one element, like, despite the value being favored for Khorne, like, the Skaven have good matchups on the battlefield, but will the leadership be an issue? Yeah, the Forsaken here is still a big problem. We do see Chaos Warhounds not actually using Fleshhounds of Khorne, really. Mainly, I mean, there is one Fleshhound, but it's been predominantly Chaos Warhounds. And will the Skaven leadership hold? Certainly a big problem for them. Probably going to be seeing a Wolf Rat call in from the Skaven here. And it looks like that is going to be a tap out by the Skaven player. He probably figures he can't get back on the points quick enough, but that actually ended up being a good game. Like, a couple small blunders, I think, cost the Skaven the match. Like throwing away a couple Doom players and little things like that. Like a Cleansing Rune there at the end could have cracked that game open as well, right? I think that was close enough that maybe that could have been the case. But yep, GG, well played. Hitman Hippo will advance, doing the Blood God proud. Trench Craventail, 900 value, very heavy metal. I liked the Skaven build though. You know, it was a close-ish game actually. Definitely not bad. All right, so GG, well played. Let's go find another match, and we can do this one. Ooh, let's get in there. Let me message that player. All right, we'll find him. Apostate lobby code, please. Thank you. All right, so who are they playing? I need to get this lobby code right now because that looks like a good game. Okay, so is it Yumais? Yep, it's going to be against Yumais. Okay, so we will do that. And let's message Yumais. Lobby code, please. All right, so there we have it. What was that website store that you got your chaos down? I didn't get them from, the Lost Kingdoms? Lost Kingdoms Chaos Dwarfs. I didn't get all my Chaos Dwarfs from there for tabletop, but like a large majority of them I did. Yeah. Are you going to make more bounties? Yeah, eventually I will. When we get some new fresh action, I will certainly consider it. We're definitely in like the dark ages right now a little bit, you know. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. So we got Nurgle versus the Dwarves on Itza. Ooh, this is going to be a fun matchup. All right, guys, I'm going to refill my water, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back in business, and certainly a very fun lore matchup. They have a bit of a rivalry. Nurgle dislikes the dwarves because they're very hard and hard to kind of get ridden with disease. Very sturdy, very stalwart folk. You know, they eat their apple a day, so certainly hard to spread the plague with the dwarves. So yeah, it should be fun. Doomseeker's really good in this matchup. Oh my god, we have Goblin Hewers too. Oh man, this is going to be very hyped. Yeah, Festus is very popular, but he's not even the most meta for Nurgle. The most meta choice for Nurgle is the Sorcerer Lord. But yeah, Festus is kind of a relic of the past a little bit, but he's still good. He's still very solid. 10 p.m. in Missouri. Right on, Sam. Right on. Well, good to have you here, man. And let's see how this build looks for Yumais. So the Chad Longbeard's not going to be spamming out a bunch of cheap troops. He actually has very good quality. Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, triple Longbeard, a single Quarreler, and the very meta Dragon Slayers. These guys are insanely good. They literally cost like 600 gold, and you're basically getting a Legendary Lord, which is pretty busted. It's very good. Demon Slayer here is good. He's got anti-large and magic damage, which is relevant against the forces of Nurgle. And aside from this, on the other side, we have the Brothers of Grimnir. These guys are absolute Terminators. Anything that you want to throw at them, they're going to kill it. You throw Plague Toads at them, they're going to kill them. You throw Chosen at them, well, they're going to, you know, of course, have a good fight, but the Chosen will lose that fight. Brotherhood of Grimnir are terrifying. And we have Goblin Hewers. Oh my god, I'm so excited to see how those do. So Apostate is over here on the other side, coming off a victory against Hitman Hippo. So he actually sent Khorne to the lower bracket, which is a very impressive feat. And he's going to be rocking Marauders. We do have the Noxbringer. Noxbringer is pretty solid, you know, a little bombard piece. But on this map, you got to watch out. Like a single Dwarven cannon spawning on the hill is going to shut this thing down super hard. Although it can just park up on the hill and shoot down here and maybe line of sight the cannon. We'll have to see. And we have an Exalted Hero of Nurgle, just always good and meta. And then also Festus, going to be rocking the Fleshy Abundance and the Stream of Corruption. All right, guys. It is go time. Let's get this party started. Let's have some fun. Two of my favorite factions. I do have a Nurgle army in tabletop. I do not have a Dwarf army. Granted, I do have a Dwarf starter box. So maybe someday the Dowie will grace the tabletop. And we'll go from there. All right, guys. When am I going to get a Slayer Mohawk? I don't know if I could. It's possible. It's definitely possible, but yeah, it's there. Okay, guys, so the armies of the Dowie are moving up. Grimnir smiles on the dwarves this day. And Nurgle cackles from the high ground here as we do see the Noxbringer starting to unleash some foul salvos. Look at this, this very cunning beast, cunning demon, using the pillar to block some of the shooting, potentially. But big salvo into the Longbeards there. That one hurts pretty bad, immediately doing about 20% HP damage. The Cloud of Erosion doing quite a bit of work. It does leave a damage over time effect after it shoots and even hits some of the Quarlers back there. So Dwarves definitely need a cannon. Just like a single cannon back here to shoot into the Noxbringer would be really, really good for keeping that bad boy honest. But the Dwarves are going to be, parking down on these two objectives and just weathering that fire like absolute chads. But here comes the Goblin Hewers. Oh, man. And, Nurgle's not going to be able to shut these down easily, right? You can't go back there with Festus because the Dwarf Hero Corps is going to be able to annihilate Festus. So I'm very eager to see what Umais is going to be able to do with these guys. Let's go. All right, so Goblin Hewer time. And they're going to start shooting. Definitely need to get in front of these Marauders here. So the Goblin Hewer is doing a bit of damage against the Plague Bears. Definitely not bad. And we see these Marauders getting torn to shreds by the Goblin Hewer. It's going to continue shooting as more Longbeards move. And the Goblin Hewers can kite pretty well. I mean, man, these Marauders are getting taken to Pound Town. And they're surprisingly fast. These things have, 30 speed? 40 speed. Wow, okay. So look at that. The Dwarven Artillery is kiting the forces of Nurgle after doing a ton of damage against those infantry. And the Brotherhood of Grimnir are going to be emerging from the tree line of the far side objective. We do see the Dwarves anchoring down at that one. And those Hewers doing some fat damage, as the French would say. So Goblin Hewers have set up shop. We got two of those bad boys right there. And immediately the Marauders buckle, and the Hewers are going to come back online. Definitely want to shoot at the Barons of the Bog. That would be the ideal target. And Umais, of course, being a veteran of many Dwarven battles, is going to be moving up here. So he does have his two Goblin Hewers and is going to be shooting into the Barons of the Bog. So we're going to see what kind of work gets done here. Oh, yes. Fire the Goblin Hewers. Let's see what kind of damage we get. So we see the Plague Bearers taking some damage. And have they made contact yet? Now they have. Plague Toads, maybe they're not the target. I think he's going after the Plague Bearers, actually. So that's why we're not seeing too much damage on the Battle Toads. We do get a Dragon Slayer coming in. Anti-large will be helpful against the Barons of the Bog. And on the top side, we now see the Blasting Charges coming out. But Nurgle does have some good counters. We do have the Battle Toads, which are an excellent counter against Blasting Charges. They won't take too much damage, and they will get in and just tear them to shreds. But, I mean, it'll still do a little bit of work. But overall, the Miners are going to lose that fight. So Goblin Hewers, are they hewing it up? They are, and they're able to get quite a bit of damage in. Let's look at the value on these Hewers so far. So 500 on this one, and the other Goblin Hewer here is now out of ammunition. So what you would want to do, only 400. I guess they were shooting at mainly junk units. Probably just unsummon these Hewers and try and get a refund, although they still are Slayers, so you do have anti-large Slayers. Once the Hewers use their ammunition, you just get like a mini Slayer unit, which I think is incredibly thematic and very, very fun. Dwarves are anchoring on the points well, and Nurgle, it's not often that Nurgle is faster than somebody, but they are now. And here we do see the Barons of the Bog, as well as the Plague Toads, maneuvering over to the isolated Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. Now, if anybody's going to be holding and standing and being stalwart on their own, it is going to be the Warriors of the Dragonfire Pass. And they're going to be holding fire damage, relevant if there is healing on the table, but they're just going to be retreating to the back end of the objective. Meanwhile, a Dragon Slayer is going to be coming over to help them, and maybe the other Dragon Slayer will as well. But Dwarves pressing on all fronts. We do have Chad Chaos Warriors with great weapons, and they will be able to beat Longbeards. Longbeards are, a good holding unit, and certainly can beat units that do not have a lot of armor, but if they have to fight armor and they are the sword or axe and shield variant, they're going to struggle pretty heavily. So these Chaos Warriors are going to make not quick work of them, but they will make work of them eventually. Here we have Longbeards against Plague Bearers, and now Festus is in a little bit of danger. A Demon Slayer going after Festus. He's like, well, it's not technically a demon, it's still immortal, but, it's close enough. So he's going to be hunting down Festus, which is really good. That's going to put a lot of pressure on. Curse of the Slug being used on the Dwarf, but I'm sure he'll be tenacious and continue his hunt. The Brotherhood of Grimnir going balls deep and just cutting through whatever it can engage. And on the top side, we see heavy Dwarven pressure. The Miners holding on despite being a chaff unit. The Goblin Hewer crew going to be pulling back. And here we do have another Goblin Hewer being called out, shooting into the Brothers of Nurgle, and we're going to see what kind of damage it can do. It is wearing them down, and a couple of chaff units might be able to eventually break through. Looking at the value right now, Umais is up by a little bit, but with Nurgle healing on the table, it could actually be a Nurgle-favored game. We'll have to see. A lot's going to be hinging on this fight over here. So Goblin Hewer against Nurglings. Those are the remnants of the Slayers, and here we do have the Dragon Slayer as well as the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, putting up a respectable fight, but Barons of the Bog are a really, really good anti-infantry piece, and it looks like Festus is trying to come over here to provide a heal. You can see him waddling this direction, and a couple Plague Toads heed the call of the Master, and they're going to be coming to try and pick off that Slayer Lord and maybe tie him down. The Harbinger of Pestilence is active right now, so doing very minimal Mortis Engine damage against that Demon Slayer, and the Demon Slayer is going to give up chasing Festus, and now is going to be detaching to one of the objectives. On the middle, Dwarves are holding. Looks like the Chaos Warriors are being, doing a great job of being worn down. Brotherhood of Grimnir will be able to massacre them pretty hard as well. On the high ground, the Dowie are pretty persistent. Umais is pulling up in value, as we do see the Miners moving up on the objective here. My concern for Nurgle is that if we look at the points right now, we do see Nurgle is actually down in points. And typically, Nurgle, you want to triple cap the Dwarves very quickly and then try and stuff them back. Because they value trade very, very well. But what do we have here? Is it a Goblin Hero crew? I love it. So the Artillery crew actually staying very relevant. Still basically a Slayer unit. They're going to be chasing down the Noxbringer here, keeping that very expensive demon at bay. And looking across the battlefield, I think that the Dowie are in pretty good shape. Hey, Smoking Hot Wife is in chat. You guys better listen to her. For my sake. You better like the stream. Hell yeah, let's go. Let's go. So objective 2, we got the Dowie holding firm, the mighty Chad Slayer. He is here. He has activated Glorious Death. We see the Brotherhood of Grimnir tearing through the Foul Heretics, but also being afflicted by the Mortis Engine. Festus's Harbinger of Pestilence is going to be very cost-effective here against these units. Definitely need a little bit of something to try and push them back. Brotherhood of Grimnir has activated Glorious Death, so they're not able to die, which I love. On the side objective, it looks like the Dwarves are going to win this fight. Barons of the Bog are being dragged down by these 2 units here. So we have the Dragon Slayers, the 2 very cost-effective anti-large units, methodically killing the Barons of the Bog. And it looks like the Goblin Hero crew is still nearby as well. A couple of Pestigors, solid in this matchup. Pestigors are super, super good in the Dwarf matchup. But I do think that this might be the end of the road here for the forces of Nurgle, as the Dwarves do manage to wrestle this objective here. So they do get it done and are able to tear that up. And over towards objective 2, we see the Dwarves winning that one. I think that Umais, the Dwarven king of old, has probably claimed victory this game against the forces of Nurgle. I don't see much Nurgle is going to be able to do. They're losing their big demon here. Pretty much every engagement is more or less a loss for them, or like a desperate clinging on to life. Festus is providing pretty well into the battlefield. He's done well. What's his value? About 700-800, not bad. But Brotherhood of Grimnir is going to kill all these units. Like, these Pestigors and this Plague Toad, they're going to get taken to Pound Town by those elite Doomseekers. Doomseekers are such a freaking cool unit, too, by the way. Looking here, Chaos Fury swarm it across. Warriors of Dragonfire Pass and Slayers should be able to kill them, even in their very tattered state. The Frolickers Bubonic going to be dying to these 2 Dragon Slayers eventually. It's going to take a little while, but they will eventually lose that fight. So Dwarves not only have the value lead pretty heavily, even with Nurgle healing taken into account, it's definitely Dwarf favored here. Those Hewers were super cool. The Nurgle player, I don't know, maybe some Warhounds. He probably needed some like Poison Hounds or something to mitigate and like push the Slayers and also, chase the Hewers down. I think something like that could have been pretty good. Up on the high ground, we do see Doomseekers. Doomseekers are so solid. I mean, getting magic damage, anti-infantry, and armor piercing against all the Chaos factions is just a God's Tier trait. And these Giga Chad Dwarves, they're going to be listening to, what's the name of the song? It's Can You Feel My Heart by Bring Me to the Horizon, yes. The Giga Chad song. But yeah, Nurgle starts to recapture this point, but the grind is eventually going to turn against them. The Dwarves will probably start winning so many of the fights because of these Doomseekers that it's gonna be reversed here. But I love the scrappiness from Apostate. He's trying his best. But Umais continues to secure a big value lead here as the Longbeards and the Brotherhood of Grimnir grinded out. And the Frolickers Bubonic here are eventually going to lose that as well, down to 3,500 HP. And the 2 Demon Slayers, and honestly, these Slayers should just pile in and kill them quickly if they can. But big push from Nurgle. Bile Trolls, I don't hate that, especially with Doomseekers. Doomseekers are not great against monsters. So calling in the Monstrous Infantry that are going to be debuffing the Dwarfs in this blob, I mean, look at the stat debuff. The poison, the what is it called? Like, the actual debuff. It's Corrosive Bile. Yeah, that's going to be pretty cost effective. And the Goblin Hewers are back. The dreaded Goblin Hewer meta. Look at that. Just tons of throwing axes going into the Plague Bearers. And it seems pretty effective, actually. That's not bad. Between the Blasting Charges and the Goblin Hewers, these Nurgle Infantry are having a pretty bad time here. That is for sure. So here they come. And, yeah, back to the Gardens of Nurgle you go. Dwarves certainly settling some grudges here today as Festus the Leech Lord starts to fall behind pretty heavily in this battle. Up in the high ground, the Dwarves have resecured that objective. Like I said, those Doomseekers are just too much. Even the Exalted Hero of Nurgle, he's a beast, but he's going to lose the Doomseekers. Doomseekers are definitely designed to deal with those. Lady Turn channeling Dominic Toretto. Oh my god, the Fast and the Furious series is so absurd. Driving cars in space. I remember like the first Fast and the Furious movie was pretty well grounded. It wasn't like the most grounded movie ever, but like, it's like, okay, street races, but now like, whatever, the 10th or 11th one we're on now, they're like driving cars in space and like defying the laws of physics. Yeah, yeah, this is definitely a good matchup for the Hewers. Because, like, yeah, look at that. Like, the Noxbringer tried to kill the Hewer, and the Dwarven crew just turns on him and is like, you want some of this? All right, let's go. You see the Noxbringer sitting at a very, very low amount of HP. And if the Slayers pile in, yeah, you immediately see the big HP damage going down. Negative 14. Unstable. Noxbringer is going to be crumbling. Good night, Sweet Prince. That is going to be it. And, yeah. Adios, Dovi Zanya. No, Alexander, you're actually safe. From the mirror match, because Yumais has to he has to go after this match, so he's going to be sending Nurgle to the bottom bracket, but Yumais has to drop after this. Unfortunately, he had something come up IRL. He messaged me, so you don't have to play a dwarf mirror match, and nor do you guys. You guys just get a glorious Dowie victory, and then he's going to walk into the sunset with explosions behind him and all that sort of good stuff. So yeah, GG, well played. I mean, Apostate so far behind, almost 5,000 value deficit now. Going to be dropping a Stream of Corruption, very good spell against dwarves. With the Brotherhood of Grimnir, 1,700 value on those guys, and the other Doomseekers up on the high ground. Like I said, made very quick work of that Exalted Hero. Just such cool units, such cool units. Only 600 value, but they still have a lot more life, and a lot to give here. A couple Plague Bearers being called in, as well as Battletoads. The Battletoads going to be ready to party, and now the Ancestral Grudge, as the Demon Slayer tries to hunt Festus. He's a lot faster, actually, but the Bile Trolls are going to be knocking him back for now. Yeah, Bile Trolls get in, and Demon Slayer puts the juke on him. He just dodged those bad boys and does manage to make contact, but he's getting a little bit low. 1,300 value here, and as far as the middle objective goes, Nurgle does own it. Looks like they are able to get some infantry back. High ground, there's no way they're going to be able to get these other two objectives, although Nurgling's going for it, but Yumais is able to respond here. And yeah, the Miners and Nurglings would actually probably win that fight. The ROR Nurgling would. Pestigore Vanguard, very good call, but more and more chaff units coming out. And the very speedy dwarf units, it is going to be the Dragon Slayers. They're going to move over and should be able to shut these bad boys down pretty effectively here. So here they come. Frolickers Bubonic, a great unit, very good, very, very good. The fact that they regenerate and are very good combat stats by Nurgling standards. And Vanguard deployment, what's not to love, right? Yeah, 1,400. Nurgle just doesn't know it's over yet. But Nurgle is not going to be eliminated from the tournament. They're going to be sent to the bottom bracket, and they will have a chance to claw their way back and, go back to the drawing board. But I believe our other dwarf player, Alexander, has gotten to top 4 based on the outcome of this matchup, which is going to be cool. Oh, I know. Oh, Anna, did you hear us earlier? We were all talking about how awesome the Van Helsing movie is with Hugh Jackman. We should watch that. We should just put that on. Yeah, we should just get that party started for sure. Plague Toads of... Oh, and what was the other one that we watched? That's basically... I always used to get it confused with the Van Helsing movie. It's the... oh, God, what is it? Oh, it's so similar. It's so similar. Oh. Someone please help me. It's like... Okay, it's about a... Like, he's a pirate who, like, sees the light. And like, he's... And then he eventually becomes like a... He's like... Oh, God... Something Kane. Solomon Kane. God, I was going to go crazy if I couldn't remember that. But that movie was fun as hell, too. I loved it. I loved it. It was great. All right. So, yeah, good attempts by Nurgle. I think a couple of inefficiencies. I think you cut the Noxbringer and you cut Plague Bearers. I think from there, you just get Marauders, you get Pestigores, Chaos Warriors, those type of things. Aside from that, the rest of the build was pretty good. But, yeah, I think his opening build was a little bit inefficient. And also, you need some Poison Hounds. Poison Hounds are really good. They're very slippery. Solomon Kane. Waterworld, the movie, the original Waterworld. Apparently that was like a big flop too. It's a fun movie though. Very Mad Max in the water, basically. Oh, I should have checked. The Hewers didn't get a lot of value. You guys didn't miss out on too much, so don't sweat it. Okay, so refreshing here. No, Solomon Kane in the movie, he starts off as like a pirate. I'm talking about the movie. I don't know if it's different in the books. So Alexander defeated Outer Region with... so Outer Region's Tomb Kings were defeated. Usually dwarves do pretty well there. And Yumais will advance. So let me report them. No, you report win, and I drop you. He can play on bottom bracket. Cheers and... All right, awesome. So do we have another lobby to get into? Let's see. Alexander's going to be top 4, so we basically just have to cast the bottom side of the bracket now. So you two start yet? And then we have Hitman Hippo playing. Hitman Hippo versus Outer Region would be a sweet match. Or Mr. Hill. Mr. Hill, I don't know what he's playing. Okay. Perfect. Lobby code, please. So we're trying to get a scrambled egg special match here. He's on the bottom side. The coast has been coming and doing its thing. Let's do it. Conan, what is best in life? Hell yeah, dude. Anna and I are trying to figure out Halloween costumes. I'm thinking of being a leprechaun. My Irish ancestors. Okay, so let me do this. Got to do some adminning here. All right. And then we need to drop Umai's here. We almost had a dwarf mirror, but we did dodge it. So that was a win for all of us. Yeah. Turn, if you haven't seen it, I think you'd enjoy. Oh, Priest. Oh, I've seen. Of course, I've seen Priest. That movie is super fun. I love those like early mid 2000s like there was another vampire movie with Ethan Hawke. I forget what it was called, but that one was really fun. Yeah. So there's some goodies. Yeah, there's some goodies for sure. Yeah, you did great with the Hewers. You made them look great, you guys. It was awesome. I love seeing you play, dude. You did great. Solid stuff. You did the Dowie proud. All right, so just waiting on the lobby invite here. And let's see if I can get into either of these. Aha, I've guessed the password. Is this it? Let's see what we got here. All right. Ooh, High Elves. Okay. So High Elves versus Vampire Coast. This is going to be a fun matchup. Turn become wolf. You guys want me to be a skin wolf for Halloween? I'll be a skin wolf. Get like a really haggard werewolf costume and just like, you know, tape some condom wrappers to my costume. The skin wolf. Oh, training day with Ethan Hawke looks identical to Turin. Yeah, I've actually been told many times I look like Ethan Hawke. You know, I've heard that. Ethan Hawke is the one I've gotten the most, and followed by Rick Astley. I've gotten one. Somebody told me I look like the Never Gonna Give You Up guy, which I don't agree with, but yeah, I mean, hey, I'll take it. Rick Astley rules. Just channel your inner Chernabog. Yeah. It is a really good Dowie map. It is. I agree. It is. Jensen Ackles, yeah. Becoming a furry. Oh man, yeah, that's pretty funny, Bubba. I remember the first time I saw furries in person. That was a trippy one. We were at so I used to work as an athletic director before I did YouTube. So I ran sporting competitions, and so I was running an event. It was a basketball tournament. So I was running a basketball tournament, and I stepped outside of my venue to just get some fresh air and take a break. And right next to me, there was like a hotel that had been rented out for a furry convention. And at the time, I didn't really know the culture behind it. So it was certainly perplexing, but yeah, that was the first time I saw him. It's some wild shit, man. It's wild. Yeah. It's absolutely wild. Yeah, the good times are going. Absolutely. Skin wolf, their skin. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, Anna and I will figure out something cool. We'll keep you guys posted. We'll keep you posted. Just be a shirtless Slayer. I could be like a retired Slayer, which isn't a real thing, but just like a pot belly. I got that going for sure, but hopefully I can lose some weight by Halloween. We'll have to see. Vampire Coast versus High Elves. Is he going to go double crab again? Double Crabo Stabo in this matchup. Not the worst thing in the world. You know, High Elf missiles, they do lack AP. Sisters of Avalorn are one of the few ones that can take them down with bolt throwers. But yeah, High Elves are a cool faction. They're definitely dynamic. They can do a lot of stuff. They have good cav, pretty decent infantry, good shooting, good monsters, like a well-rounded faction. Not easy to play, but you know, they have low HP. That's something you notice on Elves. Like their infantry and their units in general have pretty low HP pools. So despite having a good stat line and good armor, they do fold up kind of quick in bad situations. Still waiting for a Skin Wolf Condom brand. I mean, I guess we could start that, but I don't know how lucrative that would be. Skin Wolf. Oh my god. I don't know. You know what? Can we actually be successful with that? Like starting our own condom brand called Skin Wolf? Just like the shittiest like wolf on the front, you know, just like roaring. Like straight up the like gas station boner pills level, right? I don't know. Like, how do you even get into that? I guess. Oh, that would be so funny. How was that Halloween Old World event? I didn't end up going. I had some, yeah, I wanted to relax that weekend and tidy up the house before Anna got back. So I will be going to one in November, though, is when the next tabletop tournament will be. Yeah, I think, Anna, that's our next business play. We should, you know, forget YouTube and all and your awesome t-shirt stuff you're working on. We gotta just do the Condom Wolf brand. Yeah. For your pleasure. No, they don't own the. Do they own the Skin Wolf, like that word? I doubt it. Like if I search that, okay, the first thing that comes up is Warhammer Fantasy. Actually, let's see. Oh no, but there's also a Star Wars. In Star Wars, there's something called Skin Wolves too. It says we're a name given to a set of wolves that lived on the planet while helping General. Okay, so they're from Star Wars too. But definitely, yeah. It'd be a little tricky. 100% to prevent all chaos mutations. Yeah, it prevents chaos mutations. I love it. Oh, that's so good. Look at us. This is like a business. It's like a business stream now. Forget all the tactics and commentary. The lawsuit fees, no. You're actually way worse fighting Disney than CA. Oh, for sure, yeah. Well, it wouldn't be CA. It would be Games Workshop, yeah. All right, guys. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, in one of our bottom bracket matches, but an important one. We're going to be seeing who will advance on from this. It is going to be the High Elves, led by Turin. Turin with the front line of Spearmen. Solid unit. They beat zombies. They hold. They can poke the monsters. You know, not bad at all, right? Aside from that, we do have basic archers. Archers, Lothern Seaguard as well. A couple units of Reavers and Lyrian Reavers to grab the point. And the Lord is going to be Peckless. Now, my only concern for this High Elf build is there's no Sisters of Avalor, no Bolt Throwers, no Phoenixes, no Dragons. There's nothing that can effectively kill a Rotting Leviathan quickly. Yeah, Skinwalker. Yeah, Anna brings up a great point. We could just do Skinwalker. Like, it's not quite as good, but it's... That would be really funny. Oh my god. Yeah. That's some great stuff. All right, guys. I got to focus on this game. Sorry, I'm getting out of control here. So for the zombie army here, it's going to be frontline Deccan mobs. Makes sense. It's pretty much all they have. Bombers in the secondary, of course, good against rangers and spearmen, but hard countered by archers. So the rock, paper, scissors of this formula for Scrambled Egg Special is he needs to use the Leviathans to kill the archers, and then when they're taken care of, the bombers can come in and clean up the High Elf infantry. So we'll have to see. Taking a look at Techless, Flock of Doom and Nets. Flock of Doom is very good against Ghost, and we do have a lot of gunnery mobs. Just basic pistol variant, and it is going to be a Vampire Pistol Lord with Winds of Death and Invocation, actually. Okay. Winds of Death, if the High Elves aren't paying attention, could be absolutely devastating. Absolutely devastating. Yeah. So we'll see what unfolds here. We will see what unfolds. So moving on up, we do see objective number 2 here. Is going to be owned by the High Elves 3, and it is going to be a triple cap. So Scrambled Egg Special playing a very, very dangerous game. Because Vampire Coast is a faction that is not super good at getting objectives back. They're actually rather mediocre at it. So he's just probably trying to build up in hopes that he's going to be able to just bully down this High Elf army super, super hard. So the Spearmen are going to be forming ranks. And, you know, every time I start to, like, think, you know, like, I was watching... what was it? All the Lord of the Rings, like remember in the first Lord of the Rings movie, the battle at the end of the Second Age when the elves march on Mount Doom? Like, I'm always like, oh, you know, High Elves, I don't really like him that much. And then I watched that scene where the elves have that, like, awesome formation and, like, just the rank, like, the spears and the bows. And I'm like, oh, it's so cool. Definitely gets you back on that train. But now the Vampire Coast is going to be advancing, but already going to be, you know, pretty heavily down on points before they're able to close the distance. But, you know, heavy chance that the Leviathans might be able to just penetrate into the secondary. And the Winds of Death, see how we kind of staggered his front line? That's good. They definitely don't all want to be in one position. And we do see flanks coming in, so it's going to be a couple Reavers trying to get into the secondary battle line. But the Elven Archers are tearing these bad boys apart. Big damage into the zombie Deccan mobs here, as they do eat some arrows right in their old faces. And now we get the Fireborn coming out from Turin. A great call. Fireborn are incredibly solid. Anti-large, you know, armor-piercing fire damage. If they can isolate a Leviathan in an open field, they can definitely kill it. But the archers, have they done enough damage? This is where the positioning of Turin is a little bit precarious. His bows are very close to his front line, which means they can be compromised quickly. Potion of Croy being activated. What the hell did all that damage? Oh my god, I must have missed something. It must have been some of the gun mobs who are shooting at Techless. But now the bows, they have melted a couple zombie units. But at this point, you need to pull back. Winds of Death's going to be coming down. Oh god. Oh, Anakin, I'm too weak. Oh my god. Holy shit. Oh my god. I've never seen it quite like that. There's not a single model left alive. Oh my god. Have you guys ever seen a Winds of Death like that? Dude, it just KO'd them. That's literally just 800 gold gone. Oh man. I've never seen that before. Like, I've seen Winds of Death like obliterate a unit, but never delete their source code. Oh my god. Have you guys ever seen that before? That was savage. Oh my god, Nagash cackling somewhere. Dude, I've never seen that. How is that even possible? Like, I thought it would kill like 70 or 80% of them, but not like to the last man. Oh my god. Yeah, we'll censor that in the edit, I know. That's some X-rated action right there. Alright guys, well, 2 archers are down for the count, and the Fireborn have gotten into the secondary line, so the Elven Cavalry going to be ripping apart the gunnery mobs. We do also see Reavers coming in from the other side as well, so that's certainly a lesson to not line up your units, and always check on what your opponent's doing. And we're going to see if it's going to be enough for Scrambled Egg Special to actually run away with this game. I mean, that was very, very nice, but I've never seen that. Now, keep in mind, that ability costs like 28 Winds of Magic to overcast, I'm pretty sure, because baseline Winds of Death is 15, or is it 22? It's a very high amount. Yeah, very, very high amount indeed. So Fireborn's still hanging in there, 52 models. We do see Narnia Alliance coming in, and the Elves are trading very well in many aspects of the battle. High ground objective, though, is owned by the High Elves, but not for long. We do see 2 Scurvy Dogs coming in, so Scrambled Egg Special going to be using his mobility. High Elves definitely don't want to relinquish this objective. You want to be pressing and trying to beat coastline objectives here. So for Turin, you call out some Silverhelms or some Reavers, or some baseline Spearmen, whatever. You need to defend that objective. You can't afford to be giving any objectives to Vampire Coast here. On the side, the Elves have won this side, whereas Coast is kind of dominated in the middle a little bit. Their crabs are stabbing pretty hard. We see the Spearmen fleeing the scene. They're terrified. Zombies fighting underneath the giant crab, certainly quite cost-effective. Lothern Seaguard caught up in combat. Reaver Archers trying to assist wherever they can. And the other Leviathan is going to be on its way back to the middle to try and anchor that one down. But, guys, what a dangerous game being played. We do see the 2 doggos coming for the high ground objective. If Scrambled Egg Special is able to get this back for free, that's going to be a huge win for him. Turin should not let this happen. High Elves do have the mobility that they need to stop this. That is a Silverhelm too, so the Silverhelms can definitely chase those dogs off. And if he doesn't do that, that's a huge blunder. Because he's so far ahead on points, you really want to keep that pressure on your opponent. But we'll see if he blunders it. Looks like he is going to be blundering it. He is going to be giving up the high ground objective. He does inevitably send some Spearmen over there, some Silverins, but Silverin only have 5 cap weight, and 2 dogs have, if you combine them, have 8 capture weight, so they're going to be able to troll those Silverins and just keep them from capturing that objective. That's why some of the mobility needed to come over there. But it looks like Turin is going to be opting to value trade instead. He rear charges into the deckhand mobs, and only now, I think, does he realize what's going on up here, and the Silverhelms are going to be heading that direction. So still a lot of spheres on the battlefield, fair amount of archers. We do see the Fireborn hanging out. I'm surprised Teclis didn't bring regrowth as well for the Fireborn. I feel like that's meta, and that's really, really strong. But those Leviathans, those double Krabos, are going to be very, very hard to steal with. That is for damn sure. Although they do move into spears. One of them does get netted down, and the Fire Chads are trying to move in, but it's going to be hard to make a lot of contact, although the Crab does attack animation into the enemy army. But now the elite of the Vampire Coast are going to be on their way out. It is going to be the Depth Guard. So Depth Guard will be pretty good against the Fireborn. Should be able to kill a couple of models here. We'll have to see. Yep, see Fireborn are losing models, being dragged down, and they should probably retreat at this point. You know, the correct play, if you're the High Elf player here, is not to engage against this blob. It's to use your superior mobility to contest the 2 side objectives, and then when the crabs waddle between the other points, you use your mobility to steal that. We saw Scrambled Egg lose earlier in that exact same manner to Outer Region, but at this point, the Bomber Mob's pretty good. Yeah, he brings in double not Saltlord Scuttler, but yeah, I think one of them might be. No, just Bomber Mobs, and they clear those archers out. Now it looks like another archer here is going to get absolutely wrecked. We're going to be seeing these archers get taken to Pound Town, and here comes the Bomber Salvos. Are they going to launch it? Oh, yeah, let's go. Such a cool unit. I really would love for Vampire Coast to be added to the tabletop game. That would be fun. And now Scrambled Egg Special is turning up the pressure. We see a lot of zombies coming out from every direction. The Elves do manage to get the high ground, and it is going to be a Helm's Deep situation. If the Elves want to, they can hunker down on one objective, but I don't think that's smart because the army here, yeah, it will be eventually, but it's not smart at this point because Vampire Coast has a really good bunker busting build where 2 crabs could basically knock any combination of Elven units off an objective. Unless we saw like Phoenix Guard or something. Like you would need some elite elf infantry, which I suspect he didn't bring in his build. So Silverin are on their way up. Teclis is going to be cackling in the shadows. Bomber Mob circling around the battlefield looking for whatever they can. And now Fireborn going to be going for some freebies here. This is the right choice. Just use Fireborn to farm these crap house units. where they can just kill them all day and just get not a lot of value, but stop the momentum of the zombie onslaught. So it is a double cap again. And to the backside, it's going to be some Lothern Sea Guard coming in, and I would imagine they're going to be wanting to reinforce Objective 3. Fire Chad's getting a beautiful rear charge right into the back of the zombies, and even though they are anti-large, they're still excellent against infantry. They're still a Dragon Prince, which is at its core an anti-infantry unit, and more of a generalist, but I think they're pretty good against troops. And the zombies are crumbling, so that's going to lead to very rapid disintegration. High ground secured with Silver and Guard. 1,000 points for the High Elves here in this game, and could we see Scrambled Egg Special defeated by his inability to contest the battlefield? Perhaps so. A beautiful bomber salvo there, nasty. We see the Lothern Sea Guard losing like half their HP, and another volley is going to be coming in, sending those guys off to the Shadow Realm. There they go. Are they going to break? Elves have really good leadership, very stalwart folk, and they're going to be continuing to rip shots where they can. Meanwhile, in the middle, the Depth Guard and the big old Crabos are getting her done, in the words of Larry the Cable Guy. So on the high ground objective, Silver and Guard holding on to it. Low ground on the far side, the north side of the battlefield, I suppose, if you look at the map in that way, is pretty secure. The Elves do have some Spearman units, and the Chadborn are tearing apart a lot of units, killing a Scurvy Dog unit. The value on these Fireborn, probably about 1,200, I would guess. Looking at it, oh wow, only 700. They haven't gotten as much done as you would think. But Promethean mobs, they'll be good against them if they can, maintain and maybe flank charge them. But yeah, Fireborn going to be retreating back now. A lot of zombies on the way over. High Elves are closing in on 1,200 points here. And now you need to figure out, as Scrambled Egg Special, how am I going to be getting all 3 points here? Because it ain't going to be easy. Elves are not going to give it up. And looking here, we do see 8,800 value for Scrambled Egg Special, 5.4 for Torsen. So Torsen pretty considerably behind in value, and also the High Elves do not have healing in their build. So this is a pretty accurate reflection of the state of the battle. Granted, there's some crumbling value that we're not really seeing here for Torsen. When Undead crumble, it doesn't get reflected in the gold damage value. Another Winds of Death coming in. That one didn't just straight KO the unit, but it does kill that Spearman unit. Wow, what a clutch Winds of Death, breaking open that position, which otherwise would have taken a good minute or two to get through here. So yeah, this is 100% Helm's Deep time for the Elves. There comes a time for it, and now is the time. The Elves are going to want to start swarming Objective 1 with as many units as they possibly can, like get Rangers and Stalwart units. And Scrambled Egg Special is such a seasoned player that he already starts planning for the triple cap, right? He knows. Although it is kind of late in the game, so I suppose it's not too surprising. But a lot of zombies are going to be hustling there, and the Elves need to just start, shutting that down and just hunkering down to that point, because they are going to be losing pretty much all the objectives here. There's no way they're going to get the middle. The Crabs are able to anchor that down with the Depth Guard. We do see some Silver and Guard on their way over, and a couple of Illyrian Reavers moving up. And are these basic archers? Yeah, basic archers heading towards Objective 1. Peckless, not Peckless, but Techless, overseeing the center battle. But yeah, Vampire Coast annihilating here on this side. Brutal stuff. They're able to push back. That Winds of Death kind of breaking open the gap there. A couple archers here. Definitely pull these cav up here and have them go help secure objective number 1 here. Because, guys, I mean, he's getting very, very close to winning. Vampire Coast could easily lose this game. I think if the Elves play perfectly here and maneuver their cavalry and, use those cav to block off the zombie advance, pull those fast cav, down under here and block these guys while reinforcing your own objective, with Reavers and whatever you can, it's definitely possible. That's a really good net by Torsen. Beautiful. That net buys him 15 seconds, which in a close game like this could make all the difference. So he drops a double net on the Rotting Leviathans, which also gets the Depth Guard unit. Talk about MLG. That was really good. And on this side, is Vampire Coast going to be pulling its assets to the middle? Maybe so. It is Helm's Deep in time, guys. Another Spearman unit is on the way, and we do see the bats up in the sky pretty close to crumbling down. More Spearmen are cruising, and the 2 Crabs are on their way over. He has got not much time at all. He's got 130 seconds, so about just over 2 minutes to get this objective here. A couple of Spearmen going to be rushing forward to try and get on top of the zombies as the archers move forward. Techless going to be riding with his cane. He might be a little bit feeble in combat, but he's going to try his best. Sword of Techless maybe gets it done, and he does engage against the deck droppers accidentally. They bump into him. Zombies almost there. Scrambled Egg is very good at maneuvering, too. He's going to go around this, so the Spearman unit is eventually going to want to pull back to the objective, probably. We got Spearman, and the Storm Riders, this is a clutch unit right now. This is the ROR Lothern Sea Guard unit that can fire and move, so very effective at moving up onto the point. But he doesn't want to stop and shoot. That's a big mistake. Move up onto the point. Everything needs to get up on this point right now, guys. All right, so we got 90 seconds left. We've got a minute and a half until the Elves win. But is he going to be able to stop all these Leviathans? That is going to be so incredibly difficult. So incredibly difficult. The Elves not really playing any other points on the battlefield, which is smart. At this point, you're all in here. We see Reaver Cav Archers coming out, which is basically just capture weight. Spearmen pulling back to the point. Gunnery mobs on the way up. A lot of zombies. This is 15 capture weight, plus the Leviathans are 3 each. The Lord is 3. The Vampire Coast is going to have a lot of capture weight here, as I think that just barely he's going to have enough time to get this, because he's going to tear out these archers off, which is going to be a big capture weight hit. Spearmen here are going to probably be killed by the Death Guard of the Crab relatively quickly. And, man, I don't know. It's getting tight. Okay, that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a Winds of Death, but he dodges it. He learned his lesson earlier, and it ends up killing a lot of zombies. That's actually very clutch. That might crumble that zombie down. And we see 40 seconds left to get this objective back. The High Elves are holding on. Reaver Cavern nearby. Archers have moved up. The Storm Riders at the epic last stand, defending a relic on this hill, I would imagine, trying to keep it out of the clutches of the Vampire Coast is my headcanon for this battle. But the capture weight does come into the favor here for Scrambled Egg Special. Super tight. Scurvy Dogs coming from the other side as well. Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mob's going to be arriving. Morngul's, oh man, it is so incredibly close. Will the High Elves be able to hold for another 15 seconds? The capture weight heavily favors Coast at this point. They've gotten so many troopers here, and it looks like Scrambled Egg Special is barely going to get it. With 7 seconds left, he gets that victory point. And now, can the Elves muster any play anywhere else in the battlefield? Because if the Elves literally just capture any other objective, they're going to win the game. And he does have Spearmen moving to the middle, but I think Coast is going to be able to match his maneuverability here. And man, he played it so tight there. And it looks like Scrambled Egg Special barely gets it done. Another Chad Winds of Death. Oh, God. Oh, Anakin, I'm too weak. Oh, he gets nice value there, but not as good as the overcasted one we saw a little bit earlier. So Lyrian Reavers heading to the middle, but I think Scrambled Egg Special is prepared for this. He's got his own mobility out here. The Scurvy Dogs and all those other assets going to be moving over. Meanwhile, the High Elves still fighting up for this high ground point, but with the Death Guard and the Crabs here, I think it's going to be a little bit too hard. He does have time to fight back, though. A couple Spearmen here maybe could move back in. Yeah, you can see a couple idle units could have maybe been putting some pressure on this objective and buttering it up. Spearmen do arrive at the point, but I think Vampire Coast has got this one in the bag. Man, what a close game for Torsen. I mean, that was so close. Scrambled Egg Call an ambulance, but not for me. Yeah, that is for sure an apt analogy for this game. But the High Elves should definitely keep fighting. I mean, if there's a slip up somewhere, he's able to get an objective back, you know, he just wins. Like, there won't be enough time to recapture it. We see the Narnia lines being called in. A decent anti-infantry clearing tool. You know, I believe they have 3 or 4 capture weight. I can't quite remember. Spearmen battling rotting Leviathans. No Sisters of Avalorn here in this game. And the Crabs have gotten pretty good value this game. Let's go ahead and see. He's got 2 chevrons on him, so... yeah, 1,700 ain't bad at all. This other rotting Leviathan, really tanky. 1,600 on this bad boy. Elves getting a little bit of shooting. He definitely needs to get these Spearmen back and these Spearmen back. You know, maybe could have grinded that point down a little bit. But yeah, this is GG. There's no way now. He just doesn't have enough. Although this timing is good. The double Reaver surprise gap on the far side, that's not a bad idea. They're going to be collapsing in, maybe killing these zombies, but we do see the big Crabos on their way over. And yeah, I think the Deck Dropper Bombers will be able to stop that. We see the 2 Deck Droppers coming this way. So with their bombardments, I think that the Reavers are going to be paying the troll toll. Poor High Elf Vampire's tormenting with that score. I know. It's so painfully close for him, you know. That's so rough. Couple Scurvy Dogs going to clean in. Diving into the back of the Spearmen. Spearmen attacked in their flank. They do not like that at all. So the Doggos going to rout them. And you see them getting feasted on by the Hounds of the Night. Capture weight here, heavily favored for Vampire Coast. Bomber mobs on the way over, going to annihilate these Illyrian Reavers. And overall, I just think that was his kind of last try right there. Man, Torsen is going to be eliminated from the tournament, but he certainly belongs in the halls of Valhalla. He did great. He went out on his shield and certainly died on the field of battle there. No cowardly old age death there. GG, well played. All right, that was a lot of fun. That was some great stuff. That was a good game. All right, taking a look at the builds, pretty solid. You know, I think that Torsen, if he played a little cleaner, contesting and not like you remember when he lost that side objective earlier when I was kind of harping on that in the beginning? If he had not lost that, he would have won the game. It's little things like that that make all the difference, right? But he played super well aside from that. Scrambled Egg is a top tier player, so yeah, great stuff there. And the Leviathans were clutch. They're very hard to kill, very difficult to kill. GG, well played. All right. Let's see what matchup we got going next. So we are going to jump out. And we're going to go ahead and take a look here. Refresh this. And do it. Okay, so Alexander is in the Grand Finals. So we have Dwarves in the Grand Finals. Outer Region versus Hitman Hippo is playing right now. That's got to be Sweatimus Maximus there. Let me see if they've started here. Outer Region. And then on the bottom we have, it's going to be Scrambled Egg versus Prostate. So he was playing what? Postate was playing. He played a couple games ago. Nurgle. Oh, Nurgle versus Coast could be fun, actually. I'd be down to watch that. Lobby code for next game, please. All right. That could be fun. Full chop Winds of Death. That Winds of Death was insane. Legitimate. Torsen, this is your first Dom tournament, dude? Damn. What a Chad. This is your first tournament. You come in and you almost beat a top tier player, man. That is a very solid achievement. I mean, Scrambled Egg has been top 16 in the world pretty much every, like, the past 5 or 6 seasons. Like, he is really good. Did you play some land battle before? You must come from some, or did you just play a lot of ladder? Because you did really good. Seriously, that was an impressive performance. All right. So there's a lobby here, and let's find this one. Cool. I think this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so this is going to be Nurgle versus Vampire Coast. A lot of coast action today. They're going to be on one of our new maps, which is the Lustrian Narrows. Very, very cool map. I might just take that clip and upload it as a short, because that was insane. Yeah. I played a lot of land battle and conquest. Got it. Yeah. No, that's great performance. How do you like it so far? Have you enjoyed playing domination? It's definitely a big change. Like, the objective play is takes some getting used to. I'm guessing you play with Inhuman Boys leagues and his various tournaments. Or we do have some run in our Discord, but mainly it's Dom in our Discord. Vampire Coast to Coast. Yeah, all day, every day, man. You guys remember Space Ghost Coast to Coast? God, I love that show. It was so good. That show was just pure magic. Oh, man. That, like, 1990s cartoons on Saturdays. 90s was peak living, man. 90s and early 2000s. I mean, I feel like... Do we have anyone who was born after 2000 here? That like, feels as if, like, 2010 was the peak? Or do you look back at, like, 90s and, like, you know, the nostalgia of the 90s and 80s? I'm curious about that. Because obviously people have their own biases, right? Like, people born in, you know, are going to be like, oh, the 50s were the greatest, you know, like the good old times, whatever, right? In reality, it was awful for tons of people. But I'm curious how, like, you know, what would it be, Gen Z, I guess? Yeah. Like, how they feel about their time, you know? Yeah. Yeah, fun times. It's definitely a lot more hectic, and yeah, mainly nice. Yeah, domination's hectic. There's you gotta focus on not just value trading, but also objectives, which is tricky. I was born in 2004. You don't think anything at all? What? Value is at yeah. Oh, yeah. They got a lot of value, but you did summon them a couple times, and it was funny because your hewers, when they ran out of ammunition, only had like 500 value. I think it was the Slayers killing the Noxbringer is where you got your value on those guys. Yeah. 90s was objectively the peak of human civilization. That was when the Attitude Era was around. WWF, before the World Wildlife Federation shut them down and made them change their name. Yeah. Oh, man. Attitude Era wrestling was so fun. Oh, it was so wild. It was like the forbidden fruit because it was like ultra violent, you know. And you know, it was wild. Yeah, early 2000s. Yeah, Toonami. Yeah, I see that. I'm 1997, and I have a lot of nostalgia for my childhood. Okay, yeah. So I think it's just every generation just feels that way. Like, yeah, you know, my childhood time was the best, right? Yeah. But my grandma made sure my favorite movies were Spaceballs and Austin Powers. Yeah, some great movies. Oh my God, Matrix was so good. I remember when that came out. That was so ahead of its time. And the soundtrack for The Matrix was so good. Oh my God. The music they would play during the chase scenes, that like techno music. Oh, it was just God tier. Born 93. 90s was peak pop culture, but 80s had better music. Yeah, you think so though? I mean, I feel like 80s music is like fun, but like I feel like 90s music just knocks it out of the park, right? 80s is great though. I mean, there is a lot of 80s music. I love Tears for Fears and Duran Duran. Van Halen. Oh yeah, hell yeah, I love Van Halen. What else? I mean, 80s that has a lot of like catchy one-hit wonders in the 80s for sure. 90s though, I mean, you get like Nirvana, you get Soundgarden, like all this grunge. The grunge era was so fun. 90s did have a lot of terrible music too though. I was talking to someone the other day. I can't recall quite who it was, but they were saying the 70s had like, even though 70s had some like big, you know, solid popular hits, but in general, there was a lot of terrible music then. Predator, Rambo, Van Damme music, yeah. 90s has better TV. Yeah, well, yeah. Khorne, I love me some Khorne, dude. Yeah, I love cringe new metal. Sign me up. 90s music is depressing. Yeah, I love depressing music though. That's like 9 Inch Nails is probably my favorite band of all time. So if I had to choose one at this point in my life, so I love depressing and sad music. It's just my jam. So not like sad 90s grunge music, like Fell on Black Days. If you want to hear some great sad music from the 90s, go listen to Fell on Black Days by Soundgarden. That's like just all time like top 4 favorite songs for me. It's so good. A lot of sad guy music, yeah. All right, guys. Lustrian Narrows, Nurgle versus Vampire Coast. Let's get crunk. Let's have some fun. And let's see what these zombie pirates can muster here today on the field of battle. So on the other side, Nurgle army's hiding in the trees. So it's a little bit hard to read them, but Plague Bearers are an interesting choice. Typically, you bring shielded infantry, but Plague Bearers do trade well into zombies, but I don't know. I find they down trade into Depth Guard pretty hard, but I don't know. We'll have to see. A lot of HP, if they can, you know, get in and not be shot to pieces, they'll be solid. But I always feel like the Marauder with shields and the Chaos Warrior with shields are very cost effective here. Although, yeah, they're slow. If you just get them up on the objectives initially, it does take some time to remove them. It depends on how heavy of a shooting build Coast brings. Do you see the Noxbringer? You know, solid little bombardment piece. And also a good AP fighter that can fight against like a Promethean, like a big crab, right? Sorcerer of Nurgle, going to be using Fleshy Abundance and Stream of Corruption. And it is going to be some Plague Bearers on the outside. So very Plague Bearer heavy build. Exalted Heroes are super good here. I personally think they're better on horseback because of their ability to hunt the characters and monsters. But on foot, it's not the end of the world either. You're going to be just fine. Now, looking at the forces of old Vampire Coast. Scrambled Egg Special, the Lord of the Seven Seas. He is going to be rocking, well, I guess how many, 7 seas, it depends. You know, Warhammer, I guess there's I don't know how many seas there are in that universe. But he does have Scrambled Egg Infantry. Yes, the Scrambled Zombie Mobs. So he's got a whole bunch of them, which is pretty standard. Pistol Mobs in the secondary. Super good against Nurgle. You don't really need the handguns. Nurgle does have a fair amount of light armor for you to shoot. Handgunners at the back, though, just in case there's armor. Polearms, and it is going to be a Deep Caster. So Tide Call to clear out chaff, and then the Kraken's Pull to kill good quality infantry. I don't hate it. Yeah, so big gun line for Vampire Coast. Super wide gun line, actually. Could be hard for old Nurgle. We're going to have to see. What about Pantera? Pantera, I like a couple songs, but me, I was always more of a Metallica guy. I love Metallica. I don't dislike Pantera, but I prefer Metallica. Like there's some Metallica albums I can just listen to all the way through. Like Ride the Lightning, Injustice for All, Black Album. Even their haggard 90s albums were kind of fun. Like Load and Reload weren't like the great albums, but they had some nice songs. But like those first 3 albums I mentioned by Metallica, dude, just, so good. Just blast those. Blast those. They're great. All right, guys. And so moves forth the Shambling Dead to meet the hordes of Nurgle. I guess Nurgle's sort of alive. You know, Nurgle is, kind of the god of life and death, the cycle of life and death. Entropy and rebirth is his whole thing anyway, so kind of like an evil version of that, right? And we do see Marauder Horsemen being called out. Very good choice. You want to get those objectives because Coast is turbo slow, right? And this map is very, very big. And do I like Avenged Sevenfold? In high school, I enjoyed them quite a bit, but honestly, I could only say like 1 or 2 songs of theirs that I enjoy. I don't know any of their albums except Backcountry, which I enjoyed in high school. So yeah, Slipknot. Yeah, I like Slipknot's like sad, heavy ballad songs, but I don't know too much of their stuff either. But I've listened to them a bit. Yeah, they're fun. Soundgarden's better than Nirvana. I would say. Like, I listened to Nirvana a lot in high school, but in terms of, like, longevity of listening to it, I enjoy Soundgarden more than I do Nirvana, for sure. I'm a big fan of Chris Cornell. Like, his voice is just so good. But, yeah, I mean, there's some, amazing Nirvana songs as well, but... All right. Back to business. We'll have music talk after the game. Vampire Coast taking 5,000 years to waddle up to the objectives. That's why I do think it was a partial blunder of Nurgle not to triple cap them out of the gates. Although this is kind of a home objective. Like players, you could see if you look at the minimap, the objectives are slightly offset. So players do have a home objective, but Nurgle could have deployed some Vanguard Horsemen and probably stolen that objective pretty hard. Yeah, this is live, dude. We're hanging out. Yeah, live tournament. Indeed. So Marauders of Nurgle going to be trying to get into the back line, maybe looking for some handgun mobs to dive. Is Nurgle going to be advancing up on the point? They are. Man, this is a serious gun line by Scrambled Egg Special. This is hardcore. He is so wide and so thick. He's got so much stuff here. I mean, I think like 5 or like max pistol mobs. He's got 4 or 5 handgunners in there as well. That shooting is going to be so incredibly good. Oh, you guys are trying to bait me in with the music talk. Alice in Chains. Love it. One of my favorite bands of all time. So good. Yeah, amazing stuff. All right. God, enough. I got to focus on the game. You guys are getting me all nostalgic about the music of the olden days. Plague Ogres, what the hell planet are we on? Plague Ogres into Coast Gunline? Oh, God. I don't know why he would call those things out. 50 armor. They're just asking to have their bread buttered. And the more I see this, the more I'm like a little bit concerned here for Nurgle. I feel like that gunline is going to do a ton of work. We're going to have to see, though. Noxbringer is a nice tech. It's able to shoot from downtown, reduce the ammunition of the targets it's hitting, but it should be going after the handgunner mobs, and they just emerged from the tree line. Plague Bearers are going to be good here, though. They'll for sure do some work against these zombies. And it looks like they're not really being softened up too much on the approach. Nice stream of corruption by Apostate right there. And now the gunfire is going to be pouring in, doing quite a bit of work. The Noxbringer of Nurgle blasted away into the bomber mobs, which is a good call. Get rid of some of that anti-infantry capabilities and let the Plague Bearers feast. And look at this. So Scrambled Egg Special is doing a really slick maneuver. He moves them sideways, which opens up the gun line, and they're able to get a little bit more shooting there. So now we do see the Tide Call coming out. It does some okay damage. It's not insane. It does trigger the lore passive, the Kiss of the Deep, which does like map-wide damage, but I guess that can add up over the course of a long game. But now the gun line's going to be fully unleashing on the Plague Bearers on the side. Marauder Horsemen wasting ammunition into these guys. Definitely not a great idea, in my opinion. Probably want to get them more centralized and just have them go after Lamprey's Revenge, but we'll have to see. Plague Bear's doing work, and none of the Plague Bears have been fully killed yet. Looking at value trading, it's surprisingly even. I actually thought Nurgle would fall behind rather rapidly. But here's a Marauder unit going to be advancing up, being heavily focused, but now we see the Night Terrors coming out. This is my favorite Coast playstyle. Like, gunline with monstrous support, it's just the coolest thing ever. And they're able to melt down the Plague Bears of Nurgle. Noxbringers are now shooting into the handgun mobs, so that is the correct target. You want to get rid of the handguns and shut down their ammunition. Lamprey's Revenge, as well as the Vampire Fleet Admiral, engaging against the Exalted Gigachads of Nurgle and doing good damage. Lamprey's Revenge are one of the better RORs in the entire game. They're very, very solid in my opinion. And at this point, they're now going to be retreating back. On the other side here, we do see the big boys still shooting away. And I guess the Plague Ogres, if they can magically find an engagement versus Lamprey's Revenge, that would be pretty sweet. That would be pretty sweet indeed. But Coast Gunline is holding firm. And you see how he has really good separation between his gun pieces and they're not tightly packed. I mean, a couple of them are, but in general, his covering crossfire is very, very good. But Nurgle is a faction that's pretty good at these long grinds and that really good style of overwhelming gun lines. Hey, Turin, I've been watching your streams for 4 years. Your commentary reminds me of classic baseball broadcasts. Chris, thank you for the kind words. Maybe in another life, we'll do some pro sports commentary. That'd be a lot of fun. But hey, man, appreciate the kind words, and we'll keep the good times rolling for you. Objective Dose belongs to Nurgle. Vampire Coast does have its home objective, but Nurgle does have them push back. The value trading a little bit close. Certainly not going to be a comfortable position here for Scrambled Egg Special. And Apostate is doing very well. You know, I thought his build would be very susceptible against this, but overall, he is fighting like an absolute beast. And now he charges in with the Plague Ogres, which could be a big value farming situation, as the Vampire Coast gunline is going to be reacting to them. But Noxbringer and Plague Ogres move in, taking those dickhand mobs to absolute pound town. A couple of Furies do land, but Scrambled Egg knows how to handle this. He's going to be getting all his guns trained on them and cross-firing and protecting the homies. And now comes the counter push of the Scrambled Egg. The Depth Guard are going to be surging out from the trees. Absolutely one of the coolest units in the entire game. And this is going to be some serious beatdown on these bad boys. And here they come. Nope, no, you didn't even need them. But if the Depth Guard can get on top of the Plague Ogres as well as the Noxbringers, that is going to be a sweet engagement for him. Yeah, gunline's still very much functional, guys. Plague Ogres getting taken to Pound Town for sure. Or if you're in the UK, Pound Land, as I have been, which is well, it certainly gave me quite a laugh when I saw that. The Plague Ogres getting eviscerated, Scurvy Dogs pulling into the secondary, and the Depth Guard are going to be engaging against the Plague Bearers here, actually opting to not dive the monstrous units, maybe figuring that his gunline here in the secondary would be enough. And this handgun mob, yeah, at point blank here, I mean, if they're shooting the big targets, should be some big damage. Yeah, Plague Ogres getting melted. You see these bad boys eating a ton of bullets. And even though they are stalwart, you know, they are Nurgleites, but yeah, they're going to get absolutely dicked by those guys. So we do see the Noxbringer trying to shut down the shooting. I do think this was a pretty colossal mistake by Apostate. Diving into the gun line with, you know, some expensive units that aren't designed to dive guns is a big mistake. Like, Noxbringer is getting melted now. He just gave up, you know, almost 4,000 value here by these 2 units being sacrificed. And his Lord is pretty deep in enemy lines as well, and could be surrounded and potentially killed by Lamprey's Revenge, depending on the positioning. And Vampire Fleet Admiral, of course, does have some decent combat stats to boot. So looking at the points, Nurgle does have its clutches on the 2 objectives and are up pretty heavily on points. So from here, I think for Apostate, you got to start trying to play the objectives to win, because you're not going to win the value trading with that big blunder diving the middle like that. You go Vanguard, you call in a couple Nurglings, you steal objective 3, and you start playing the objective game. It's pretty much the only chance that I think you're going to be having here today. Noxbringer back here is going to be dropping some fat bombardments from downtown on the zombie pirate gunnery mobs. So certainly some very, very cost-effective shots there. Exalted Heroes going to be moving up, doing battle with Lamprey's Revenge, and that's a great engagement for them. Plague Toads also have some armor piercing, so can provide a little bit of support there. And the Kraken's Call. Oh, nice. Tears apart the Nurglings there. The Frolickers Bubonic dragged into the seas and are no more. So now there's a little bit of capture weight here for Coast. That maybe is going to be able to steal the objective. Is Nurgle doing anything to steal the home objective? Nope. It looks like Scrambled Egg actually has the foresight to reinforce this. And you see this value difference? This is what I was expecting to happen here earlier. I was expecting this to happen quicker. And, you know, Nurgle's build, I think, was just not ready for this. It was very, you know, elite and had a lot of big, expensive targets. So basically everything you don't want to bring against a Coast Gunline build. But ironically, you know, sometimes Scrambled Egg does play these double Leviathan builds, so maybe, you know, Apostate was thinking that that's what was coming and was more prepared for, like, Monster Mash and was bringing these bigger things, right? But yeah, it was not the case. So at this point, it's basically game over, right? 10,000 against 4.5, even with healing taken into account, it's not going to be enough. And it might be a Helm's Deep situation. It's pretty close to one. But the middle objective here is going to be flipping to the Vampire Coast. The last of Nurgle's assets here are being pounded. We see the Exalted Heroes being taken to Poundland. And on the other side, does his objective still belong to Nurgle? It does, but Coast he's going to start playing it now. So he knows he has time, right? He's just going to send some friggin' 23 movement speed units up. They're going to get to objective 1, and they're going to live their best life. It's cool that Vampire Coast is like a solid mid-tier faction now. Maybe it's just Scrambled Egg Special making them look good, but, you know, they've been doing well in tournaments. We see them sitting at 53% win rate, which is really, really not bad at all. So they're rolling, and the pain train of the Vampire Coast has arrived, and the Depth Guard with their halberds going to be tearing apart the Noxbringer. On top of that, Lamprey's Revenge could probably beat the Noxbringer too, so not going to be much left for him here. Desperation Pestigores being called in. Pestigores will trade well into Depth Guard polearms, but, you know, being tar pitted by zombies and then countercharged, they're still going to lose that trade, and we see a lot of capture weight on their way over here. So he's going for that slow grinding triple cap. Nurgle, you know, it's not going to be a triple cap situation, I do not believe. At that 1 victory ticket per second, Scrambled Egg Special will eventually capture him here. And those poor ogres, man, they just got absolutely taken and shot to pieces. Marauder Horseman coming out, going to be trying to mitigate the zombie advance. Scrambled Egg, a little bit of a micro slip here. He stopped moving them for some godforsaken reason. Definitely needs to keep moving to that back objective. We do see an unsummon going down on the Exalted Hero. Going to be trying to get him back online here, but Animated Hulk's parked over here. Scurvy Dog's coming. Lots of zombies, and Nurgle is just dead in the water. There's no way they're going to be able to win this. Absolutely no way. So Phoenix says, I always struggle versus Vampire Coast on ladder games. Yeah, they're not a bad faction. They're a little bit tricky to play, but they have some dynamic playstyles. They can play, you know, more melee-centric, monster-focused, very elite. They can play gunline. Yeah, they can do a lot, which is pretty fun. But the gunline Coast is definitely awesome to see. I'm personally a big enjoyer of, like, Artillery Coast. It's a shame that Queen Bess is so terrible. If Queen Bess got some buffs, that'd be fun. But, you know, you don't want to make it too strong. That is for sure. So moving on up are the Zombos, and they're going to get objective 3. And then I think from there, Apostate is going to see the writing on the wall, considering he's down by about 7,000 value here. And Vampire Coast does have healing too, right? We have Invocations, we have Lamprey's Revenge. No, we don't have Invos. Okay, so very little healing, but we do have some via Lamprey's Revenge. But here comes the zombies. They're moving up. They're in your head, and they're heading towards objective number 3. It is going to be Frolickers Bubonic heading there as the Nurgle Cav. Try and run interference, but he's going to be tapping out. GG, well played. All hail the mighty. They're arising from the deeps with crooked sails and incredible tails. Yes, indeed. Oh, yeah. So the build is just too elite. You need shields. You need marauders. You know, those type of things. And yeah, the build, which is not up to the task of dealing with a coast gun line of this caliber. This was a fully armed and operational battle station. 1300, 1600, 900, 1300. I mean, man, great value. 2000 on the Lord. That ain't bad either. And for the Nurgle army, Plague Bearers kind of just got ground down. Didn't really do a lot. Noxbringer did okay. Heroes didn't pay. Like, nothing really performed. But really nice attempt by Apostate. You made it pretty far in the tournament. So shout out to you, buddy. And now let us go forth and see how the brackets look. All right. Cool. So Out of Region updating me on their game. And let's see who it's going to be. It could be a rematch between Tomb Kings and Coast from earlier, because they're both on the bottom side of the bracket right now. Okay, so taking a quick sample look at the brackets for today's tournament, we do see Outer Region defeated Hitman Hippo. So that was Khorne was defeated by the Tomb Kings, and now we have Tomb Kings versus Vampire Coast. This is a rematch. So we saw this earlier on the Pit of the Everchosen map, which obviously is a very different game. But now we're seeing it on a more traditional map, and we're going to see if Scrambled Egg Special can get revenge. The winner of this is going to go on to the grand finals to face the Dwarves. Neither of these factions, ironically, are great against Dwarves, but they can both win. It's just, it's hard. It's tricky. All right, so Out of Region sending me a lobby code. What a Chad. Thank you, man. I do appreciate that. I feel a dad sneeze coming on, so I'll try and give you guys warning, but if it does ambush me, I apologize in advance. All right, rematch. Let's freaking go. Tomb Kings aren't really like an OP faction, though, to be fair, Harrison. You're generally right. He's a very meta player, like very, very meta. Doesn't really play off the meta at all. Occasionally, but yeah, Tomb Kings are a good faction. They're very well-rounded, very fun to play. Depth Guard are top 5 coolest looking units. Yeah. Chosen definitely take the cake for me. Like the Chosen units of the various gods, probably Tzeentch and Nurgle are probably my favorite ones. They look so cool. Captain Port, thanks for the streams, Turin. Been watching for not sure how long, but I've enjoyed all the streams and videos I've watched. Hey, I'm glad to hear that, man. There's been a couple doozies in there. Not all the videos have been great, but we try. We try. Lower your volume heads. Yeah, I think you're okay. I think it's passed. You guys talking about Rammstein? I do enjoy some Rammstein. I like the song Sona and Mein Hert Brent. I don't know how to say that properly. Mein Hert Brent or something like that. Those are good songs. Great swords, their floppy hats are the cool, so they are. Yeah, they are. Absolutely. Yeah, Outer Region has really good micro. I think that's one of his biggest strengths. He's like a micro hound. Like if you watch him on his streams play, he plays from space and he doesn't slip up on micro too often. I could watch you from 6 a.m. before work from Luxembourg. Hell yeah, see, it's working out. Harrison says I'm just mad at him because he's beaten me in like 3 finals. Yeah, he's hard to beat. I've taken a handful of games off him, but it's never easy. I would say in my games versus Outer Region, it's probably like 70-30 for him, maybe 60-40. Yeah, I haven't played that much this season. I've been taking a bit of a break. I did win, I think, 1 or 2 tournaments at the beginning, but yeah, it's been a dry spell. Haven't played too many. I like the live sets of Rammstein because the keyboard player walks on a treadmill. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, those kind of concerts are fun to go to, although I do have permanent hearing loss in one of my ears because of a Metallica concert. I don't know if hearing loss, but permanent ringing. I went to a Metallica concert in San Francisco in like 2010 or 11, and I was right up at the front stage, right next to the speaker where they launched the pyrotechnics, and they like launched fireworks and explosives off there right next to my left ear, and it's like it rings nonstop ever since. Yeah, definitely not worth it as much as I love Metallica. I have pretty good hearing, but that ringing is nonstop. Yeah. All right. Let's see how it goes. Hail and Kill from Man of War will always be when received. Oh, okay. You guys talking about theme songs? Yeah, I've seen Metallica 3 times. I saw them at Summer Sanitarium Tour. That shit was wild. That was like 2001. I was like, how old was I in 2001? 13? I went with my stepdad and my buddy Paul, and we were small. We were like 12, 13-year-olds, and we were like there, and there was like bikers and mosh pits, and we were like, holy shit. That concert was crunk. That had Metallica, Linkin Park, Mudvayne, Limp Bizkit were the four acts for that concert. That was sweet. Limp Bizkit was awesome. Linkin Park was amazing. I love Linkin Park. Yeah. I think my favorite concert of all time I've been to, though, like that was like the most intense, was probably 9 Inch Nails at the Palladium in LA. That was nuts. Like, Nine Inch Nails has a crazy range of music, right? They have like really, really kind of like emo, morose music that's super sad and like super slow with like piano. And then they have songs that are like more mainstream, like, you know, that I would say like The Hand That Feeds, Discipline, you know, songs that like, you know, people who aren't fans of like Nine Inch Nails, though, like most people like those. And then they have like super heavy metal music, like the song Heresy and Burn, and like just these kind of heavy songs like metal. You know, they have such a good range of music. That was probably the most intense concert. Yeah. Oh, Linkin Park. Yeah, Linkin Park was great. I haven't given their. I know they have a new singer. I think it's a singer from Dead Sarah, who I have seen. They opened for Foo Fighters once when I saw them. You have tinnitus, but it's from being near mortars and cannons and mortars. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you were in the military. Yeah, yeah. Closer is a great song. It is. That's a good lovemaking song right there for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, good times, man. Good times. That's crazy to be at as a 13-year-old. It was scary, Harrison. It was wild, yeah. But my stepdad was with us, and he's like a 6'4" ogre. He was like 6'4", 240, so he was just like this giant ogre protecting me and my friend. Yeah. All right, guys. It's been good socializing, chatting with you all. We are now in the semifinals. The winner of this match is going to be having to face the ultimate punishment, the Dowie. The Dowie are like the scourge of SFTs. Like, nobody wants to play them. They have very few bad matchups. They're not that they're not like OP or anything, because we ban gyrocopters. I just ban them because they're bullshit. And dwarves are still really strong even without gyrocopters. Oh, dude, my stepdad is an ogre. Like my actual dad, he's like 5'6". But my stepdad, he was like an ogre. Yeah, 100%. All right, guys. So Tomb Kings are going to be, you know, a Bone Daddy frontline. Nehekar Warriors trade really well into zombie deck gun mobs. Archers have always been super meta here because archers counter guns. So they're able to shoot over the arc of infantry and just trade super well into them. And Vampire Coast has a ton of great targets for archers in general. Statue of the Imperishable is going to be up on the Sphinx, and that's a good choice. A bit of a big target, though. If there are some cannons, it's going to be slightly precarious. And the rest of the build is going to be Horseman Archers. Very meta, very strong. Because they can dive cannons, they can dive artillery. They're good at shooting light armor. So Morngulls, animated Hulks, zombies, all that sort of good stuff like that. So the good times are rolling. The semis are the people's final to select our champion against the Dowie. Yeah, that's very accurate, Stan. I agree with that. Yeah. I don't think Empire needs nerfs. Empire doesn't seem OP. Like, we see them win. They won an SFT, but that's just because Outer Region is really good. Maybe you're talking about land battle, but Empire, like, their win rate's like, I think it's like even under 50% right now. You know what? You've actually piqued my curiosity here, and I need to check that real quick. So I minimized. Empire's at 49% win rate. They have a lot of bad matchups. Beastmen are favored. Vampire Coast beats them. Slanesh beats them. Lizardmen beat them. Wood Elves beat them. Cathay is favored against them. Dwarves hard counter them. Like, Empire's nowhere near OP in my opinion. Very balanced faction. Very balanced. All right. So Tomb King's going to be grabbing the objectives quicker. Vampire Coast is very slow. You know, they shamble. The Tomb Kings are a little bit swifter. Tomb King's one of my favorite armies in tabletop for sure. I love playing them. My wife has done an amazing job painting a bunch of them, and they look really good. She heard it. She heard the compliment. Yes, we've done it. But I love the Casket of Souls in tabletop. They're really good. They can like one-shot things super hard. Basically how it works in tabletop is when a Casket of Souls shoots at something, if it hits, what happens is the unit that it hits has to take a leadership test, and if it fails, it does a shit ton of damage and just mows that unit down. Just absolutely mows them down. But we do see the old Skeleton Horseman Archers getting up to harry this, and this is great play from Outer Region. It's forcing the zombies back and like pushing the envelope a little bit, right? But the Coast, man, Scrambled Egg loves his double giant crabs. He loves this shit. He's got 2 of them. And there is a chance that those 2 giant Krabos can potentially bully the Tomb Kings off the middle, right? Like, we see archers, etc., but is that going to be enough to drag them down? A little bit of back pressure coming in. Oh, this is such a good play. I love this, by the way. Seeing the Kepra Guard coming in. Kepra Guard are Terminators. They can chew through... Like, one Kepra Guard could probably take, like, 5 or 6 of these Deckhand Mob units. Like, just straight up. Even if it was surrounded, it would be able to kill so many of them. They're very good against the Vampire Coast. I love that. Not in like open field, but as like an ambush unit like this. On this map, he's really playing the map incredibly well, right? So Skeleton Horseman Archers shooting into the zombie pirate deck-end mobs here. So these bad boys are going to be getting pounded. They're sitting at 28 leadership right here. And yeah, not quite enough to crumble them, but you know, maybe it'll get there eventually. So Scrambled Egg being very ponderous, being very cautious. You know, he's trying to position himself in a way where he can defend this because he probably knows back pressure is coming. Back pressure is very common in domination mode, these kind of split push plays, especially against slower factions like that can't respond to it super effectively, right? He's going to be taking Cetra to Red Lobster. Oh my god, yeah. God, man, you know, back when I was a kid, I used to really enjoy, like, you know, while there's not a ton of action going on, we could see some light harass here, but you know, I remember in the 90s and early 2000s going to like buffets, right? And thinking they were the best thing ever. Like when you're like an 8-year-old, you know, you're like, oh, dude, the buffet's sweet. I can just keep going back. There's so much to choose from. But as an adult, going back to a buffet, it's like the most Nurgle foul shit ever. You just see the grungiest people sneezing on the food, like, you know, like dipping like the same serving tool into like other foods and like mixing shit and like, you know, just like, it's just grungy, you know? It's just grungy. Yeah, I've lost like all my interest in buffets. Like I went to a buffet years ago and I remember seeing like this just like decrepit old man sneeze like straight up like into the serving area, and I was just like, no, I'm not doing any more buffets. I'm good. You know, I'm not doing it. I'm done with this. But guys, anyways, back on subject here. This is amazing. Outer region skirmish play here is so good. He's like just picking off the gun units. He's actually going to get a full-on kill. And even when these guys run out of ammunition, they're a very good harass and diving tool. You know, they're going to be able to swarm around and get work done. So we will have to see. On the backside, we see the back pressure is building. It is going to be some skeleton chariots. Chariots, of course, not the best units in the trees, but Nehekar warriors and skeleton chariots. But a little bit of mass should be able to counter that. And this is also great counterplay by Scrambled Egg Special. Parking a Morngul here. Morngul's will hard counter all of those units, but if he leaves, that could be a problem. Anyways, Vampire Coast is advancing, and they're getting ready to go. Archers are going to be shooting into the zombies, getting a lot of value. Tomb Kings are, in Tabletop, actually one of the best shooting armies in the entire game. A lot of shooting in Tabletop is very hard to pull off unless you're an elf. And even still, it's not like super good. But Tomb King shooting is next level good in my opinion. They do a great job of it. But the lines have clashed here. Clashed. It's like collided and crashed at the same time there. But Animated Hulks will take these guys to Pound Town with the Vampire Lord. Skeleton Warriors battling for zombie pirate deck-end mobs, and such. The Imperishable diving into the secondary, runs over some zombies, puts them in critical binding, and he's going to be passing back for round 2. The Battle Kitty's one of the best monsters in the entire game for sure. So it gets in there, crushes those zombies. We do see a big Battle Crab's going to be moving in to try and intercept him. And now, oh, that was good, man. Scrambled Egg recognizes the back pressure here. He sees it. He doesn't like move off. Because here's why this play is good from Outer Region, right? He moves up. He hides in the trees. Zombies are like, oh, you know, nothing's happening. I'm going to go assist the middle. And when he leaves, the Tomb King steal that objective. But he had the wherewithal and the veteran knowledge of this game to stay here with some good units. The patience. He's got the Animated Hulks. He has multiple Hulks coming in, more Morngul's. The Night Terrors are tearing apart the Kepler Guard. It's very, very good overall. Cetra is getting into the secondary, tearing through the zombie pirate gunnery mobs here. In the front, the Battle Crabs are doing very well, but the Archers are saturating in and getting good value. These Morngul's probably going to be crumbling out. Usirian's activated on them. It's a very good spell by Cetra, and that is going to be slowing them down by 25%, making them more susceptible to the Archer line here. In the meantime, the Skeleton Skirmishers going to be wheeling around the side of the battlefield, and they're going to be a very useful tool at dealing with Morngul's. So a bit of an unfortunate sacrifice there for Scrambled Egg Special. He's going to dive into the secondary and get nothing for it. Probably pulling back with those Morngul's, and I don't even know where there is to pull back, though. You don't have too many options. Cetra the Imperishable still being hunted by Battle Crab, but Outer Region's micro this game has been very, very good. He is not losing any HP on Cetra, as a matter of fact. Every time a Battle Crab gets close to him, he's able to push it back well. And talk about a Clash of Titans, very, very equal in terms of value this game. Both players are doing quite well. Nobody really has a massive advantage. Vampire Coast actually did manage to steal that middle objective, so are the Battle Crabs going to be able to win the objective game? There is a big chance that if Scrambled Egg Special can keep the value close, he's going to be able to potentially beat Outer Region here, right? Because he's got that armor, that durability, that staying power on this middle point that the Tomb Kings aren't really going to be able to match. And sure, Cetra can go after these Battle Crabs, especially if he has Cursed Blades, which he does not. If he had Cursed Blades, he could give himself anti-large, and the Blessed Blade of Petra could be quite good too. But he did not bring those. So his crab killing capabilities are going to be a little bit subpar. I mean, maybe the Archers after 10 years can wear them down. A lot of the success for Outer Region, I think, is going to be coming down to his efficiency on the back push. We see Nehakar Warriors crumbling down, and wow, they are just losing on all fronts. Kepler Guard pushback. Morngul's and Animated Hulk's able to take them to Pound Town, and Outer Region did, Scrambled Egg did foil that play on the back. That is super, super clutch. Now looking back towards Objective Dose, we do see Scrambled Egg holding on to it, but the Tomb Kings are getting a little bit, oh my god, is that going to be a Winds of Death again, or is it, what is that? Oh yeah, that's, it's still like 22 Winds of Magic for 300 gold. He killed an Archer, but maybe it's worth it. I don't know. If he had gotten 2 Archers, I think definitely worth it, but those are pretty cheap units in general, so. Cetra does not have anti-large on the cat, no, but he can give himself anti-large if he overcasts Incantation of Cursed Blades. So here we do see the Outer Region leading the points, and it looks like he is going to flip this. Vampire Coast does have some cap weight there with their characters, but aside from that, this is like just veteran play here. He's very similar to Age of Empires 4 is the analogy I'm trying to get at, or other RTS games. Somebody has a barracks, right? Let's say that somebody's rushing you. They're rushing you with Marines and Marauders. They're going to your base. They have a trail of reinforcements coming behind. The Zerg player is going to want to use its Zerglings and its faster units to intercept and harass the reinforcements, which then makes their defense a little bit easier. That's kind of the analogy I was looking for, but overall, the Depth Guard get nailed by Usirians, they get focused by Archers, and even though the Archers do struggle against 90 armor, the volume of fire was able to get the job done. And considering that the Tomb Kings, are they going to get the middle? They do get it. Wow, they're able to get that, and potentially the back. Once again, we could see Scrambled Egg Special's fortunes ruined by the just top-tier Tomb King's mobility. It seems like he is struggling to deal with that, and you know it would be god-tier good for the Vampire Coast right now. I think having a single cannon, 1 or 2 cannons would be so effective at punishing Cetra, shooting the horsemen, shooting the chariots. I think there would be some niceness there. Oh! The Winds of Death! Oh my god, he deletes 2 more Archer units. Critical binding, -55. That was so good. Oh my god, that Winds of Death just straight up got him like 1,000 plus gold. And that is reflected in the value. These Nehakar Warriors crumble down. These Archers for sure are going to be crumbling. I don't know if they're going to be able to stabilize. Dude, he is the Wind of Death. He has been getting so much work done with that. Now, can Coast hold on to this back objective? They're just barely holding on to it. They have a couple Dickhand mobs on their way up. Morgul's as well. Cetra a little bit surrounded by mass. And okay, this is clutch. That play right here in tandem with his hold on the back objective is going to be giving Scrambled Egg Special a chance to win this game. If this back objective had, flipped, for example, to the Tomb Kings, and maybe he didn't get that snipe there, I think that Outer Region is in a winning position. But now, I think that this is anybody's game. It's going to be very, very clean here. We do see Cetra the Imperishable getting nailed by a little bit of pistol fire here, and the Morngul's have arrived, and I think this is stability here for Vampire Coast. The Tomb Kings have run out of steam on the back point, still pressing up with some Skeleton Chariots, but they're going to be awful here. The Skeleton Chariots are going to get countered by all the mass. All the Animated Hulks are going to take them to town. But in the middle, it seems like it's really just Struggle City. Outer Region's micro is so good. He's maneuvering around the objective and keeping the old Vampire Coast from getting the capture weight they need. And this is, the risky run of running big haggard monsters, This is like why maybe in a way having objectives in Warhammer the Old World would make infantry more viable, right? Because the monsters would have like less capture weight, right? So swarming with infantry could be slightly better, but yeah, something to think about. Yeah, Winds of Death's pretty mean, though. It can do a lot of damage. And on the back point, we do see the Morngul's arriving, but they do get sandwiched by Cetra, some infantry, as well as chariots, and it looks like they're going to die pretty quickly to Cetra, especially with Usirian's Incantation of Vengeance going down. Nehakar Horsemen arrive, and there is an opportunity for Tomb Kings maybe to still steal this back objective, although now some Doggos have arrived. We have Pistol Mobs putting some good firepower in, Animated Hulks just being absolute Giga Chads here, fighting back the Horsemen and the Nehakar Warriors. Meanwhile, on objective number 2, we do see the Crabs maybe finding a way back here. We're going to have to see. Here is the Rotting Leviathan against some Spearmen. Capture weight does actually favor Scrambled Egg Special because most of these units are expendable. The Spears are crumbling down here. These Spearmen are in critical binding as well, but it's getting very, very danger close to a triple cap situation. I believe it might already be one very, very soon, so that's incredibly tough. And on the backside, we do see Vampire Coast holding that, getting great value. I mean, all this diving that Outer Region is doing back here is buying him time on the other objectives, but he is falling massively behind in value. And I can't help but think that Scrambled Egg is going to start sending stuff to the back objective. Maybe. We'll have to see. Outer Region already kind of planning for defense back here. He does have some Skeleton Spearmen. A couple Horsemen do arrive. And the Krabos do manage to crumble down the Skeleton here. And another Winds of Death. Oh my god. He got another one. And these Nehakar Warriors are in death's bed now. -19. So those bad boys are paying the troll toll. And the Black Pariah Pit also gives you reserve, so the amount of Winds of Death you're going to be able to cast is going to be even more than normal. So in the back point, Vampire Coast does have their clutches on this one. Animated Hulks are getting her done. Get her done. You're able to get it, and yeah, complete crumbling. And now the onslaught of the more damp dead are going to be advancing towards the middle. But I think that outer region is still favored here. Tomb Kings are very good at defending on the back points. Very fast faction in general for undead, by undead standards. Not as fast as like Elves or other things like that, but they can hang in there. Really, really good Usirian's going to be blocking. And Setcher the Imperishable, he knows his people are in trouble, so he's trying to buy them a little bit of time. As the Krabos are just tied up by all these horsemen and various other pieces. More Nehekar warriors are on their way, and more infantry as well. I think that, yeah. So this is a sign of veteran play right here. You see the legions of the deckhand mobs advancing to the back point. He knows he has enough here. Like, between all these units advancing to the middle, he's going to get it eventually. So he starts to play the back objective, knowing that his units are slow as hell with 23 speed. That's going to give him an opportunity to maybe capture objective 3 in the fourth quarter of the game. We'll have to find out. But Setcher getting some work in, but also being bullied a little bit by Crabbo Stabbo. So Crabbo gets in there, tar pitted by the horseman, but not before he punches Setcher in the face a little bit. And here the Rotting Leviathan is going to be duking it out with the Nehekar horseman. The Morngul's are chewing through the skeleton warriors here. A couple spears coming up, but they're going to be melting pretty quickly. And an unholy legion of the dead are marching forth, although it's 2 undead sides. And the winner of this is going to be punished with the Dwarves, so they're going to have to face the dreaded Alexander in the grand finals, which should be fun. So Animated Hulks on their way up. Pistol Mobs shooting as well on the advance. We still don't see the capture weight flipping yet for the undead, but it will soon. And we can see more pole arms coming, but I don't think it's going to matter. I mean, he doesn't have time. He realizes there's not enough time. And Outer Region is going to be advancing on to the grand final to face Alexander Nuts. So we got the Tomb Kings and we got the Dwarves in the grand finals. Let's break it down and let's see how it goes. Really fun match, though. Nice Winds of Death, but he got stuffed back too long. That is the danger you run of running big crab builds. They're good at fighting, but you do yield a lot of battlefield momentum. We saw it work for him well against Elves, but he's been shooting from the hip today. A lot of the games have been very, very close. Yeah, GG, well played to those players. Setcher was a Chad. The Horseman play was really good. His positioning with those guys was like always on point. Always on point. All right. So now let's go ahead and get the finals. Turin. Finals. Host game of spectator. Nice little feature we got added in the Warhammer 2. And we're going to get Alexander and we're going to get Outer Region. All right, all right. Let's find him and we're going to find Alexander. Here we are. Cool. So the players are ready. Let's go to domination mode. It is going to be like this. And the map for the grand finals is what? I can't remember which map I put. I think it's are they? Oh, they might have played the wrong map in that game. It doesn't matter. It's fine. As long as they were both fine, knew what it was. The map for the finals is Bordello Landing. So it's what we just played. So maybe I'm going to, yeah. We could do, we just did that. I could pick a different map just to mix it up a little bit. But you know what? I think we're just going to keep it the same because the players may have decided their picks on that. So yeah, they played on the wrong map there. It's okay. The map was supposed to be Edge of the Darkwood. Or no, maybe it was the right map. I don't remember. Anyways. No, it was the wrong one. All right. Tomb Kings versus Dwarves. Satisfy the grudge. They have wronged us. Yeah, Dwarves are really good. Definitely borderline OP. Yeah. We'll see if Alexander shows up here. Thank you guys for joining. Saturday, late night, baby. Rocking it hard with 1,100 people. That's pretty rad to see. After all these years, people still enjoy hanging out and watching some Total War. Cool to see. Many games have risen and fallen, but, you know, Total War is here to stay, man. Dowie are probably good in land battle, too, I would imagine. Yeah. Is Domination the main mode now? Yeah, it is for my tournaments. Yeah, correct. It's also the CA's official version as well. So, but yeah, I mean, I think CA does some official land battle tournaments again, too. They didn't for a while, but they just got back into it. I think Dob did one, which was awesome. I watched that. Good old Dob plays. First time witnessing a grand final live. Love the content. Keep up the awesome. I will. Thank you, Russ. And I hope you and the Wolves of Fenris are doing well. All right, all right. Cool stuff, man. And Tomb Kings versus Dwarves. Screaming Skull catapults are pretty good. Your horsemen are good at shutting down. So if you can shut down Dwarven artillery, and then you have Screaming Beam catapults to bombard them, it can be very, very good. But yeah, Dwarves are definitely favored here. But Outer Region is incredibly good. So there's a chance that he's going to be able to pull this off. Looking at the stats, Dwarves have a 54% win rate, and against Tomb Kings, they have a 70% win rate. But it's not many games played. But it's 9 wins and 4 losses. So they've done pretty well in the couple times it has appeared this season. So Alexander, he's on Dwarves. He just hasn't switched yet. Wow. Out of region's ready, dude. He's just like going for it. He's like, come at me, bro. Hitting an FFA after. I could show you guys, you know what we're going to do after this game? Not an FFA, but I want to show you guys another game that I've been playing, and we'll gauge interest. If you guys think it's fun, I will stream it. But it's a game I play a shit ton of my own time. It's called Legion Tower Defense 2, and it's really fun. I love it. Pone and I play it all the time. We play almost like every other day. Yeah. So yeah, something to think about. Appreciate that, Dark Age. It's kind words, man. Wonder if he brings the War Kitty. Oh yeah, maybe. I don't know. Alexander he loves his hero hammer. He loves his hero dwarves. So he's probably gonna have the two Dragon Slayers and a Demon Slayer. You never know though. He's a wild card. He could even have a double cannon with like with Malachi back there. I don't know, man. How good are Chaos Dwarves? Chaos Dwarves are a mid-tier faction, DJ Serpent. They're not like amazing, but they're good. They're okay. And I to my understanding, Chaos Dwarves are going to be getting like not a rework, but a multiplayer look over to like cost adjust a lot of their bad units. So I think Chaos Dwarves are in a good spot. They're a fun faction to play. Certainly not OP by any stretch, but they're really fun. I love their stuff. How did I meet Pone? A long time ago. So I met Pone in 2017. So back then, I had a different Discord than the one I have now. Italian Spartacus and we had a joint Discord. And Professor Pone he used to watch Heir of Carthage, and then he saw me beat Heir of Carthage on one of Heir's videos, so he came to check out my channel, and then he joined our Discord, and he just like we just like hung out and chat. Like he just joined chat one day and hit me up to play, and yeah. The rest of the romance is as you guys have seen. Have you seen anything on Stormgate? Yeah, I really don't like it right now. The aesthetic, the universe doesn't excite me. The aesthetic of the game, the units, the sound design, these are all things I don't enjoy. However, I do, appreciate the people at the company. I think they took a shot, and it just was released way too early. I think the game needed a lot more internal development time. Like StarCraft, when you first play StarCraft and you hear those like guitar riffs from the Turin campaign or like the multiplayer music back in like, the 90s, early 2000s, and then like you hear the Marines just like unleashing their Gauss rifles as like Zerglings are charging them, and like you felt the impact when a siege tank was like boom, and you felt the siege tank like make impact, right? You don't get any of that in Stormgate. And the universe is kind of like a little boring for me. The StarCraft universe was amazing. Dude, Heir of Carthage he's the reason I started YouTube, actually. Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big Heir of Carthage fan. He's what inspired me to start doing YouTube. Yeah, he's the man. Absolutely. All right, guys, let's take a look at the dwarf build. Oh, it is the king, the dwarf slayer king of Karat Kadrin. He is here, Ungrim Iron Chad. Let's frickin' go. 2 Dragon Slayers, and the rest of the army is going to be Dwarf Warriors, backed up by a Goblin Hewer, Ultharch Raiders, and a bow line. Okay, and then Vanguard Rangers to go grab his point on the side. Interesting. The Goblin Hewers. Yeah, that's awesome. Dude, you know what game has the GOAT soundtrack, though? Is Diablo 2. I put on Diablo 2 soundtrack randomly at nights, and I just listen to the Tristram theme and like just all the themes for Act 2. They're so freaking good. Oh my god, they're so good. Anyways. Taking a look at the Tomb King's army, it is going to be a battle line of skeleton warriors, just absolute trash infantry. Double chariot necrotech. Now these guys have, you might be like, oh, why would you bring a non-AP chariot against dwarves? But it's because of this item. The Van Braces of the Sun are super busted. When they hit you, it lowers your stats to basically 0, and also, it does have flaming attacks, which isn't super relevant here. And he has double War Kitty, so double Khemri and War Sphinx is going to be looking to have like a doom stack of these characters and getting in there. Is this an RTS? It's like a sort of an RTS. there's no base building, but you control an army, right? So you control an army and you fight over objectives, but there's no base building. You build your army before the battle based on what you're facing, you know? Yeah, Diablo 2 is a masterpiece. Hands down, top 3 favorite games of all time. My wife and I were actually talking about doing a Diablo 2 stream where we just have like a 5-hour stream of us like going through like, you know, maybe hardcore mode, which would be really fun. I think having some stakes would be cool. But yeah, it's awesome. So yeah, the big cat stack. What he's going to be trying to do is split push. So he's going to be going around the sides and trying to outmaneuver the dwarves. But the dwarves, they have cannons in the back. So the dwarven cannons are singing in the deep. Masterpieces of engineering. I wouldn't be surprised to see some carrying go after them. We do see a little bit of bowfire. But Outer Region is a cunning foe. And he is going to be using the tree line here. So we do see his Sphinxes and the Ushapti hiding in the trees. But the fully erect Dwarven Slayers are on the hunt. So they got their Mohawks out. And they're going to be hunting these bad boys down. Bows don't do much against them, and Outer Region is going to make contact here. He does have back pressure coming in as well. Chariots and Nehakara warriors are getting ready to party. Cannon fire shooting, but the tree line is giving a lot of protection here to the Tomb Kings. Meanwhile, the dwarves are sitting very comfortably on the middle objective. Definitely need to roll over here. And where are the Goblin Hewers? Okay, one Goblin Hewer does get caught and compromised by the Kemrian War Sphinx. And there are no Slayers. Alexander could be getting outmaneuvered here a little bit by the Tomb Kings. Tomb Kings currently, though, only have one objective. So the dwarves are happy to just kind of play this game. And we do see the dwarves and the Slayer King hunting down the mobility, but they are able to get away. Cannon fire directly into the face of Cetra. Should be shooting the chariot. Probably the Necrocheck would die in like literally 4 cannon shots probably. But how are the dwarves going to defend this cannon? Are they just going to let it go? I think they have to at this point. A little bit of fire going into Cetra as the Battle Kitties are going to be moving into the secondary. Alexander mismicroed. He summoned the Grim Delvers right here. He should have been back here. Because now they're just going to get run over and annihilated. Their stats being set to basically 0. Look how much damage those Battle Cats do. And now the Battle Cat Legion is going to be moving into the secondary back here. And they're going to be just getting right up in there. A couple Slayers coming in, or just a basic Slayer unit, which is going to be okay here. Slayers, though, double Battle Cat plus also the Necrotech might be enough to wreck these guys. We're going to have to see. Yeah, Slayers pile in to fight. The dwarves are just desperately chasing here. And now we're going to see the sneaky Outer Region ambush as we see the melee Ushapti, one of my favorite. You know, I love Ushaptis. They're so cool. And the Nehakara warriors, they stand at the ready, at the attention of Cetra the Imperishable, ready to move out of the tree line here. And the dwarves kind of stabilize their backfield, you know. They kept their cannon online. Oh, the Goblin Hewer puts a little bit of hurt down in the Necrotech. Did the cannon get fully routed? The cannon rallies. The dwarven durability, quite huge here. Quite huge indeed. All right, guys. And the battle continues. The Ushapti going to be pouring out of the tree line here. Skeleton Chariots surge forth. Gotta love Chariots as well. Chariots are actually really good in tabletop as well. I don't know about Tomb King's Chariots. I haven't tried them. I do use my Lord in a Chariot in tabletop, but not the regular Skeleton Chariots. But look at that. With the sun shining in the distance, the dwarves going to be plowed over, getting run down by the wheels of Nehakara. As we do see the Ulthar's Raiders trying their best to shut them down. But Outer Region has been playing pretty flawlessly here. Like, dude, he is straight up Benny Hilling these dwarves right now. Like, the dwarves have chased here and then all the way back here. And he is just finding dwarven positions with his battle cats and punishing them so badly. Some of the skeletons here do get obliterated, though, by the blasting charges from the dwarven miners. So the dwarves obviously going to be doing quite well in the frontline fights versus the Tomb King. Certainly very, very favored there. The Goblin Hewer has arrived, and what is it going to be shooting? It looks like it's going after the Chariot character here. All right, Goblin Hewers are coming in. Are we going to see any damage? And it looks like he does barely get away. Outer Region, I'm pretty sure he plays StarCraft 2. He's able to micro very well, and now he's going to be pulling into the back of these dwarves, doing a lot of burst damage there, and he is maintaining a decent value lead. In the backfield, though, Nehakara warriors are defeated by dwarf warriors, but the melee Ushapti are doing a great job, but the Grim Delvers are approaching, and they're going to be getting old Deadeye set on these Ushapti. And that firepower is going to be nasty. Those Ushapti are going to start folding up really, really quickly if they keep charging the Grim Delvers. You can see their HP diminishing very, very fast. Grim Delver is going to be getting another volley. And we do have Slayers coming out. And the Dwarven Cannon is basically full health. That whole dive was still decent, but yeah, not going to be enough. More Ushapti on the way in. Slayer's going to be able to intercept them. And I think the back point is going to be stabilized by the Dwarves. The Tomb Kings never got it. And we do see Alexander up on points as Outer Region fights tooth and nail to try and get a W in this matchup. It is not easy. You got to work really hard to beat Dwarves as Tomb Kings. Personally, I'm a big enjoyer of Screaming Skull Catapults. That's more my play style, but yeah, I don't know what's most effective. Restore going down on the Kemrian Sphinx, very nice. And this thing has already got silver chevrons, 1100 value. It must have come into the battle with some chevrons as well. This Necrotect is pulled back. We see more Ushapti and more Nehekar Horsemen coming over here. On the back objective, the Dwarfs do have it, but the Tomb Kings are threatening this one. Slayers getting run over a little bit by the chariots, but also giving the damage back. And the Ushapti we saw here are being defeated by the mighty Power Mohawk boys. They're getting in there for Grimnir. And you see the statues falling down. The cannon fire, the gunfire, Dwarven fire lines are so freaking cool. Grimdelver's an absolute giga-chat of a unit. But are the Tomb Kings going to be able to flip this? They really need to. Because if they don't flip an objective soon, man, the points lead that the Dwarves have is going to be incredibly tricky. Incredibly tricky. Miners of blasting charges coming out. We do see these miners moving up. And the Dwarves, man, so tenacious. Outer Region has got to be frustrated right now. He's been microing his heart out here, but I don't know if his build has enough like battlefield agency to really contest the objectives. That back push was good, but Alexander is one of the better dwarf players in the community. He's very good, and even if things look dire for him, he finds a way. Oh, a rare micro blunder by Outer Region. There is absolutely no reason you should be losing your Necrotect character, which costs like 1,200 gold, mind you, to a 600 gold Dragon Slayer, which has no chance in hell of catching him. So this could be the beginning of the end for Outer Region, as it looks like his plans are falling apart here. We do see the Dwarves just absolutely cackling here, and they got their Ultharch Raiders. The Ushapti summon going down on the Grimdelvers is a very, very good play. Cetra's eating many throwing axes to the face, also getting chopped up by Slayers a little bit. And I think that Outer Region's chance to win is heavily diminishing. Although we do see a Chariot getting into the secondary, does manage to shut down the cannon. And now we see the Long Dongs Slayer Pirates of Karak Jive Bar. So they have come out and they're going to be shooting into the chariots. Very, very good stuff. Slayer Pirates are pretty sick. But these ones are good. The regular Slayer Pirates, not worth it so much, but the ROR is just super busted. They're incredibly strong. Restore going down on the Khemrian War Sphinx. Value now dwarf favored. With healing, it's probably dead even. Because there has been a couple restores coming down from the Necrotex, but overall, I don't see the Tomb Kings coming back from this. Catapults are really nice. Like, I think one thing that was missing from Outer Region's build is like 1 or 2 deep set catapults to just kill these infantry over the course of a long game, which would then open that up for you in the mid game here. But the Dwarves, they're getting it done, man. They're just legions of short, naked, angry, well, semi-naked, I guess. These guys are basically naked. They're just wearing their breeches here, but angry, well, not bald, they have mohawks, but yeah, short, chubby, hairy dudes chasing you with battle axes. It's certainly not what the Tomb Kings had in mind when they were arisen from the dead. Dwarves predate the Tomb Kings, right? Like, as a culture, I'm pretty sure dwarves were like one of the elder races with the High Elves. They were like around for a long time, whereas Tomb Kings are still humans. Even though they're, you know, thousands of years old, I'm pretty sure the dwarves outdate them, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Do we have any lore aficionados in chat? So, Outer Region didn't hear no bell, though. He's moving in a second wave of infantry, as well as his reserves from the back. The Dwarves are fairly beat up, but now we have the regular Slayer Pirates coming in, as well as Long Drongs Pirates, and they're going to be very excellent at keeping Cetra at bay. Cetra does get a rout, but man, those victory tickets are going really, really quickly. You can see 2 victory tickets per second. I mean, Outer Region probably knows that he's in serious danger right now. Yeah, dwarves were created by the old ones. Yeah, they're older. They're OGs. Yeah, makes sense. Definitely makes sense. So Khemrian War Sphinx is going to be bullying into the dwarf warriors here. We see big charges going down. Outer Region actually won the last tournament with the Empire. The last SFT that I did host, he did win that. So he's defending his strap right now, but I don't think he's going to be able to. So many erect, angry dwarves coming in. Double Dragon Slayer. Ungrim Ironchad is probably just has such a rage boner right now. He hasn't been able to catch anything this game. He's just been waddling, but at least he's forcing his opponents to run. Ushapti going after the Long Drong Slayer Pirates. Slayer Pirates probably win that, especially with Ultharch Raiders helping them out nearby. And I think when the Tomb Kings get pushed off this objective, when the fight starts to go badly for him, he's going to realize that it's time to run. And now we have the heavy metal coming out, guys. We have the heavy metal. It is going to be the Norgrimlings Iron Breakers, one of the coolest units in the entire game. These guys are so tanky. They have 79 melee defense, 125 armor, and the blasting charges to boot makes them very, very good at clearing out, you know, anything near them. Not anything, but, you know, a lot of infantry targets. Cetra getting shot by Slayer Pirates. Slayer Pirates do have AP pistols, so that is actually going to be very effective against old Cetra. And the Dwarf Tide is just holding back the Tomb Kings. The Ushapti are okay, but with the Demon Slayers and the Dragon Slayers there, these Ushapti are going to get taken down eventually. And the Tenacious Dwarves certainly didn't hear no bell, and I wouldn't be surprised if Outer Region gives up here in the next, like, 2 or 3 minutes. He is starting to flip the middle objective. His capture weight is arriving. Maybe Cetra's still there, but Dwarves Helm's Deeping on that back objective. Like, even if he somehow gets this, it's going to be so tough. Although, I mean, if Alexander blunders and just lets him get this back objective, maybe. These chariots are coming across with a little bit of capture weight. They should be charging into the back of these long-drawn Slayer Pirates, probably. Middle capture weight, actually, is there a bit of a resurgence going down? I don't know. Getting that back point from the Dwarves is not going to be easy. We do see the double Dragon Slayers tar pitted, and Cetra does not serve, apparently. He rules that middle point. The advancing legions of the dead rising to the call of their master. They are able to get there. So now we see the middle objective in the clutches of the Tomb Kings, but Norgamling's Iron Chads are going to get in there, and they're going to start clearing out these infantry one by one, and they'll do it. So here comes the blasting charges, the holy hand grenades of Grimnir, and oh my god, the skeletons try and run, but immediately take a ton of HP damage and are going to be set back. And now out of region, maybe going to be going for the back objective. This would be an insane comeback, ladies and gentlemen. This would be absolutely insane. So he moves in. Chariot's going to be running down the long-drawn Slayer Pirates. We do also see the Nehekar Horsemen getting in. And Cetra and the Battle Kitties might be able to do some work back here, but can they hold on to the back objective? Dwarves going for a sneaky back cap. Miners with blasting charges coming through the woods here for Alexander. Out of region, getting chariots on top of Dwarf Warriors with which good micro. They should be able to get it done. Middle objective is in the hands of the Tomb Kings, but it's a close one. Norgamling's Ironbreakers are killing most of the things that they come in contact with. And on the backside, guys, it looks like it is going to be the Tomb Kings getting the cap. Man, Outer Region is such a scrappy player, dude. He is so hard to beat. Like, it looked like I was honestly of the opinion that he was just going to lose this game and it was over. But, dude, he proved me wrong super, super hard. Cannon called back in for Alexander. Don't know if that's the right call. He does have a bit of time to work with, though. And he absolutely annihilates the Dwarves back here. These Rangers, you know, being attacked by 4,000 gold plus, are going to be on the back foot. And on this objective, we do see the chariots fending off the Dwarf Warriors here. Ushapti going to be sent to the middle to reinforce that, as eventually Ungrim as well as the Ironbreakers are going to clear this out. Some Ungrim Iron Fist is going to be able to bash him, so he gets the big karate chop, sends those skeletons flying, and Norgamling's Ironbreakers are chewing through those Nehekar Warriors as well. On the other side, we do see Objective 3 owned by the Tomb Kings. It is a triple cap, and you know what? If Outer Region can make it a 2-cap situation, or obviously, more importantly, a single cap situation before the Dwarves get the objectives back, that would be huge. And Outer Region has been clawing value back. So now that he's got the Dwarves kind of pulled apart, his balancing between points, just an absolute masterclass. So he does get that. The Dwarves trying desperately to get this back. Horsemen get over here. Actually do compromise the cannon temporarily, but it looks like the Slayer Summon is going to be able to keep them at bay. And on the back, Miners on their way over. But the Chariots and the Ushapti are going to be able to defend this. You know what, guys, man? I think that Outer Region is taking over this game. The Ironbreakers, where do they go? Where did he send those Ironbreakers? He had them here. Here they are. Okay, Norgamlings are chasing down the Nehekar Warriors, which are on the run. They're going to be trying to retreat. Ungrim is chasing them to the best of his abilities. Dwarves getting a lot of firepower here, though. We do see the cannon putting decent pressure on Cetra, who does have Cursed Blades. Chariots running over the Slayer Pirates, which is a great choice. Slayer Pirates are not anti-large, so Chariots will be incredibly effective against them. And they do have 80 armor. Tomb King's Chariots are not as squishy as you would think, so they do get in there and run them on down, and the Battle Cats are just barely hanging in there. You have to remember, a lot of the value that the Dwarves have is tied up in the Battle Cats, and they're just chilling. So over towards objective number 2, we do see that being held here by the Tomb Kings pretty damn well. The Ushapti are going to shut these archers down, and I would imagine he's just going to be tar pitting right now. Yeah, he's got skeletons and Ushapti here. Chariots hunting these guys down. All the Dwarven back pressure that they attempted on this failed. This single skeleton chariot unit has been able to keep them honest and is forcing these Slayers over to the middle where they're not going to get it. And Outer Region is now in a 2-cap situation where he could just win on 2 objectives if he decides to play that. I think Alexander's dead in the water, guys. What a match. What a freaking match. The Tomb Kings pulled this one back, and that is not an easy matchup. In my opinion, that is a Dwarf-favored matchup. And Outer Region putting his skill on display here, showing that he's going to be a big threat when the season finals come around. Chariots charging back in, and we do see the big Battle Sphinxes going out to maintain capture weight. They obviously don't want to fight this too hard. Cannon blasting Cetra in the face, but Tomb Kings are about to pass the Dwarves on the victory tickets. We do see the Skeleton Warriors advancing up, and the Nehekar Warriors being crushed by the bad boys here. Can the Dwarves get any cap weight here? Ushapti intercepting the Dwarf Warriors, a great call. Like, he has all his units in the right spot, you know? Like, wherever a unit should be, he has it there, you know? That's what Outer Region seems to be really good at tonight. Cetra is sitting at 1,300 HP. Cannon fire going to be shooting into him. We'll see if it makes contact. He's at 1,400. He does get healed by the lore passive, but immediately those archers do bring him down a little bit. And if Cetra crumbles, that's going to be a big win for the Dwarves. But I don't know if the Dwarves have the time to get all 3 objectives, because they're now passing. It's a very rapidly going to be a triple cap for the Dwarves, like in the next minute. Like it's going to be, they're going to need all 3 objectives to win. The middle is going to the Jowie, but with the Ushapti arriving in the chariots, I don't think it's going to stay that way. You can see Ungram is just having trouble getting through all these legions of chaff unit. Kind of what the Tomb Kings do in tabletop as well. Just start hitting people with like crap house units. Setra the Imperishable, 200 HP here. He's being shot down, but he, Setra went out for his people. Even though he's going to be falling here, he did a great job, and he was able to buy a lot of time. Setra tumbles, where I'm sure his Lich Priest will find him later on and bring him back to life, don't you worry. And the cannons shooting into the Ushapti now, but there's no way. This game belongs to Outer Region, and Alexander has lost. Certainly, dude, like 3 or 4 minutes ago, I thought this shit was over. Maybe 5 minutes. I was like, there's no way. I was like, Outer Region is going to give up. The Dwarves are going to lose it, but somehow he found this like opening on the back point where finally the Dwarves had, a hole in their armor where they were able to get in and capture that. And sure, the Dwarves are getting momentum now, with Setra dead and crumbling, but there's no way, there's only 10 seconds left. GG, well played, man. Congrats to Outer Region for that glorious Tomb Kings victory. Henry is still at it, man. Still going strong. Yeah, that was awesome, man. Yeah, he's a wizard. He's very good. He's very, very good. GG, well played. The Dwarves have won a ton of SFTs. Like, Alexander has won a bunch as Dwarves. So it's cool to see a different faction win. The Battle Cats are crazy. This is like how monsters should be. Most monsters in this game suck. A lot of them do, like big guys, but that's how they should be, Yeah, nice try by Alexander. He just couldn't deal with the mobility of the Battle Cats. I think he blundered a little bit in the beginning with his Grimdelvers. Yeah, a couple little mistakes cost him. GG, well played. So with that, we are going to be seeing a victory for the Tomb Kings and Outer Region. Yeah, a lot of great stuff today. All right, so let me set this up. No, that's the wrong one. I think it's this one. There we go. All right, so let me get this other game set up. The tournament's over for tonight, but I promised you guys I'd show you that game I've been playing. So I'm going to pull it up right now. It's super fun. All right. I've been grinding the ladder of this game. Okay, almost got it here. Hell yeah, let's party, man. Yeah, well played, Outer Region. Great game, dude. You did Henry proud. I'm going to go paint my Casket of Souls in your honor tonight. I'm going to work on it. All right. I'm rusty. Played 3 games of Overwatch. No worries, dude. No worries. You're good. Alexander, you played like a Chad. You won enough tournaments with Dwarves. You don't need to steal all the tourneys with your evil Dowie play. You got to let other people win sometimes. All right, so let me do this. And I need to add the game here, so let me do the game capture. All right. I'm an idiot. Okay, so this is TD. Okay, just setting it up on OBS. So this game is basically, if you ever played old school Warcraft 3, this is a tower defense game, but it's not towers. You're using like soldiers, sort of. And I will do my best to explain the game. Where's the sound options? I'm trying to get those down here. All right, so is it this one? Yeah, here we go. Sound. Turn it up a little bit. Apply. So at its core, this is a co-op game. The ranked system in this game is 2v2. So if you end up like wanting to play this game, I highly recommend playing it with a friend. It's really, really fun to get started. And I will do my best to like teach you guys how this game works as we go. So my current rank, I'm Platinum, which is just below Diamond. And I think there's one more above that. So we've been steadily climbing. So we're going to be playing some strong players. And let me queue up for a ranked game right now. Soldier defense game, kind of. Yeah, let me know if it's too loud. It might be actually. Might need to adjust the settings here. So this is a sequel to the Warcraft 3 map. Okay, the sound's a little bit loud. I'm gonna have to turn that down. Yeah. Have you heard of Mech? It's similar to Mechabellum. I prefer this to Mechabellum. All right, so it's gonna be me and Yellow versus these 2 players here. So I will explain the tale of the tape here. Yeah, this game's super fun. I'm telling you. It's a sleeper too. It came out in 2021. It went under a lot of people's radar. There's tons of strategies and synergies you can do. And yeah. So each team has 2 lanes and a king. Your objective is to break through the enemy team's soldiers and towers and go kill their king. Whoever loses their king first is gonna lose the game. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's super addictive, this game. It's really fun. It's very fun indeed. So yeah, this is like an all platinum lobby. So platinum is pretty well ranked. People are going to be pretty good here. I'm going to play some wildness here. And you're soon going to see like the pre-selection there. The French and the German, yeah, the Unholy Legion. I know, yeah. Yeah. It's great. As far as tactics go, I mean, I don't know how deep I can get into that in just like such a brief time period. My friend with the ultimate potato connection. 2v2 is way more refined, yeah. All right, so as the game starts, you choose like a buff. So these are all different ways you can play the game. So lock-in lets you choose any fighter in the entire game, and guaranteed you have him, you get 4 income. If you pick greed, you get bonus income. If you pick chaos, you get different incomes each round. You could do castle, for example, which you don't get any bonus income early, but after round 10, you get more. You can play Kingsguard, which makes your king stronger. Double lock-in lets you choose 2 fighters, because typically all your fighters are completely random. So it's a shit show, right? But with this one, you can guarantee certain synergies. So my favorite way to play is chaos, because every round, instead of having 6 fighters that you're set with for the whole game, you get new fighters each round, which is incredibly fun, right? So first things first, the wave is going to start in 40 seconds, and I'll go over the different units. So every unit in this game has unique abilities, damage types, and defense types. Every wave that attacks you does different types of damage and has different types of defenses. So for example, it's recommending me to build this tank character, the Antler, because he has good offense type against the enemy as well as defense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slap the base and drop him down right over here. Actually, I should probably go a little bit far forward so I have more space to build. So we're going to deploy him here and then build a worker. Now, what workers do in this game is they mine resources for you, the blue resource, which you use to send minions to attack your opponent. So if I build a ton of workers, right, I can then send minions to attack my opponents on the other side and get through their wave. So there's a lot of tactics with that, right? So sometimes you're like, okay, if I have a strong enough core of units to hold, I'm going to start investing more in workers. You can see that's reflected here with the bounce of power. So right now, this means that my creature power is too strong and I should build more workers. You typically want to sit towards the middle right here. So now it's wave 2. I currently am on auto spend. So auto spend means it's just going to maximize sending enemy units to attack your opponent based on the most efficient for your economy. Because when you send units to attack your enemy or use the purple bar here to upgrade your king stats, it permanently increases your income, which is very fun. So right now, we're on wave 2 now. All right, so we're going to be fighting. Another wave of minions is going to be coming out. It's not Winter Mall, because Winter Mall was more towers. This is Legion Tower Defense. This is legit the sequel to it. So at this point, you know, I got my new units, but I didn't have enough gold to build anything that wave. Plus, I also built a very strong unit in my second wave, okay? In my first wave, which means he can take the first couple waves on his own, right? So me and my ally are clearing, and when you clear your wave, your surviving units go to defend the king. So if my ally leaks, for example, you know, I'm going to be cleaning up his mess. So at this point, you know, my fighter value is low, so I need to build some shit. And it recommends I build an infiltrator, which is a hybrid unit. You can pay extra money to give him a throwing axe, a throwing weapon. I can just spend 1 to upgrade him. It's his unique ability, so I'm going to give him those shurikens. Because my value is a little bit low right now, which means my opponent might be attacking me with... Okay, yeah, my opponent sent a snail and this lizard creature to attack me. So this is going to be a bit of a harder hold. I might leak here, and if I do, it's not the end of the world. Another thing to keep in mind is when you leak units, if they get to this area of the map, it gives gold to the enemy team. So leaking is really bad because it gives, instead of like me getting full gold, I only get partial gold and my opponents actually get money. So thankfully building that ninja was a good call. And now I'm going to build a worker. I'm just going to be a little bit greedy. And now I have a couple options. So I can build the Aqua Spirit, which every unit upgrades, by the way. This unit, when it upgrades, is freaking sweet. It gives an aura where anybody who's touching it is going to get damage reduction. So he's like a really good centerpiece tank. The Aqua Spirit is an AoE monster, and the Sea Serpent is one of my favorites. This guy is a Giga Chad. Although, I think I'm going to go ahead and build the Aqua Spirit. Because Sea Serpents, I don't like to build just one. And then I'm going to build another worker with my extra money. So I'm playing it pretty close. You can also see player scores on the other side here. No, so it's all lane focus. Here's my ally, here's me. We're just trying to hold, and on the other side, you can look at the enemy in between waves. So you can see their strategies, and you can plan what units you want to attack them with based on that. So I held my wave pretty easily there, considering how easy that wave was. The Legion Tower Defense. This is the sequel to it. It's the sequel. But it got its own full developed game, which is really fun. It has a really active, robust multiplayer community, really good ranked. It's super fun. And it's a 2-player, so you and your buddy can play on a team. That ranked is 2v2. So currently, I have 7 workers. My opponent has 6, so my income's going to be a little bit better. So now I'm below on power, and the next wave coming is a mini boss wave. I'm going to build one of my favorite units in the game, which is the Wisp. So these guys freaking rule. Yeah, so we're going to do 4 Wisps. So these things do steady damage over time, and they do true damage, which means they do full damage against all armor types. These Howlers are pretty cool. It's like a pack monster. So the more of them I have, of the same unit type attacking, they do more damage. So these little Wisps are going to move in, and I should be able to hold this. Yeah, we should be able to. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off auto send, and I'm going to save money to send a Hermit to attack on this green wave, because they really benefit from getting heals. So instead of auto, I'm going to forsake my income for like 2 rounds to try and attack the enemy, right? Yeah, 4v4 is fun in this game too. I've done it a couple times, but I prefer 2v2. Me and my ally are holding. This guy leaked. So my ally attacked him with 2 Brutes, which is a really good unit here. And we got through. So it looks like they held, but just barely. So now our minions are going to rush through. They're going to kill the defender, because it was only 1. And now we get to the king. So as we hit the king, we get money. And as the king kills our attacking units, we also get money. So that's like a huge win for my ally and I. We're like rolling in the dough right now. We're rolling in the dough. All right, so next up, I need to probably get more tanks. This wave is pretty nasty. I could upgrade this character. So like, it's often a good idea to evaluate like, okay, what characters are good against this wave? This character is an upgraded ninja. It does bonus damage against this wave and also has bonus armor. These guys don't have any perks. I could upgrade them, but I'm gonna upgrade this Orchid into like a next level assassin. And now it's pretty tanky. It's like a versatile character, so it should be able to hold this wave, unless my opponents attack. All right, so they actually sent quite a bit on us that wave, but it looks like we're gonna hold it, I think. We're gonna have to see. It's a little bit close. So from here, what I want to do is I want to get a big send. So I've been saving for a couple waves. So what do I want to send? I'm going to go ahead and send a... We could send a safety mole. I'm going to send a safety mole. So I sent this little gremlin. So what he does is he reduces the damage of taken by nearby units. So I'm sending him to support the next wave, which is going to be very strong. So now that I've done that, I'm going to go back on auto, just because I'm lazy, and I'm just going to let the computer optimize my income. So my ally leaked that time, actually, but I covered his leaks, whereas our leaks got through to the enemy king again. And you can see his health. He's getting kind of punched in the wiener here, right? He's having a bad time. Okay. So now for the next wave, I can build this guy. He's a super fast, like, attack speed carry unit. Oh, this guy's cool. He's a dwarven banker. And every round that he lives, he adds a gold coin to his bank, and you get bonus income in between rounds. I really like that character. I could do the Rogue Wave or the Fire Elemental. This guy has AoE attacks, which is really good against this upcoming wave. And then I'm going to upgrade one of my Wisps to a Proton, which does, it's like a better version of that first Wisp. So now I can send one more unit to attack maybe. No, I didn't have enough. So my little mole creature is going to attack my enemy on this side. He's mixed in with them. So all these green like Slimers are going to take less damage and make it more probable that we break through. And it looks like my attack is crushing this guy. He just got freaking steamrolled by this wave, okay? So absolute steamrolling, that's bad. My ally leaked heavily too though. Oh my god, my ally leaked like almost everything. But thankfully I just like slammed that wave so hard that I'm gonna stop some of these before they get to our king. I'm probably gonna leak it, but at the very least I kill a handful of them before they get to our king, right? So that's really good, but we are just getting deep on their king right now. Now, when your king gets hurt, you want to upgrade his regen, and he can heal over time. The other team isn't doing that, which is a mistake. They got to our king a little bit because of my allies leak, but overall not too bad. So now I need to eco. I've been kind of not building a lot of economy because I don't want to leak. But now we're going to do it. Okay, so next up, I could build the Butcher. He's very good. This guy is a tank, but anyone that he's touching gets life steal. So he's really good to put with like fast attack speed characters who want to steal life. Okay, so we have these guys. I'm going to upgrade an Atom here and upgrade another one of these. And the reason I'm deploying them like this is because if I get a unit, an attack speed buffing unit, I can put it in between them all. So that's going to be very, very strong. So this is game's called Legion Tower Defense 2. Okay. So can I hold this wave? There's boss waves coming up too, so you guys will see the bosses soon. So one thing that I'm really noticing is my tanks are getting outscaled. They're starting to crumble, so I need to get a tank. Granted, I'm playing a version of the game called Chaos. That's what I chose. So I don't necessarily have like... I'm kind of rolling the dice a little bit with my units. So my ally is struggling. He's starting to drop down. He's leaking almost every wave. Homies on the other side are okay. I'm going to start saving money, build some more workers, and I'm going to do a big send on wave 10. So I'm going to send attackers there. And can I cover my ally? Yes. So I covered my ally that wave. Still not good, because the other team gets money for them getting here, but not bad. So now I rolled something that I really wanted. I got the APS. This is a tank, and anybody that's touching it gets an attack speed buff. So all these little wisps near this tank are now getting augmented with attack speed buff. Super MLG. That's going to make me very strong. But I need to get at least one more good tank before the boss wave, which is next. Otherwise, it's going to kill me. Wave 9 is the boss wave here. Yeah. How's my ally doing? He's struggling for sure. He's not having a good time. But we'll see if I can carry him. Yeah. There's a guy on the other team who's doing very well too. Alright, so yeah, they sent a couple of these turtle things, which are right here. But now I'm saving for some... There's like, you can send bosses to attack the enemy too if you save up enough money. Okay, I think I'm going to hold this. Ugh, it's a little bit tight. They broke through my tanks very quickly. My ally leaked super hard. He might... I think I can carry him though. I think I can. If I can push through red on... Like, their king is almost dead, right? So we just need to break through like one more time to get to their king. Unfortunately, my ally leaked so much that they're going to break through me, and they're going to get to our king and get a ton of money. So I'm probably going to invest in regeneration for our king soon. This is going to do some damage. So now we're on the boss wave. So the boss wave, I'm going to send... I'm going to send a hermit, which gives it passive healing, and I'm also going to send a safety mole to reduce the damage it takes. Okay, so I really need a tank here. I don't have enough to upgrade him. Could do a Fire Lord. He's kind of tanky. I could also do the Slime. The Slime character is okay, but it has weak armor type against this boss. I could do the Flower. It does like AoE damage, but honestly, it's a little bit subpar. But I'm just going to throw down 2 of these flowers, which isn't an optimal play. But oh yeah, I need to send the safety mole. Okay, so I sent the little mole just in time. So here's the boss. He's a big Giga Chad. So I did build 2 more tanks there, so I'm hoping they're going to hold. I don't know if I have enough damage to kill him. Oh shit, he's getting through my tanks really quick. He's getting low. These orbs are good. They do scaling damage. They're like Void Rays in StarCraft. Come on! Bring him down! Okay, he's down. I passed it. My ally passed it too, so good on him. I made my guy leak. So my minions I sent to protect the boss, they're healing it. Oh yeah, we might win here. It's gonna be close. Because they both leaked. And now it's gonna go just give the dick to the king here. Oh, it's not gonna be quite enough, but we got him really low. Man, and all that money we get too. Oh god, he's at 3%. Come on, just give it to us, dude. Okay. So now I'm gonna save again to send on wave 13. I'm gonna try and finish him. So once you reach wave 10, you get a unique ability. So I'm gonna choose Titan, which means I can choose any one of my fighters and give him a ton of HP, and then I'm gonna upgrade this Giga Chad. So now I have a 5,000 HP bull, and he gives an aura to all nearby characters of damage resist. So he gives them 10% damage resist, which is pretty sweet.
Right away.
They can GG out. Yeah, you can GG. You can type FF and it will surrender. But I've seen people come back from worse. The red player is doing very well, but it seems like the blue player is struggling. Like each team has one guy who's kind of struggling a bit, but I'm gonna try and finish him off on the drill golems. That wave is really hard. Okay, so we got this, and yeah, I should hold this just fine. This Giga Chad tank is like just gonna raid boss it now. Oh yeah, dude, the bull. Look at him, just fat dong bull there. And considering I'm like crushing these waves pretty well, that's like when you want to invest and build more workers, you know? Like if you're struggling to hold, you don't want to do that. You want to build defenses, but it's like a very tenuous bounce, right? So I have 15 workers, my ally has 11. So my capability to send attackers is much higher. It's much higher. Yeah, it's co-op, but it's PvP. There's 2 other players on the other side. Yeah. So you're trying to break through and get to their ruler. Okay. So here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna upgrade my tank because it has pierce damage, which is good against these guys who have swift armor. So it will also increase the attack speed of these wisps even further. So now these guys are gonna get 20% attack speed instead of 10. And I'm gonna be sending just a giga attack here. This game is super fun. It's really cool to just sit down with a buddy late at night and just play and, you know, here's my ally. There's tons of combos of units, millions of strategies, and it's still being supported despite being a couple years old, and it's great fun. Yeah, it's like $20 this game, something like that. Okay, so are they gonna leak? No, they're gonna hold. These guys are cool. These are dragon summoners, so they when their mana bar fills up, they summon a dragon, and what you can do with that is there's characters that can increase mana regen, and then you can just get like 1,000,000 dragons. It's very strong. So it's one of the many combos. So now it's time to deliver the pain train. Okay, so I'm gonna send a shaman. Let's actually save up. I'm gonna send a needler. Or I could release the Kraken if you guys want to see the Kraken. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time to get to that. So my fighter value is a little bit weaker than this wave, so I'm gonna do some upgrades. The death caps, the flowers, they have good damage and armor types against this wave, and they're really tanky, so I'm gonna upgrade that and upgrade this. Oh, I need 400. I want to release the Kraken for you guys. I know, I'm gonna send. Hold! Hold! My ally's telling me to send. He just doesn't know that I'm waiting. Come on, give me the Kraken. Come on. Oh, I just barely got it. Here's the Kraken, look. Oh. So now the Kraken is gonna be attacking here. And you see, it's tanking the entire enemy army, which allows the drill golems to go unimpeded. So I think we're gonna break through, because that Kraken tanked, and no, dude, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, release the Kraken. Dude, we just gave them the dirty so freaking hard. And it was close for me, but I held, so that's good. So I'm gonna eco really hard here. Oh, that's game. That's game. We broke through. Dude, the Kraken got the job done. You too. My ally's saying, people are really friendly in this game too. I've never had any toxic experiences. Oh, yes. Victory. Oh yeah, dude, let's freaking go. All right. You know what? That was pretty fun. You guys, you want to do another one? I think we do one more. So at the game, you can see the scores. You can see the elo up top. So there's a really robust elo system. And yeah, you can see the imagined amount. You can look at people's builds. Like I did Chaos, which gives me random units. My ally did Kingsguard, which makes our King tankier. These guys did Greed and Cash Out. Cash Out gives you bonus money in the beginning, but it falls off very quickly. So yeah, let's do one more. Just one more time. This is one of those games where it's just like just one more. But before we do that, let me show you guys something else. So you can go to, if you want to learn, you can go to the Codex and look at all the units. There's a ton. These are upgrades though. So these are the same unit upgraded, right? So like a cool strategy that you can do is you can do the crab. Oh, I love Crab Warlock. He's my favorite. So he summons little battle crabs based on his mana, right? So then you get him, and then you get this character called an Adept. Oh, where the hell is it? This character. And this character gives a mana regeneration aura. So you just get like 1,000,000 crabs. Yeah. Don't do Chaos, hard to follow. Okay, I'll do a different one. I won't do Chaos this time. Chaos is what I usually play in ranked though. Yeah. All right, let's get it. Let's get it going. Pone and I play this quite a bit. We play a lot. I have no idea what I'm watching, but it's like sugar cereal for my eyes. Yeah, Pone and I do pretty well. We have a good win rate. We definitely win most of our games. Yeah, so if you play with a friend who's like brand new and you're high ranked, it matches it really well. Like each team will have one high ranked player and one potato, and it's pretty fair, honestly. You want the crab people build? I can do the crab build. You guys want Mr. Krabs? Yeah, well, this game is a sequel to the Warcraft 3 custom game. The people who made that one, I'm pretty sure some of them were involved in the making of this. I have no idea what this says. And my allies from China, and we're facing a Russian and an American. Okay. Here we go. So this time around, I'm going to do Castle. This is like the ultimate boomer version. Castle means after wave 10, you get a ton of money. Although, no, let's do double lock-in. Double lock-in lets you choose 2 characters and have a synergistic build. So I'm going to choose the Crab Summoner as well as the Disciple. So I have to be careful here. I don't get random units. So at the beginning, I now select my 6 units I want to start with. So Crab and Disciple. And then I will do the Sea Serpents. The Monkeys are really good tanks. I probably need more early game tanks. So I'm going to go ahead and get the Chained Fist. And then we'll get a Bazooka as well. So these are going to be my units almost the entire game. I get 1 reroll, but it only gives me a couple new units. For the most part, now that I'm not doing Chaos, these are my units the entire game, right? So let's go ahead and do... This is one of my favorite starts. You get the Bazooka Man, and you put him up front as like a tank. So we're going to put him like right here. And then we're going to upgrade him to a Pyro, which is very expensive. It hurts your eco a little bit in the beginning. I'm going to upgrade our King. So I just upgraded our King's attack with my starting money. But this is, guys, like a hybrid tank flamethrower unit. Yeah, he's awesome. He gets it done. And what's cool about him is he can like handle the first couple waves on his own. So I can like, you know, then just straight eco from there. Because you can see my balance power bar, I'm like a little bit too strong. Yeah, the Fire Bat's awesome. So check this out. He's way overkill for the first wave, though. But he's just going to cook these guys. Oh, yeah. Let's freaking go, baby. Yes, my lord. The first wave is always pretty easy. You know, most people don't leak there. Occasionally you see it. Oh, shit. Never mind. Speak of the devil. This guy might actually leak. Is Homie going to give us some free money on wave 1? The greed opening, I know. I need to build another worker here. There's people who like to do early pressure too. They send like scary shit at you early. I don't play that way. I'm more of a crusty old boomer. Plus I'm doing castle mode. Castle is what I chose this game, which means after wave 10, I get a huge... So I'm going to be weaker early. Oh, this build is sick though. The Dwarven Banker build. So every time, if it survives a wave, it gains money. And then you get extra money at the end of each round based on how much they have. And you can get up to 6 extra gold per each of these. So the Dwarven Banker tech is really fun if you want to play a greedy build. But if they die, they start losing money. So it's very precarious. You got to be careful. No, the only microtransactions in this game are skins. There's no pay to win in this game. None. None whatsoever. You can buy like costumes for different characters and shit. That's it. Okay, so I think I need to build another unit. My Pyro could be in some trouble. That I know, he's going full greed over here. Homie's just like balls deep in it. And the other team actually leaked. And see, when they leak, they give us money. Yeah, so we just got like an extra 3 gold, which adds up. Next up, I don't have anything that's particularly good against this wave, because my Pyro could probably solo it. But this is one of my favorite units in the game, and I'll explain why. Which is the mighty Sea Serpent. So you're probably wondering why I put him right here. It's because when the battle starts, he burrows under the ground and then he flanks your opponent. So when your opponent sends like ranged units to attack you, he can snipe them. So see, he hides in the ground, and the Pyro's going to take all the aggro, and then he splits the units too, which is really good. So now my Pyro didn't get swarmed, and he can just come up here and finish him off. Sea Dragons are very good. I'm going to get more workers. The Dwarf player, yeah, see, he's screwing up because the opponent sent an orc to attack him, and the orc just beat the shit out of his dwarves. So he just lost a ton of money, and his greed build, it may backfire on him now. Yeah, it might. We will see. I love the Serpents. They're one of my favorite units. They're really good at sniping. I like the chill soundtrack with absolutely spazzed out units, absolutely. So I'm going to hold though, thankfully. I think my Pyro's going to save the day. Yeah, so they didn't get to our king, but we still leaked. So that's our opponent's attacking though. This Brute is very big investment to get early. He's a lot. So they're attacking, and I'm just straight up boomering it. I'm gonna build another Sea Serpent here. And I should be able to hold pretty easily here. Yeah, the greed may be punished. Although he got, oh, this thing is cool. So this is a cat unit, and when you it can't be upgraded, but you can feed it fish by paying gold, and it gets stronger based on the amount of fish you feed it. So it's like a hybrid tank unit. It's okay. It does decent damage too. So each wave is default plus whatever the opponent sends, correct. And you send attacking units by building workers and then spending that income. But workers, when you build workers, it takes away from your towers. So you have to juggle the two. So my opponent did a big attack on me. They sent a brute, which is pretty expensive. But the Chad Sea Serpents. So if they send an expensive attack and it fails, I just get extra money. So I just got 18 extra gold by holding that guy's push. So yeah, typically you want to be more careful with it. Okay, so I have... Is my damage type good against this wave? Sea Serpents are not. The Pyro is really good against this wave. So now begins the Crab Man. The Crab Man, again, is my absolute favorite. We're going to put him in the corner. So check out this Chad. He perpetually summons crabs. I'm going to upgrade my king with my spare resources. So if you don't want to send anything to attack your opponents, you don't have to. You can actually spend all your money to upgrade your king, which also increases your income. So you see that little crab? He summoned it. Yeah, and my Sea Serpents, they sniped the unit that he sent to attack me. So super MLG, right? Oh, the Crab Mancer. Dude, I crushed that wave, Jesus. Okay, I'm gonna tech super hard because of that. I'm just gonna grab 3 workers. My ally only has 3 workers right now. That's rough. I have 8, for example. So I'm just like playing defensively and auto-sending just crappy units for income. I'm not like trying to push my opponents. I have Castle, so I'm playing for the late game is the game plan, right? Okay, Crab Warlock. I need to snoop on the enemy team and see what they're doing after this. My allies, yeah, we're all pretty similar in score at this point. Yeah. Crabman is there. Eventually I'm gonna have like 10 of these guys and they're just gonna be unleashing legions of crabs. You guys will see the combo. I got like Sea Serpents and crabs. My tanks, I need to build some tanks soon though, because eventually I'm not gonna have enough to tank here. Like this wave's gonna be a little dicey. And the crabs can tank a little, but it's still precarious. Okay, so where do I want to send? You know what? I'm going to save and send on the boss wave and try and break through. Oh, yeah, this one's a little close, actually. I just barely held that. And that's because I built 3 workers, right? Uh-oh, shit. My Crabman going to hold it? Come on, summon another crab. Oh, you son of a bitch. There he goes, all right. I think Crabman is going to hold. Yeah, he just barely held. Okay. So that got... No, I took double lock-in. That's right. I thought I took castle. I just need dinner. I haven't eaten in a while. Yeah, so I don't have castle. I have double lock-in. Okay. So the Sea Serpents could be upgraded to the Giga Sea Serpent. I probably want to get a true tank. I think a Giga Sea Serpent will be enough. Crabs aren't particularly good against this wave, so I'm going to upgrade my Sea Serpent to the Deep Coiler. He's probably tanky enough to survive. You see, it's telling me I'm lacking tanky fighters right now, too, so... Yeah, I gotta watch out. Yeah, this game's great. This game's a lot of fun. Yeah, double lock-in for the crab build, you're right. Okay. Oh, see, he sent a little mole creature. This is gonna be very difficult, actually. I think I might hold, because the flamethrower is pretty good against these guys, but I think I'm gonna leak here. It's gonna be my first leak of the night, actually. Yeah, the mole is a problem. Maybe if I can get some more crabs. Come on. This is going to be tight. My Sea Serpent's still going. Crabomancer's still fighting. Yeah, I think they got me to leak. So they sent something very strong against me. The mole, he reduces the damage taken of all these units. So they got me that time. So what's going to happen is, hopefully my ally holds. Okay, my allies... Ooh, that's tight. I think he's going to barely leak. Shit. Thankfully our king is upgraded, so it's not going to be a complete disaster. But overall, it's a tough one. They got us good there, ladies and gentlemen. You versus Sea Serpent, she tells you not to worry about. I know. So now our enemies get through, and they're going to damage our king, and they make money off this too. We still get some, but they get more. So that sets them even further ahead potentially. Although I do have the highest player score overall. It's recommending another Sea Serpent. I could build the Disciple. Disciples are the aura unit. So this is the unit that gives an aura. I really need a good tank. Man. I'm gonna get wrecked by the boss, I think. Let's upgrade Sea Serpent to Giga Serpent, and from here I can get another worker. I'm gonna upgrade our king's regen so he starts healing. Yeah, but these guys are really good at killing the boss. They're like snipers. Okay, they attacked me with a brute, so they're going in and trying to push me. But I'm just ecoing, so I'm hoping I can outscale them in the late game. Oh no, the Crabomancer got aggroed by the Orc. I think the Giga Serpents, though, yeah, they're gonna get it. Nice. The Crabomancer summoned his little crab. Cool, and... Oh my god, dude, he's just spamming the Dwarfs! That's so greedy, dude. I feel like he's gonna get wrecked. Oh man, okay. So now I'm gonna build the banana tree. So this is like a super tank, and it has damage reflection too, which is awesome. So let's go ahead and put you here. Yeah, that looks fine. And then I'm gonna re-roll, use my once per game re-roll to get 2 new units. So I'm gonna get rid of this and this. And oh, nice. I got this guy, which is like a god tier tank unit. And I can get the Nightmare also. Okay, great. So now I can't re-roll ever again. Those are my units the rest of the game. Okay, so we got the boss wave next. I'm gonna start saving money to send on, not on the boss, but on the wave after it. Okay, we held that wave pretty easily there. Yeah, this is a tower defense game. It's a co-op tower defense. It's a 2v2 PvP game. If you want to rewind in the stream, I explained it in pretty heavy detail. I'm not gonna probably explain it too much again. But it's a blast. Dude, the Dwarf Lord over here, he's kinda pimping it. And it looks like our enemies are leaking, and we didn't even push them, so they're just struggling a little bit. Yeah, my score is higher. My boomer tech, I think, is paying dividends. Just kind of sitting back and ecoing. But I'm not going to send on the boss wave. I mean, I could. I don't think I need to. Let's go ahead. Do I have enough tank? Probably, to be safe, I'm going to build another tank. So the reason I built him like this is because he touches this unit and this unit. And then when I upgrade this unit, he gets an aura that reduces the damage taken by 10%. So he's really good for that. I'm going to send on wave 11 with the ranged units. I'm going to send a bunch of tanks for them as well. Yeah, this is based on a Warcraft 3 game. It's really fun. Okay, here's the boss. I think I'll handle him now that I built a second tank. So you see these guys, they ambushed his units that he sent, which is really nice. And these Cobra guys, the Sea Serpents, they do bonus damage against the boss. Krabby Patty is getting crabs. Are we gonna get him? I think we will. My ally killed him, which is great. And now I'm gonna send some tankiness. I'm gonna send a Mimic. So a Mimic is a fun unit. It's pretty strong. I'm sending it to attack, but what's really cool about the Mimic is every unit that it kills gives me money. And now I get my power. I'm gonna choose Battle Scars. This makes it so after every wave, my unit that took the most damage gets a permanent health buff. It's really nice. Okay, so is it time for Mr. Krabs? I think it's time for Mr. Krabs to... Okay, so now you guys are gonna start seeing the crabs coming into play. It's time. And I'm gonna put the aura character in between them on the next wave. I have like pretty good tanks. I have like good mixed DPS. And I'm currently on fire right now, which is good. And let's go ahead and just send some snails to attack in the wave to be cheap screens. So now you get to see the Mimic move out, the chest. Where is it, over here? Oh, I should have sent something tankier. Well, even still, it did tank pretty well. And now the wave is probably going to break through because I sent that expensive unit. So that makes it worth it. Yep, I broke through my guy. So the unit I sent to attack is going to just, yep, nice. So we broke through. And I'm just going to be starting to save from now on. Now that like the waves are harder, I'm going to start saving units to pressure my opponent with. Let's eco a little bit here. Yeah, so we built more workers to get more attacking fuel. We broke through, but we're not going to get to the king probably. I mean, maybe we will. I don't know. So we're attacking their last defenders now, and yeah, shit, we're going to get to their king. So not only do we get bonus money for these creeps dying in the leak zone, but they're going to get to the king maybe. Oh no, it looks like they're just barely going to hold. That's fine though. We still got a lot of extra dough from that. Don't call it a comeback. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Oh no, we actually reached the king. Shit, okay. That's cool. So, it wants me to build another monkey here, but I want to get the aura started. So I'm going to build a disciple. Now, disciples don't give auras till you upgrade them to a star caller, so it will increase the mana regen of all my crab wizards, which means they launch more crabs. On top of that, this unit, when it gets a full mana bar itself, it does a huge burst damage. It just like shoots like a huge payload. So it's really good DPS also. So their attacking units you send, So the attacking units you send are bought with a different resource than normal gold. Correct. You build workers with normal gold, and they collect this blue resource, which you then send attackers. Oh, yeah, they went hard on me this wave. They sent a pack leader. If I hold this, my opponents are going to be really sad, because they invested heavily. And if I can manage to find a way to hold this, they're going to be pretty behind, I would say. My Crab Wizard, see, like legions of crabs coming out, buying me time. Pyromancer's going. Come on, Pyro. Tank a little longer. Just so the crabs can get one more wave. Oh, come on, hold. Come on, give it to me. More crabs. Okay, I got one more crab off. My Disciple versus the Warcaller. Let's go. Oh, I just barely held it, I think. She does a lot of damage, so she's going to kill this thing. Come on. That was close, but that's really bad for them because they sent heavily. And now I'm going to send a heavy-duty unit on them. I'm going to use the Four Eyes. This is a little like demon thing, and it shoots a super hard-hitting laser beam. So I think I can break through them. We actually got to their king too, which is pretty funny. Cool. All right, so now I have a shit ton of money. I need to find out what I want to upgrade. So I'm going to upgrade Homeboy here. So now he's giving a damage reduction aura to these units, and I will build another Mr. Krabs. Eventually the crabs will get upgraded, and they're going to be just super powerful. Paka says, hey, I'm an EMS worker, but very glad to catch a late night stream, hoping everything is going well. Yeah, everything's good. We had a great tournament earlier, and now we're doing it.
All right.
Hope all is well, man. Hope all is well. Yeah, Warcraft 3 has spawned so many good games. Let's send you. Did I get it in? Nice. So I got the little healing aura. Okay, they're attacking me again very heavily. But you see how my serpents ambush his special units? It's so good. I love that combo. I think we're gonna hold here. This is a hard wave. My guy is for sure gonna leak, right? Or is that the guy I attacked? No, this is the guy. Oh yeah, I punished my guy. Oh yeah, baby, we got through. And the other guy's gonna leak too. Even though my ally didn't send anything. He's just... Yep, the crab, see the Crab Legion? It's only gonna get stronger too. I have a couple options here. I could eco, or I could upgrade to really hold. They're gonna get drilled. And my ally has been upgrading our king. You see this little meter beneath the king? That's his health bar, so it's very good. Oh, we're getting so much extra money right now. Oh god, because when they get to the king, enemy king, you get money when they die. It's so nice. Oh, that's so much dough. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm just like freaking loaded. So I'm gonna upgrade you to a Starcaller. So now the mana aura is in effect. From here, I think I'm strong enough to take this wave without upgrading more, so I'm gonna invest in 7 workers. I'm just gonna skyrocket our economy here. And then the next wave is a mini boss wave I'm gonna send here. I would love to show you guys the end game, but I don't know if we're gonna get there. Yeah. Yo, the fact that dominant genre came out of the single custom map, yeah, I know, it's nuts. My ally is upgrading the king, which is nice. If he was pushing with me though, when you play with friends, it's really good to coordinate your pushes so you can just kill them. Like if he was coordinating with me, we could probably have killed these guys by now. All right. He's actually doing well. His dwarf, like, this guy's like got some Forbidden Dowie build. I don't know what's going on over there, but he's doing real good now. Yep, the Crab Legions are just swarming and buying me time. Sea Serpent's doing good, but I need to upgrade my Crabomancers. They're falling off a little bit because they're still tier 1, so I need to upgrade them. But yeah, it provides you tanks, and then this character does DPS and gives mana regen to the crab people, and it's a really fun build. I'm gonna go ahead and send a Siege Ram, which is one of my favorite sends on this wave. I'm sending a giant tank, so it will absorb the damage for the boss, allowing his DPS to really shine. And yeah, they're struggling over here. They're in Struggle City. Oh, yeah, we've had a lot of crabs this stream from the Warhammer part of the stream as well. All right, yeah, that's good. So we got their king kind of low. Yeah, now it's time to unleash the tier 2 crab, the Crabomancer 2.0. So he summons crabs that are like actually very tanky, and I have such good income I can send another good unit here. So I'm gonna send a Hermit, which is gonna provide a healing aura to the boss, and I got the tank for him, the Battering Ram, and I will send a Dinosaur, another tank as well. My value is pretty close. I'm gonna summon one more Krabby Patty just to be safe. I need to upgrade my tanks because we're getting a little bit crazy. All right. Yeah, they do good damage too. Like these guys shoot magic damage. It's pretty good. All right, here's the boss. This wave's hard. Let's watch the guy I'm attacking. So this is the guy I'm attacking. My tank, it bought a lot of time, right? So yeah. Oh my God, we're gonna steamroll this guy. So all of his DPS was killing my thing that I attacked with, and now he's just gonna get wrecked here, probably. Yep. Oh, destruction. That's probably a game. I think we just won the game. Yep, another guy leaked too. Whereas my Krabby Patties were able to win. Yeah. And my ally held too. So we both held, so we just go back here. Rise. It looks like an oddish. That's what Pokemon, Pone and I call it. We call it the oddish. Yep, so we got them to leak, and that's it. GG. My ally ended up being a Giga Chad. He did super well. He actually scored higher than me. All right. Yeah, but yeah, give this game a try. I highly recommend it. Like, full stamp seal of approval. This game's a blast. It's really fun. Lord Barrington, thank you for the tenor. Love our videos and streams. I don't have many people who do various RTS, and they're always captivating. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, if you guys want to see more of this game, let me know in the comments afterwards. But I would love to do streams of just this game, because this game rules. And just grab a buddy, play. You know, it'll put you in Bronze League at first. After the game, you can go study builds too. So you can look and see what people did. You're like, oh, so he had a layout like this. These are the units he had. And you can learn a lot. There's a lot. And you can see when people sent things, and it's great. You can look at every wave. You can look back all the way to wave 1 and see how people developed. So a lot of good tools for learning. Yeah, I'll get Pone. Pone and I will play this together. We'll scheme it. All right, guys. Take care of yourselves. See you around. Hopefully you enjoyed this. This game rules, I'm telling you. They did not sponsor this at all. I'm just off the cuff with this. This game is freaking awesome. It's great fun. And it's so casual, too. You could, like, listen to a podcast or, like, watch a movie while playing on the side, you know? No, I got to get dinner. I'm pretty hungry now. But GG, well played. See you guys around. Take care of yourselves. That's going to be it. And congrats to Outer Region for the victory. And we will be back. Maybe stream this in the next few days. That would be fun as well. All right, folks. Take care and see you around.